What's up, everybody? Thank you guys for joining us. Welcome back to another T5S2 tournament game, another game from Pod 2, and we have a stream veteran returning. Seabiscuit is on the stream in the red playing Space Wolves against a little bit of an interesting, kind of old school tech over on the blue by Lord Solar, also known as Redwards. He's bringing some Custodes and Imperial Guard to the table right out of 2018. I'm joined with Cullen here to commentate with me. How you doing, Cullen? Thanks for joining me.
Hey, how's it going, everyone? Trevi, yeah, pretty good. Always nice to get invited back, and I do agree. This is a 2018 list. This is, I believe, post before GW threw out the Custodes ban hammer.
Yeah.
So this will be pretty cool.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if a sort of old style list like this can compete with this new Space Wolves tech that's kind of coming out and hitting the meta pretty hard. We're seeing a lot of Space Wolves players sign up for pods. Do you want to go over Lord Solar's list real quick?
Sure. Which one is Lord Solar? I can't tell from the name. That is.
You have to unlock it.
Yeah. So
okay, that is the Custodes.
Yep.
Custodes. Okay. So basically, this is going to be your guard. CP farm with your loyal loyal 32 with your guaranteed 5 CP from that. He's got Captain Trajan, which I guess is pretty standard. He's got one shield captain on a Dawn Eagle jet bike, which I usually run them in 3s because everything works good in 3s. He's got the 3 Gladius grav tanks, which I guess that comes pretty much standard with all the custodian lists that you're seeing nowadays. Now, I'm not 100% too familiar with what the new. I know GW made the weapons less powerful and then less shots. Was that I believe that was the big nerf that came down for him. Yeah, and he's got some vertiverse predators.
Their guns basically went from being kind of they went to being effectively a autocannon equivalent. I think they're strength 7, 2 damage flat now.
Because they were like strength 8, and I think multiple more shots.
They were
had one player that was very
damage. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's pretty cool, and Custodes are just all around. I personally think a well-rounded list. Usually you see them as a good Imperial add-on with the 3 shield captains that get the lovely 3-ups. Only 1 shield captain here, but pretty good. The Gladius tanks should do a lot of damage downrange, but that Space Wolves list is a little more unique than I think a lot of other Thunderwolf cap lists that you're seeing nowadays. So.
Yeah, for sure. And we are going to see, if you aren't familiar with kind of the old school Custodes tech, we are going to see this Vixillus Praetor here, the guy with the big standard. He's going to have a 6-inch roar that gives everything in this army -1 to hit. And he and Trajan are mostly going to hang out with these Caladius grav tanks. Trajan gives him reroll 1s to hit and wound. So he makes them very consistent in their shooting. They hit on 2s, rerolling 1s, and then strength 7 with rerolling 1s is pretty strong for wounding as well. On their top guns there. The Vixillus Praetors are mostly too. What's up?
Oh, isn't that every Space Marine chapter at this point now? Just giving yourself some nice aura buffs.
Yeah, for sure.
But they were the OGs, I believe.
With the reroll. Yeah.
There was the wrong reason to play it.
Yeah. And then the Praetors are mostly, or the Avertus Praetors are mostly in here to kind of dissuade engagement and to grab objectives in the later game. If you come up to run up to these tanks, as long as you started charge within 12 inches of one of these infantry models, they're going to throw a Tanglefoot grenade at you. They're going to reduce your charge by d6 inches, and then if you declare one of the grav tanks as a charge target, that's going to reduce it by an additional 2. At the end of that, even if you're close enough to make that charge, the Avertus Praetors can stooping dive and immediately charge you at the end of your charge phase, like a super duper heroic intervention.
Yeah.
So it's an incredibly difficult little castle to crack. Now the Caladii aren't super hard to kill. They are just a T7 tank. They do have a 5+ invulnerable save, which is nice, and they're going to be -1 to hit from the Vexillus. But other than that, they're just a standard piece of armor.
Don't they have a 6-up field of pain too?
They might as well. Yeah, they have the venerable rule potentially. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I do believe they have a ton of different individual rules.
Yep. And then obviously Imperial Guard infantry squads just give you a ton of board control. They can move twice with move from the company commanders, and he's also got a Manticore back here that we heard beforehand. Lord Solar's given it the tank ace ability to max its damage every time it shoots. So those 4 big
load
missiles. Yeah, exactly. Those 4 big missiles are going to be pretty
actually
tasty.
lot of arguments going on Imperial Guard message boards right now in regards to what is the best indirect fire. Is it the Manticore? Is it the Wyvern? Or is it the Basilisk? Because that full payload guaranteeing you max damage is absolutely savage on the Guard, especially just for one model. So I personally like the Manticore because it's just, I mean, I'm assuming he's playing Cadians, most likely, given that 1d6 reroll the turn amount of shots, but that thing can pump out some damage.
Yeah, absolutely. Over here on Seabiscuit side, we have seen this list on the stream before. Played against Kthor 90 in a full, pure Astra Militarum brigade plus battalion. Had a million bajillion dudes on the table, and started the game with 27 command points. 27. He spent, I believe, between his pre-games and his first round, I think he spent 16 of them in one round.
On what? I'm not even mad at
everything.
Impressed.
Yeah, he had specialist detachments. He bought extra relics. He did all that stuff. But then also, he was double firing basilisks. He's using his suppression fire rounds to slow down the Space Wolves troops. Just doing all sorts of stuff in one go.
That is a big brain play, right?
Yeah. It was a really cool list to see on the table. Unfortunately, he did play a very good defensive game against Seabiscuit. Unfortunately, not aware of some of the new Space Wolves' abilities, got heroically intervened into his defensive infantry squads on his turn, and that was that unfortunately kind of ended the game for him. But we'll see if these players are 1-0 right now. We'll see if Lord Solar makes the same mistake. I doubt it. But it looks like Seabiscuit's going first here, and his Space Wolves list is very unique.
Mono wolves are pretty good. I don't know about pod 2 because this is obviously the high end pod compared to us ruffians. But pod 1 had a phenomenal game against a Space Wolf player, uncultured swine, and I learned the hard way about a mono Space Wolf list, and they are pretty good, getting in your face, heroically intervening, and of course the Ragnar, he averages 10 attacks.
Well, he starts. His base is 10. I think his average is he's closer to 16.
And then he has the stratagems to be able to maximize it. Yeah. Totally good.
That's insanity. He is insane in combat. Oh my god.
I think Space Wolf players have needed this kind of time, though. I think it's been a long time since Space Wolves have been happy and I actually got some good stuff here.
Right. Yeah, you saw sort of Bjorn dropped in if you ran out of spots for character dread or for character chaplains, basically. And other than that, you saw Wolfen occasionally. But yeah, now we have a lot of tech coming out of Space Wolves. So we'll talk about it here real quick.
Trevi, can we talk about the fact there's Murderfang on the board?
It's a Murderfang. I'm actually seeing a ton of Murderfang now. Now that everybody's realized how insane character dreadnoughts are that can't be targeted, oh boy, Murderfang is making an appearance.
Oh my god, I don't think I've seen him since he was released in 3rd edition. I mean, that thing is...
Yeah, some weirdness
Thank God
too
they had the model.
with him is, he has a rule that says he cannot be your warlord, but that doesn't preclude him from getting the additional warlord trait from Hero of the Chapter. So you can actually, and he's not, thanks GW, but he does not have a pre-chosen warlord trait like other named characters do. So you can give him potentially advance and charge,
whatever he wants.
Any the ones you want. Pretty strong.
Oh, Space Wolves.
So he's making a comeback, I think, Murderfang. But what we have here in Seabiscuit's list, it is a bit of a combo. He's got a specialist detachment as a battalion. He's got a wolf, a Space Wolf Stalker pack detachment, and that has 3 units of Blood Claws in them, 8 models apiece. We have 6 standard Blood Claws just with Chainswords, as well as a pack leader with a Power Fist and a Wolf Guard pack leader with a Power Fist. So 2 Power Fists in each of those that get 2 additional attacks every time they charge because of the Blood Claw special roll, as well as Shock Assault. So coming out of the gate with a bunch of 8 power fist attacks, just for showing up basically, and those guys are going to be coming out in drop pods, and we also have a wolf priest in here who's going to get the +2 charge litany. So if that litany goes off and these guys come down on the same turn, they're only making 7-inch charges out of Deep Strike. Now, you can reroll that with either with Ragnar or with the Wolfen Aura. Both of those let you reroll charges. So you have, you can spread that out around the table wherever you need to go. And as soon as the first Stalker Pack unit makes contact with the enemy in the charge phase, you can spend a CP, and the next one's going to roll 3 dice and pick the lowest or pick the highest for their charge. So
For charge
it is
distance.
a little dicey. Yeah, it is a little dicey, but it gets much more reliable than you'd think trying to charge out a deep strike. And remember, these are new and improved Space Marine drop pods, and they can come in turn 1 and hammer you with all of this aggression.
You're going on force then.
In drop pod defense, they've always been able to come in turn.
Like being drop pod charged.
We also have a couple more detachments in here. We have a Vanguard detachment with Murderfang, like we were talking about, as well as 2 units of Wolfen, just to be enormous linebackers for the list. They, rarely make combat turn 1, I imagine, but they do advance and charge. They have a base speed of 7, and they're just going to be just loping up the table. Getting ready. Once you deal with those blood claws, they aren't hard to kill. The blood claws, they are just standard Space Marines. But once you deal with them, you have 16 Wolfen, in your face with storm shields. Gonna be a little tough. Gonna be a little tough to get.
Well,
to.
the thing about the Wolfen, is, they're 2 wounds apiece. They're most likely a storm shield. They have a 5-up, feel no pain. I mean, they are a surprisingly resilient unit, and they take a lot of shots to wipe out. Because you are right, they are going to advance and move across the board very rapidly. He's really putting those Custody tanks really close to those Wolfen. So it's going to be interesting to see what those Wolfen can do.
Yeah. Yeah, like you mentioned, the Storm Shield plus the 5+ DPR is almost equivalent to a 2+ invulnerable save. It's very close mathematically, especially if you're
very frustrating.
One damage weapons, yeah, and it makes you want to pull your hair out. For sure.
And especially, I'm pretty sure we've all played against opponents that just seem to always roll those 3-ups, or if they finally fail one, they make the 5-up.
Yeah,
sitting there looking at those Wolfen moving closer, closer and closer to you. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what we saw in the last game with K-Thor. The most damage that was done to the Wolfen, Basilisks and Knight Commander Pask were bouncing off all game. The most damage was done by mortar teams, just forcing enough 3+ saves to eventually kill these guys. But oh man, did they do so much damage before they went down?
Wyvern, just get a Wyvern. That's all you need. Just a lot of shots, double shoot it. Make sure you have the guy close by for if you roll a 6, the neg 1. Just keep rolling. Yep. 8d6 mortar shots a turn.
Yeah. Last but not least, in this Space Wolves army, we have a Supreme Command detachment. It's the Rune Priest detachment featuring 3 Rune Priests, one with a jump pack, one just standard guy, and one. This is a little inclusion that I love. He's my favorite boy in the entire. He's my favorite doggy boy. He's a Rune Priest in Phobos armor. And the reason he takes this guy is so he makes him the Warlord. He gives him Saga of the Hunter so he can advance and charge, and then he can cast Tenebrous Curse not Tenebrous Curse, excuse me, Temporal Corridor on himself, and he can double move with a 3d6, pick the highest advance, and then charge afterwards. So this old dude, he just bullets around. He kills entire guard infantry squads. He just clears objectives by himself, and he's just obnoxious to deal with. He's a 1-up save and cover. He's a character, so a lot of times these drop pods and these blood claws are going to be closer, and he moves 16 to almost 20 inches plus a charge.
Trevi, I don't think I've heard you speak so passionately of such vigor and love about Space Wolves as any other army in 40k at this point. Like, are you a subconscious Space Wolf?
Yeah, it might be.
Are you an emotional Viking?
They are. It is a faction I've never played, and I did make a long video about them on the channel. So
I'm just listening to you go on. I'm listening to you go on, and I'm like, Asperger's ? Like, Are you Matt Damon here? Are you a janitor, but secretly you know math equations? Like, you know so much about Space Wolves.
Yeah, I did. I did cover actually both of these armies in the list breakdown for Pod 2, and I did speak a lot about Seabiscuit's list because it is interesting, and it does use a lot of the new combos coming out of Saga of the Beast. So I thought it was important to bring up. So that's mostly the only reason that I know so much about this list in particular.
Your videos are absolutely phenomenal. If you haven't seen the Thunderfire video, great material. I gotta admit, I had a great little giggle, and especially when you look at people's comments, because it's YouTube, man. So people are very friendly at all points in time, and you're like, oh, this guy's making a valid point about how GW writes rules and should do a better job. And they're like, oh, Thunderfires aren't that good. And you're like, that's not the premise.
Yeah, did you watch the video, bro?
Here.
It's literally 32 seconds in, we talk about that. Oh man.
People are just forever unhappy.
Yeah, it's good fun for sure. Yeah, riling up the community a little bit. I think we all got to take ourselves a little bit less seriously sometimes.
3D6. LOLs.
Well, yeah, get the lols out. Yeah, Dylan Holmes, suspecting that it might be a closet furry. Neither confirmed nor denied.
Dark. Would you want to?
No. No, we'll leave that up to people's imaginations. My avatar is a little turtle boy, though, so I might be a scaly. Look out.
Okay.
And I've lost the audience. All right, well.
Is your furry a tortoise? Like, can that count as one?
No, if it's a reptilian, you call it a scaly.
Why would you? Maybe you are. Why would you know that? That actually makes sense.
I thought that was common knowledge, though.
No, sadly, it's not.
It's not. No. Yeah. All right, so this is the last cast that Color will be co-hosting on because he's gonna lose my number, I think.
Oh. I mean, I have been wondering why I've been getting aggressive memes at 3 o'clock in the morning, but you know what? I just brushed it off. I didn't think it was that big of a deal, but now I'm actually legitimately concerned.
All right. Well, we are getting into this game right now. Seabiscuit in his movement
Here we go. Let's get into the game.
He won the role to go first, which is a big deal because his list, I think, benefits a ton from going first because he's able to take all that board space. He doesn't get screened so hard out on his drop pod charges, and I think it's going to be not too bad for him. He has this big open space by Objective 1 where he could potentially be dropping these drop pods in. Effectively only screened out to the edge of the objective, basically. We do see.
Why would he want to bring in reinforcements turn 1? Would he just want to let's play it out, give him a turn, be more reactive? I do not think those drop pods are coming in.
Oh, I think they're coming in.
I think
if you're in on space, if you're playing full space, really pure space wolves, you're not here to be patient, right? You're here to hit some people with power fists, man. Got to get to grips.
Something tells me he got first turn. He growled because I'm assuming he's more of like a wolf Viking, and then he went, "Let's do this dance."
Yep, here they come.
Look at that!
That was fast. Yeah. So, and I think this is an interesting play from Seabiscuit. Obviously, these blood claws are just gonna impact into these infantry squads. Lord Solar has made a very good defensive deployment here. He's screened out the blood claws from getting to any of his important models. It's going to be really tough to make a charge in those Calladii because you are -2 to charge. So you're going to have to hard roll a 9 after the Litany of Hate bonus. And potentially even more if he can't block out the Tanglefoot grenades, but I imagine that he can.
And don't forget, the Custodes have that lovely counter charge stratagem.
Yeah.
You always want to be careful for that. If you're not thinking about that one stratagem, that can really ruin your entire day when you see that captain just smash right back into your guys.
Yeah, I mean, I almost wonder if Lord Solar wants Seabiscuit to make this charge and just pick up one of these Bloodclaw units in his opponent's turn.
Yeah.
With those Vixilis.
I mean, I don't think anyone wants to take Blood Claws to the dome, turn 1 in the deployment zone. But I also like that he's kind of avoiding the grab tanks at this point because that negative charge modifier is brutal when you need to rely on that 7 and you roll like a 6 and then you're +2 because of the grab amp amplifier thing, whatever happens.
Right. And yeah, I have to. I mean, it must be Seabiscuit's play that he wants to get Murder Fang into those Calladii, because if I remember correctly, Tanglefoot only works on infantry units. So I don't believe that it slows down the Dreadnought charging, and he should be able to, if not kill one, certainly put it down to its last legs in one round of combat.
Well, I mean, looking at Murder Fang, he's going to be he's another 2 to maybe 3 turns from seeing combat. I think he's just going to be support at this point.
Yeah. He's a linebacker for sure. It's him and the Wolf that really want to follow up to this Bloodclaw charge. I don't think Seabiscuit ever really intends on these Bloodclaws doing an immense amount of damage, especially since it looks like he's going to deploy them forward that they won't get that +2 charge from Litany of Hate.
Yeah, you're 9 point away. That's all that really matters.
Nice DTS.
Well, he's got. I mean, you still don't want to not. It's Space Marine's still on the charge, especially Space Wolf ones are still hitting you on 3s, wounding you on Fours, threes or fours. I mean, it's still a lot of attacks. You know,
Even better
gotta
than
has to be
7
careful.
inch.
But I mean, the Custodes is going to be a good counterpunch.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be everything but these Wolfen is gonna absolutely melt to these Virtus Praetors in melee for sure. And even every one of these models has a Hurricane Bolter, and even just the
Correct.
number of saves that they're gonna force through on a
Because there's
Wolfen
no way I'm
squad
shooting
or
at
a
a drop
Bloodclaw
below,
squad
like,
is gonna tone them down pretty significantly for sure.
Well, the thing about the Praetors is, they're still toughness 6, 4 wounds, 2 up, 5 up. I mean, that is an annoying model because realistically, with the Space Wolf army, you're going to want to be in close combat with them, and Custodes usually shine pretty well in close combat when they have a 14-inch move.
Yeah, for sure. So I think one thing that Seabiscuit is trying to do here, and that he uses these blood claws for, is to force his opponent into that defensive deployment and just take an immense amount of table space, like early in the game, so that he can just continually score. Hold more bonus. Potentially, if he gets in there, he'll get kill more, and get his maneuver secondaries. And then he's going to follow up with these Wolfen and things, but one of the things that Lord Solar has going for him is that a lot of these models have a very high speed, because they are jet bikes or they are these Caladius grav tanks that move 14 base inches.
I don't know if the Space Wolf player wants to get into a bolt pistol shooting match with Custodes, though.
Yeah, no, he wants to get to grips into melee for sure. But I think that his overarching plan is going to be to, get some big hits through early. I don't know if he has the beef to win through and get these Caladius grav tanks, but I think I have to imagine that he's just planning to win on his maneuvers and to force Lord Solar into playing this defensive game in the corner.
I think that's a smart choice. You kind of have to. I think he understands that this Custodes list is just gonna, obviously, it's fast. It can make a 14-inch move with high toughness and a negative to charge is brutal for Space Wolves trying to get into quickly. I think he's just going to slam into it, and the Custodes are going to get one turn to be able to counter, and then here come the rest of the Wolves that are pushing in down the center.
Yeah, absolutely. Real quick, so speaking of secondaries, let's go ahead and talk about the secondaries. We haven't covered those.
I do like secondaries.
Seabiscuit taking gangbusters, assuming that he's going to knock out those Virtus Praetors, but each of those guys use 4 wounds, right? So they give up that gangbusters pretty
Correct.
quickly.
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously a no-brainer. Whenever you face that kind of stuff, you're like, okay, that's what I'm going to have to take. I mean, that's pretty smart.
Yeah,
behind enemy lines and recon. I mean, he's going all into his opponent's face, right to the dome. I mean, he's obviously playing Space Wolves. He wants to cause as much damage as he can.
Yep. And obviously, as we were saying before, it's probably his plan to win on those maneuver secondaries, and he's not going to have too much trouble grabbing all of those. Behind enemy lines might be the toughest one, but I think those Wolfen squads in a turn or two are not going to have an issue grabbing, maxing that out.
No. I mean, he has the Custodes player has to do his target priority really smart here, because I think he has to understand that next turn he does have 2 squads of Wolfen that will do charge range.
Yeah.
And no one wants to take 2 full 20-man squad or 20-man combined of 40 wounds with a 3 up, 5 up on turn 2 to deal with, because they also are very quick. I mean, they still have a movement of 7 plus their advance plus their charge. So I mean, they can almost keep up with those Praetor grab bikes.
Yeah, Virtus Praetors.
They are
Second phase.
Virtus Praetors.
We'll start with.
So it's gonna be interesting. He's got to target the custodian player has a target environment, but those bikes can easily cough up some points.
I don't have any
Recon
psychers,
and
but
behind
the
enemy
only
lines
thing
is
I
smart
can do
choice.
is a Custodes unit 1 CP can deny as if they were a psyker, but I have to be within 12 inches to do that.
Going to psychic phase now.
Start off with Stormcaller.
Yeah, but just covering Lord Solar's secondaries here, he's got Headhunter. Makes a lot of sense because there are a lot of Space Wolves characters on the table, and obviously they're very aggressive, which means that you're going to have a much easier time knocking those guys out, once they come in to deal their damage.
It doesn't really matter.
Ground control is the second
definitely.
one. Very strong choice if you have those fast units and you're going second,
Right,
because
yeah,
your opponent's not going to have the ability to react to your last
So what's
turn
next?
controlling for that. So they can't knock you off objectives and deny you those ground control points.
I believe we were talking about that last time we casted. That is the I'm going to win this game and I'm feeling confident by turn
Yeah,
5
yeah.
objective.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
what that one is.
Yeah, and then Butcher's Bill. I think Lord Solar just confident that he can knock these aggressive units out. The Bloodclaws I think are going to go down pretty quickly. The Wolfen will be tougher, but that means that he's just going to have more options to Butcher's Bill in the later game.
If he's not killing 2 things a turn, something's going really wrong for him.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, come get these drop pods. He's just
even
just
drop
doing
pods, yeah.
Yeah.
You can't see that.
Yeah, those accelerator cannons on the grav tanks should make short work of drop pods. So, interesting choice by Seabiscuit to drop a unit on objective 1. It seems like a very defensive play for models that I think normally he would want to be. He would, ideally want to save until they can get a juicy charge off. Eventually, Lord Solar's screens are going to run out, and then he's going to have the ability to drop these guys in and hit hard. They can wait till turn 3 if they want to. So, not super sure about that defensive.
Yeah, kind of wondering why he wasn't trying to put more pressure on the company commander and the infantry squad in the backfield to try to get that reliable charge off on them, lock them in, and then push it next turn. I don't know if I would have gone maybe that hard towards the middle of the board, but we'll see.
So D3 on my tank.
You always want to try to whittle your opponent's flanks down a little bit.
To 13.
Okay.
Yeah, one downside of those blood classes is that once they drop in, they're a little slow. They're just standard Space Marines. So I wonder if he was worried about getting caught out of position.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is good that he's able to grab that objective 1, and that secures him to bonus this turn because he doesn't have anybody on. Or they're all objective 1. Just kidding. The objective in his deployment zone. In the bottom of his deployment zone. But that looks like Lord Solar's priority objective, I think. Which means if he locks that down, he'll be able to bonus every round, which is a big deal without having to string guys back to the different objectives.
Well, we got the phase going on here, but I mean, outside of that one blue squad of Blood Claws, I don't feel like the red squad of Blood Claws are going to make that charge. I think he's kind of blinking. He just did a wound to a grav tank. Seems like a really not that aggressive of a turn for a Space Wolf player. Not that he had a lot of options with the drop pods. I mean, I don't know if I would have put more pressure on a flank with all the drop pods at once, but I'm sure he knows a lot more.
I've got Kurils Aquila somewhere.
This list.
Can you use it on the blood claws because they deep struck?
What? No. I can only use it.
So what do you think with this list? Do you always go first, or maybe do you try to go second?
I think you go first, and I think you grab that board position. I think it might have been in Seabiscuit's favor just to run the Wolfen up. You get 1 into the center, block some line of sight behind the ruin there, and you stick 1 inside the ruin in his deployment zone. And you just trail somebody out to the objective in the far back. You grab that bonus for controlling 3 objectives, and you probably grab that hold more. And then that buys you table space to drop everybody in next turn. But I think he might just be trying to screen out, kill out off the screens immediately so that his Wolfen can get good charges next turn. I think it'll be interesting to see how the plan develops.
And the more. Yeah, I think it's very interesting. I think the more games that I've seen and played of the new mission set and with the big rules, is sometimes the Alpha Strike armies. I mean, especially when you have 1,000 points in reserve, it's okay to go second and be able to try to get your opponent to move out of their castle.
Right.
Because this kind of list, you have to slam against it turn 1, and you're just looking at all these counter hitting bikes and charge reducing tanks. Is brutal. Maybe he should have gone second just to make his opponent kind of let me react to what he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
A lot of factions that rely heavily on reserves, like Grey Knights especially, they definitely want to go second a lot of times in order to force your opponent into that aggressive screening. One downside of Seabiscuit's list, though, is that he doesn't have a lot of.
This drops
There's
down
almost
to
no
yours,
ranged
and
attacks in
if
it,
you
right?
had-
There's just some, bolt pistols and storm bolters occasionally. So he doesn't really have the ability to kill off these infantry squad screens without actually getting into melee with them. So if Lord Solar, has a reasonable screen, he has a big gap between his tanks and his infantry squads. Those blood claws could get forced back even further until they actually come down. So it's going to be.
I suck at this game.
It could be a little tough.
That's actually that's really interesting. Why do you think he was so defensive with his screens? Actually, kind of looking at it, how he put his guard squads directly next to his praetors.
I think.
Wouldn't you want to try to push out a little bit?
I think he wants this charge to go off.
Yeah, that's.
I think he wants nothing more than a blood claw to touch. To touch a guardsman, Imperial Guardsman, right here at the edge of this forest. And then he has an easy hop over with the Virtus Praetor, the stooping dive. And he can chain some guys off that guy and absolutely murk the squad for sure.
Assaults.
I think you said it right at the start of the battle round. I think he wants to kill one of these blood claws on his opponent's turn.
Yep. One thing I don't know is whether this forest will slow the stooping dive, which could actually be a little rough for the Praetors, especially if Seabiscuit is a little bit more defensive with his charge.
So I'm going to do him first.
Okay.
Well, I mean, what charges outside of blue? I can't measure, but I don't think.
Oh yeah, only blue will be charging. But if for example, if they charge, they get a big roll and they make it into the infantry squad in the ruin, and they stay 6 or 7 inches out of those Virtus Praetors, that -2 could be a big deal. Let me just verify that is how that works. So.
Was the strat.
TO powers activate.
Cloaked by the Storm. It's 3 CP.
I don't get a CP. What does it do? Does it give like everything -1 to hit or something?
Yeah, so I assign it to a Psyker that successfully casted. So I'm gonna do that guy in the center. And then anything within 6 inches of him is -1 to hit.
So this list has a little bit of defensive tech in it.
Yeah, he casts copper power.
We have Stormcaller going off from this jump pack, Rune Priest in the center, on the center objective. And he's using that to trigger his Cloaked by the Storm, which will give everyone inside a 6-inch bubble here cover and -1 to hit with those 2 powers together.
So good.
Very strong. Yeah, definitely going to help these green guys getting up the table. These green blood claws.
100%. Usually you see that with more of a Storm or a Thunderwolf Cav situation.
Yeah.
But always nice to see it just with Blood Claws too.
And just delivering these Wolfen. Stacking a -1 to hit on top of the Wolfen's already, really resilient stat line. It's going to be tough.
Space Wolves are pretty awesome. Like, especially if you want to play like a Space Viking situation. Like, no one should be unhappy with what they begin.
But you have to avoid going onto the forest if you do it. Go like straight down. It's an 11 if you want to get into that.
So just to follow up on our previous question, Stooping Dive does allow you to declare a charge, so you would suffer the -2 penalty from the forest if you declared it.
Oh, so there would only be well, I mean, they still have 2d6. I mean, it's quite a bit.
Right, yeah. If
don't.
So it's just a universal -2 to charge.
Yeah, forest, as long as any of your models are touching it.
So re-rolling the 2.
So we have an 8 on the roll, the Blood Claw charge roll here, re-rolling the 2 into a 6. Oh, boy.
Ugh.
Ooh.
I think they made it.
Sexy 12-inch charger. Yeah, I don't know if this front pack leader is in range of the infantry squad in the ruin, in that 12 inches. If he is, that might be the way to go. And you make that Virtus Praetor
just hit the flank
as difficult as possible.
I think I'm gonna try.
100%.
That said, if he does, sort of place defensively, and the Virtus Praetors are able to get a big charge off and base a bunch of, he looks like he is. Oh boy.
He targeted everything on the charge. Let's be honest.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the Virtus Praetor countercharge, I imagine, just wipes this unit, right? But it looks like he's going to make it as difficult as possible for them to get in.
That's what I.
Yeah.
That's what I said. But 10 minutes ago, I go. Go for the softer target, keep them alive, make sure it's a threat for the following turn.
Yep.
You don't want to cough it up on your opponent's turn.
Yeah, I mean, you're eating like 2 Lasgun overwatches. There's no reason not to declare those guys if they're within 12, and just hope you roll that exactly what he rolls, and get that optimal charge.
I mean, he literally needed to roll a 12 though.
He's straight up
was
good, yeah.
it was 11.6 inches per model to model. So
yeah.
Can you imagine if Seabiscuit's eyes are just kind of rolling a little bit right now? Just like, God, that's so good.
He's like, oh no.
This is the kind of game it's going to be.
Yeah,
awesome.
and with that big charge, that means that this stooping dive's going to be tough. It's going to be looks like a 10er maybe on the stooping dive. So I think Lord Solar, with that big move from the Blood Claws, may be rethinking that plan. He might just lose this infantry squad and assume he's going to be able to counterpunch and kill the Blood Claws next turn.
I believe it's a 3 CP stratagem to do the countercharge.
It is, yeah.
I mean, he's only got 5. He's oned it now. I mean, I don't know if it's worth it.
It's like an Agents of Vect almost. You get one. You get one stooping dive in the game, and so you'd better make it game winning because that's the only one you're going to get.
Yeah. I don't know if 100-point blood squad is where you want to blow that.
Yeah, if they went into the, I think it's probably worth it if they went into the infantry squad in the front because you get to keep that infantry squad alive and you get that kill on your opponent's turn.
I can't.
But in this case, there's no reason. It's not worth it. Certainly not worth it. You're like, hey, I guess I saved this infantry squad on the objective here. Whatever. Those guys knew what they signed.
So I think he's probably going to be able to, depending on he gets his 3-inch consolidate. You think he's going to be able to tri-point that commander back?
I don't think so. I think Lord Solar's placed him far enough back that he's not able to lip those outward Blood Claws. And it looks like Seabiscuit's already done his consolidate, so I think he's just going to kill these guys and grab that kill on turn 1.
Yeah, he's going to smash them.
Yeah. I don't really see any way that those guys survive.
He just rolled 4 power fist attacks. just
get those guys
delete.
Absolutely.
Just get rid of them. What a nice guy. He's actually making his opponent roll.
Oh, I mean, I would too. If you can, it is a big deal if you can stop your opponent getting that kill point on turn 1, because these aggressive lists usually want to start the game really strong and grab, hold more bonus kill, potentially kill more. And if you just take kill off the table, that might be worth it, because that's a victory point that is you're never going to get back.
Like Blood Claws have like 24 attacks with a power fist, right? Like you have 30 attacks.
Yeah, I think it's 8 power fists and then a bunch of chainswords. Yeah.
He just rolled so many dice.
That was a lot of
game.
That was a lot of ones there. Yeah, looks like only.
That's still a lot of
ones coming out.
Oh my god!
Ooh.
9 wounds after 24 attacks, hitting on 2s.
Yeah, that's a lot of ones.
5 up.
Yeah, they're still dead.
Okay. Are
6
they?
dead. So yeah, that's just the rest.
Yep, 6, just enough.
Oh, exactly killed them. See, that's why you make them
exactly
roll.
enough.
Gotta roll bad.
Yep. Oh, I listen. I know. I'm not trying to get into an argument and have you create another YouTube video, but I mean, come on. Yeah, he's measuring right here.
Okay. Yeah. He's gonna give these guys. He's not worried about their fighting back at him. Who cares?
Yeah.
Although I mean, maybe if you're willing to blow the CP, maybe you double fight and wrap that guy. But I don't think that's worth it. I think you just engage him.
No.
There's no way that unit is surviving.
I think he's very happy. I think he'd love to make his opponent shoot and charge them with those Praetors. I mean, that would be an absolute win. Because luckily he got the buff up on all the stuff in the middle. He got the cover and the neg one to hit, which I think is going to be huge.
Yeah.
And next turn, here comes the wave of wolves.
Mm-hmm. Ziltoid in the chat asking if the custom dice roll is available anywhere in the workshop. I don't know if it is. I'm sure that it is, but what you can do is just go into the map itself and save it as an object. Links to the map are available in the Discord, which is in the description. And for everybody in the chat, obviously, thanks for joining us on this Saturday morning. I appreciate you guys coming on here. And the lists for the game are also in the description, as well as more information on in the T5S2 series.
Right, that's all we need.
Wings.
More people playing this kind of Space Wolf list.
Yes, please. Space Wolves are cool,
Guard
man.
squads.
We need more Gene Stealer Cult players. Come on, guys. Play Gene Stealer Cult
We do.
competitively.
Yeah, there's some people in the chat
especially-
yesterday were complaining is that there's not a lot of Tyranids showing up in T5S2 yet. Not yet, but
Just you.
they're coming out. I haven't played Tyranids in T5S2 yet. I'm not
Was that our
currently
little
registered
group?
for any pods?
Oh, they were.
Was that our little group chat we were talking about? Someone said that you were one of the best Tyranid players they've ever seen, and then our response were, "You're one of the only
Yeah.
Tyranid players we've ever seen."
I don't know if I've ever seen any other Tyranids. Yeah,
It's so passive aggressive and mean, by the way.
Well, too bad. Get good,
Like-
Tyranid players.
2+
Get
sergeant,
good.
so
Get
five
good.
attacks,
Larry
so-
Oliver is 5 out of GT, and I haven't though. So there you go. With pure Tyranids, pure high fleet, high
pandemics.
fleet behemoth too. Ooh, man after my own heart. There's a video coming out this weekend in which I talk about that actually.
Talk about Tyranids?
Talk about Tyranids.
Get any?
Oh.
And I talk about
I just
Solid console
Larry Oliver.
joined your Patreon.
objective.
Do I get early access?
You do. It's on the account right now. All the patrons get early access to all
I'm
the
gonna go
public
look at
videos,
it.
So yeah, go check it out.
Can I comment
So that
on the
is-
video? On the
that the
Patreon?
end of your turn?
Yes. It won't. Nobody can see it, but you can comment all you want.
Okay.
No, I just want to make sure I have some real negative comments.
Yeah.
I want to get you used to the YouTube before you post it.
Yeah, I made a bunch of
I don't know if I
new
wear
accounts so
down.
that I could downvote this.
You don't get the bonus. You probably
So, what do you think
Shouldn't
about
probably think-
Lord Solar's
I'm not-
follow-up turn here?
would have got bonus, but I don't.
What do you think he's going to prioritize shooting at these Wolfen and getting those guys off the table, or is he going to start
Yep.
trying to pick away at these blood
Get rid
claws
of
that are a little
on it.
bit more of an impending threat?
Recon.
I think his game plan was already laid out, and then he saw his
Right,
opponent get
so
the protection
turn
roll
one.
off, which is the cover and the
Go
make
back
when
with
they hit.
Lloyd, slam down like
It's gonna be very interesting because you can get tunnel vision on these Wolfen, and just before
Go
you
back
know
so
it,
you can
you've shot
shoot
everything you have at him,
Company
and you've
commanders
only
gonna
killed
fall
5.
back.
That
There.
being said, he's got to deal with
Infantry
these
are
the
gonna
red blood claws in
fall
the
back
center.
also.
I mean, those are easy kind of freebie
Got a nice
kills.
screen going.
But Wolfen are obviously scary, but you also have the easy drop pod to shoot. He's got a target-rich environment. He's obviously going to
Okay,
he's
let's
pulling out of
guy,
combat with
hold it.
the blood claws in blue.
Yeah,
I don't know. This is going to be interesting because I feel like if he makes the wrong choice,
Right.
it's going to be real hard to come back
I
from.
want to
You
go
know,
for
Custodes are not a forgiving army.
Yeah, for sure. All of his pieces are incredibly expensive, and you can tell by the low model count. Even with a loyal 32, this list has maybe 45 models in it, and 30 which of those are Imperial
with-
Guardsmen.
This Caladius is going to move
But
over.
and he's down 10, so he's
Yeah,
already
and
lost,
he's already lost
almost a third.
25% of his
He's
army.
a third of his army's down at this point.
This one is going to move over.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, look, he's obviously going to move, try to give himself one more turn of shooting. The downside here is he backed himself into a corner. Not that he had much of a choice, but
Right.
he's got to deal with this large amount of space wolves that are just hauling ass towards him.
Lord is going to move over 6.
Yep. Yeah, and look at this.
They are
deployment
forging a
here.
hard narrative.
He's effectively almost screening with his
move
characters.
into
He's
ruin.
not worried about the deep strikers coming in anymore, but he absolutely wants any charge
Squads.
against.
I guess I just put them there so that if you try and charge the infantry to fight twice, I just kind of charge over the top. They're going to go out to there. Don't have any more deep striking, so that's fine there. Don't have any psychic, so I'm going to start my shooting by issuing orders. This company commander is going to issue the orders so they can shoot after falling back.
Okay.
To both of those units.
Yeah, get back in the fight.
Yeah, get back in the fight. Then this company commander is going to issue the order to this infantry squad to shoot after advancing. I'm in the range of the another in range of the wolf, and then sad. I'm going to start by shooting Caladius in the middle. It's going to fire everything at the Wolfen.
Alright, I'm gonna pay 2 for transhuman.
Okay.
Motherfucker, are you shitting me?
8
Why is it
shots
so
of main
fucking
gun,
hard?
hitting on 3 because of the -1. Rerolling 1s because of Valoris.
Oh, that worked out.
So, yeah, and then wounding on 4s because of Transhuman.
So
No
3.
rerolls. 3, it doesn't really matter what the minus is, you just have 3 up invulnerables. -3 in case it matters.
And then, so 3 storm shield. Failed 1.
Okay, so it's 2 damage.
Okay, everybody, we're back.
He's
I
done.
apologize for the momentary lapse there. Had a little bit of an internet issue. Bizarre thing. Every time I lose internet, I either don't
regular
lose
guys.
connection or I reconnect to Discord really quickly.
Hello?
But Steam just dies.
So
So,
this
all
will be
right,
15 remaining. Saved.
But we are looks like
12
in Lord
remaining.
Solar's shooting phase.
Saved.
Put it over to the player mics real quick and
9 remaining. Saved.
see what they're rolling. I think we're rolling some Wolfen hits here.
So 6 remaining.
there you are.
They're saved.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
3 remaining. Saved.
Oh, there we are. Are we live? Are we back?
So I
yeah,
lost
we're
one.
back.
Oh, so what? Oh, what was that? Is it snowing? I'm sorry. I was
Commander
asking.
is going to throw
It is snowing.
grenade.
Yep, we got some snow going on.
Oh,
over here.
there.
Hits
You have some snow and some Comcast, which is double internet hit.
Yeah,
It's
no
infantry
kidding.
squad. One of them
Hey,
can't
Should
see.
be fixed
All
now,
back
though.
Good.
The rest, they're all in rapid fire. So I'm going to put
Okay, I was leaving you a
17
1-star
shots,
review on
Mr. Sergeant.
your
Patreon. 16
Patreon.
plus
Oh,
D6.
great. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
The blood claws
Gotta keep
and 1
it-
in
Yeah,
gotta keep
that's
it honest.
it's patreon.com/tactical tortoise if anybody wants to come visit and give me 1-star reviews.
is 18 shots.
I mean, can we comment on Dylan Holmes going? It wouldn't be a T5S2
On
stream without
force.
technical issues. Like he's like, I'm aware of it.
No
Oh, yeah.
rerolls.
Yeah, I think everybody's come to expect it at this point.
5s.
So 1.
So looks like we just have we
Or
had to
do
get
we
back
have
in the
like
fight.
side bets going on? Like, oh, it's going to be the. Oh, sorry.
We had to get back in the fight on this infantry squad here,
Mhm.
and they are just piling shots into this Bloodclaw unit.
Um,
I think we also had the
these
Virtus
wolves
Praetor shoot at
don't
him.
have transhuman up, so I'm going to shoot the next Caladius at the
I'd assume the he's
transhuman.
killed like 7 of them. Transhuman's a great one.
Yeah.
Space Wolf player is down to 1 CP at this point in time.
8
That's
shots from the main gun.
huge. He did burn through 4 CP this battle round.
Freeze, because they still get the -1.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Reroll.
Especially since you want that
I mean,
CP
but
to buff
we
your
all kind of
charges.
knew he was going to. Oh, 100%. You know, I think we all kind of knew he was going to lose the Bloodclaw unit. The Transhuman's interesting. Like, why would you spend it there instead of one of the units of Wolfen?
Then
But,
wounding on freeze because strength 7.
I guess he just kind of wanted that one squad to absorb all
Or
chunks.
5 wounds -3.
Yeah, it
Did he already
seems-
shoot the Manticore though?
I don't believe that he has, but I could have missed it while I was down. It seems a little aggressive that he left. I mean, I guess you want to take the table space, but having 2 Wolfen units
snap.
be in line of sight means that whichever one isn't transhuman is going to eat a bunch of shooting.
So you'll have to use one at a time.
Yep. So
Yeah, because you just once someone transhuman, you go, okay, I'm gonna small arms. I'm only gonna shoot stuff that wounds you on
First
force
guy is
at
alive.
that
He's alive.
unit, and then everything else is going into a different.
Mm-hmm.
that same guy
The
on
next
the
one.
second one, he dies.
Okay. And the third one.
It's like we're losing some Wolfen in the back.
He dies,
Yeah.
and the fourth.
Yeah, so I guess it also
Just
helps that
double one.
Seabiscuit wants
Nice, I got
to
3 of them.
keep his closest Wolfen unit alive because
We're
that
going to do
board
it
space is going to be
smaller gun
important.
now.
I still think that
Hitting
it's
on
going to be a
freeze again,
slog. You
rerolling
need
the
2 more
one.
turns of moving, I think, to get in range of these Caladi,
Miss.
depending on how Lord Biscuit
The wounding on
how
freeze.
Lord Solar
Rerolling the
moves
1.
them.
2.
And
2
he could
wounds.
potentially
Minus
kite.
2.
Yeah, I mean,
He could kite back
wonder if
along the
it's
table
just 1
edge,
damage?
right? Because there's not going to be a lot of threats up
Made it.
by the objective, by the ruin where those blood claws are.
I want to put my
With a
last
14-inch
one, 'cause that's got
move,
blaze
they
cannon.
could get pretty
I'll
far.
just put it into the drop pod and
And these
kill
Wolfen
it.
are
Just
only
get my
moving
kill.
10 to 12, probably.
Next turn, then maybe get killed more
he,
over there.
the Custody player has already killed 3
Killed one from
Wolfen
Sarah.
from the yellow squad. I did watch
I don't think it's
Seabiscuit
blood
roll
kills,
a bunch of 1s and 2s, which is always
I'm going
disheartening.
to put both of his guns
So the Wolfen die pretty
using
quick
the
when you
burst
roll
mode
1s and
into blood
2s
claws.
Yeah.
for your
For
everything.
Okay.
Yeah. And there might be a little karma coming back to bite Seabiscuit.
His
His
14 shots
invulnerable save
total
rolls were
together.
phenomenal in his last round, like we saw on stream.
Well, and 14. So, I think on 2s now.
I'll hit.
I mean, I want to see what the Manticore does, because the Manticore, something tells me it's about to go ham.
Yeah.
This shooting
for
at
sure.
them.
Although I have seen
So all
Manticores
of those
flub
hit,
pretty hard,
wounding on
especially with
freeze.
-1 to hit.
Fair enough.
You almost maybe don't want to fire one this turn
I just
because
need to wait
it's
for them
not
to
going to
load
be
up
so
on my screen.
ineffective. I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah, your ping is like.
Yeah, and that's why I mean I would
Yeah.
kind of say like when I
Okay.
asked if he fired the
So
Manticore
that
at
many
the
at minus
Bloodclaw
two-
pack
12 at
that's
minus
in
2.
on the backfield. 'Cause,
Yeah.
So I've got 6 regular guys.
you kind of just want to shoot it at something that you know you're going to obliterate,
Right. Yeah, for
And-
sure.
and then use your Praetors to shoot at the Bloodclaw unit that's further up.
Or even like, is it? Could it even
So-
possibly be
Forward
worth it to
die?
shoot it at a drop pod? Like,
No.
You don't
Please,
want to,
Trevi,
but-
no.
I mean,
you
you
get
don't
4
have a lot of
shots. You're going to
models
shoot one of them.
in this
Kills
Custodes
those
list, and you
6.
want to ding those drop pods up early
Yep.
so you can pick them
9
up later
for
play
the
game.
Bloodclaw pack leader.
And
If
you don't
you're
have a lot of
shooting at a
attack.
drop pod with the Manticore,
Saved.
that's
Fine.
like a
Yeah,
Castellan
There's 2
shooting
more.
at a drop
Last
pod with
guy's
his
gonna
volcano
finish
lands.
shield.
You're like, if you ever
Okay.
have to do that, you're like,
Yeah.
oh, this is a bad situation.
Or it's a really good situation.
There's my kill one.
Looks like he just actually just blasted a
Valorous is going to
blood
take
clot
a
unit
pop
right
shot.
off the table though with one of those Caladi.
Purple Wolf.
Okay.
I mean, I almost, if anything,
He gets
wanted to
one
see
shot
the
hitting on-
Praetors shoot
Maybe
at one of
because of your
the
-1.
Blood Claw
He
Reds
misses.
and then charge into the drop pod just to
The
kill him.
Silas,
then kind of
or,
get
he's
yourself a
behind there
slingshot.
Oh, for sure.
On the,
This guard
I think
I mean,
squad,
if anything,
You
That's
definitely
defensive with them.
you don't want those
some of them
guys
can rapid
to
fire. The others are just shooting normally. So that
overextend,
is
though,
1, 2,
right?
3, 4, 6,
You know,
7,
because
8,
if
9,
those guys
10
charge the
shots
drop
into
pod,
those.
and then a Wolfen gets, rolls a couple
Claws.
sixes and gets into them and knocks them all out, that's a 550 point unit right there. You know, you can't
Claws
afford
is-
that if you're
Did
playing
they get the
Custodes.
-1?
yeah,
So I think he's just
but
playing
he has to
cagey.
be on. Yeah, yeah,
The
I guess
Blood
you're
Claws
right.
get
I
the
mean,
-1 hit,
I don't know.
or is it like
you always
holy
want to keep
within or just
momentum
within
going
6?
on your opponent.
Yeah, they're within
Murder
6.
Fang is right there, just kind of looking at that drop
Okay, so
pod
hitting
too.
on
So
5, say?
maybe if you're forging a narrative that Murder Fang's on his way to save the drop pod.
Yeah, one of those
yeah.
and wounding on a 5. Wound.
He's like, those are expensive.
On a normal guy.
You know how much we have
I
to
just
pay
love
for
that
this?
someone modeled it.
Fine.
Someone modeled it and put so much love into it as an actual
my
thing.
gosh.
It has a head. If you actually
model
zoom in on
shooting
its chest plate,
them.
it has
Oh,
an
on Murder
amazing
Fang?
head.
Yeah.
On Murder
Hold
Fang,
on.
it's like
6s.
someone actually put a bear on,
Wound on the
for his
drop
cloak and put a Space Marine head.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks just like the Murder Fang model. He's got his little head sticking out of the
Yeah.
front.
Just one wound on the drop.
Does the actual Murder Fang have a head?
Okay.
Yeah.
Out, or
Yeah,
is
he's
it
got
the
he doesn't have a helmet on.
sarcophagus?
On the actual
Really
Murder Fang, yeah.
interesting.
Oh,
Taking a look at the score here.
Is that it?
Looks
That's
like we
the
did
whole
not
turn?
record a bonus for Seabiscuit.
Alright, what was that, man?
Is
Sorry.
Oh,
that wrong?
one wound on the drop pod.
what's this is objective, or this
Okay,
is
anything?
mission 1?
This is
Okay,
this is
I am going.
Precious Cargo.
No, I've still got one thing
I
left.
believe the bonus is hold
That's
any
where
3
you have to-
objectives.
The Manticore
Hold you.
is out of range for that, so it's gonna. The Manticore's gonna put its
I
heavy
think so.
bolter into the Blood
Marcus
Claws,
Maximus, thanks for joining us from Spain.
and it's gonna put
Awesome to
its
see you in here.
Manticore missiles into
For,
the drop pod.
It's exciting. We get some Custodes on Spacefuls
Kill
action.
and hold more. So the missiles, D6. I'm gonna reroll both of those. So 7.
Okay.
Hitting on 4s.
Oh,
Just 2.
oh, that was so many misses.
That's
One wound at -2.
Imperial Guard
one.
shooting there can sometimes go wrong.
I failed,
Yeah.
so 3 damage.
And armor save.
And then the heavy bolter. On 4s. Wounding on 3s. So 1 wound on the claws.
He's
Go
dead.
on. Does make my charge a little bit longer though, I think. Oh no, it's still
Yeah,
a
yeah.
9-inch charge.
Is he angling on a charge on those guys? With the Virtus Praetor?
so
Seems like
I'm
he would
gonna
have moved
start
out of the
off
forest if that
by-
was the case.
Touching the
Yeah,
jetpacks into
no,
the blood
I
claws.
don't think so.
Well, he wants his Butcher's Bill, right? He's only killed 1 this turn, which was the Blood Claw unit up over here
Nothing.
by the drop pod.
So going for the 9-inch charge. I'm gonna CP the 1.
See, I hate when people delete models instead of just
Oh.
pulling them off to the side, so you have
So
no
down
idea.
to 4 CP.
Potentially a little bit of a misplay from Lord Solar there. Went for the charge, rolled a 1 and a was that a 1 and a 5, and then
How many
rolled
other charges
the
on
rolled the
makes
1.
it your turn 2.
So
You both killed 1, so
kind
Is that a
of
failed charge?
and
Yeah,
we
kind
both
of.
hold 2. So
would
yeah,
have
that's
made that charge if he just nudged over with that unit
Yeah.
outside of the forest.
They do have a 14-inch move,
okay.
so
Yeah.
there's really no excuse.
Yeah, maybe he wasn't expecting to have to do it, and he wanted them in kind of a central location. But yeah, you can move anywhere with those
Well,
guys. They do fly.
This yellow
He did lose a metric shit ton of blood claws. He's got 2 left, so you
I
know,
don't
if
think
we're
I
getting
killed, like,
close to
one
we're
from
at the
the
charge
purple
phase.
squad.
You've only killed 1 thing.
I don't
Uh-oh.
think
I
I fail.
can't fail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this Blood Claw unit right in the
Nice.
center, in front of the entire Imperial Guard army here,
just
or
get
mixed
one
Imperium
more.
army, is good to go, and will absolutely be mincing their way through some Imperial Guardsmen next turn.
No, it's the
We're holding
Do you
2
go for the
and
guard, or do you
holding
start
2.
moving towards those
don't
those
have
grab
anything
tanks?
this
I
one.
mean, those grab tanks go down.
your
I mean, that's
turn 2.
brutal.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you force him to start spending those Tanglefoots on these Blood Claw charges, so that neither of these players have a lot of CP, and once you get to the Wolfen, if you have less to play with, then that's kind of where Lord Solar wants to be.
I mean, he's going to have a ton of stuff within charge range next turn. I mean, he's going to be all up in the Custodes space.
So
He still has that drop pod contesting objective 1 too, or the backfield objective. Once that guard squad goes down.
How to 40K says that one of the guardsmen in the consolidate during Seabiscuit's turn was able to nudge the objective here by the ruin, so that would, because they have OBSEC, that would have denied Seabiscuit the bonus. Good call, how to 40K. They're definitely teaching us how to play 40K over here.
People will keep you honest in chat.
That's something I need to learn someday.
And I love how the name is literally how to 40K. Yeah. Like, so not only is he like correcting you, but he's also telling you that I'm going to correct you.
He's got the chops to correct me, I think.
Nick Daviani, you have nothing else better to do on a Saturday morning.
Marcus Maximus. The T5S2 actually has been pretty Xenos light so far. We see a lot of Eldari, which is not really surprising. But other than that, a smattering of orcs and a Tyranid here and there, and for the most part, it's dominated by chaos, with Imperium slowly kind of working their way back as we move further along in the season.
Marcus, no balls, Gene Stealer cult. Go for it.
Yeah. We
Pod 6, face me, round 1.
Constantly open pods, so anybody who wants to join, you can just hit us up in the Discord down below, posting the Join a Pod channel, and the next time we open a pod, we'll pick the top 16 people in the waitlist and put them on.
Quite a large. How many players are you at in the T5 Discord? Are we over 200?
We broke 200 yesterday. Yep.
Ooh.
Which is
That's
crazy.
Pretty impressive.
It's
you
like
are now the second largest. Yep. You are now the second largest TTS Discord after the main Discord for Warhammer TTS.
I have no idea if that's true.
That is 100% accurate because I found all of them.
Okay.
Let me compliment you. Why do you have to deny my love at all points?
So Seabiscuit, moving up here, I don't think it's going to be too hard of a charge. I don't know if he got his litany off with the Wolf Priest. But it shouldn't be too hard of a charge on these guardsmen. And he can potentially pick up the company commander as well as an infantry squad to grab a couple kills. Another downside of Lord Solar sitting on this hill, or on this forest, is that if he tries to stooping dive again, it's still going to be -2. So I think he's just played himself out of the stooping dive play.
He's only got 4 CP. Yeah. I feel like they're more of a shooting.
Yeah, well, it seems to me that there's not a lot you need to spend CP on in this army, right? You save one for the Tanglefoot that's gonna win you the game eventually, and then I think the only reasonable kill that Seabiscuit can get this turn is these Blood Claws charging his infantry, and if you can kill them before they get there, no kill. That's bad times, and you lose this unit before your turn.
Jeez, and based on that Rune Priest placement, I think he did get +2 advance off. Because usually you wouldn't be so aggressive with your Rune Priest unless you really got it off.
This is the temporal corridor guy, remember, so he can double move himself potentially.
Well, there we go. Fair enough.
Yep.
So the Wolf on the center. Where do you think? Do you think they just follow in behind the Congo line, or do you think they kind of break off at this point and head towards the tanks?
Imagine they have to go to the tanks, right? You already have a unit that can hold this objective by the Virtus Praetors in this drop pod. As long as you can force Lord Solar from moving onto it, then you can just continue to grab points from that. The tanks are on the other side, and you want to grab that objective and start bonusing as much as you can. So you just kind of want to scare them off. You have to survive long enough for those guys to.
The tanks, by the way.
So you can eventually win on ground objectives.
Tanglefoot.
I mean, I feel like that was a really good turn for the Wolf player. You did a little bit of damage. You kept your unit in your opponent's deployment zone past turn 1. You didn't really lose anything that was too much of a blow to the dome. And the Custodes player, he's still in that back corner. He is able to dictate the flow of battle at this point as being the space player.
Yeah, that's a good point. That having this drop pod and these Blood Claws right up in the corner here.
So it's
Means
just
that
like, yeah, you also fail
if
your
either of these
free
characters or these blood claws in the
charge.
center get a charge off, you're going to get the double on behind enemy lines
Behind
immediately on
lines.
turn 2.
Correct.
And then then you can start playing a little bit more of a cagey game.
Oh my God! If you look at the secondaries for Lord Solar, that is tough. He didn't get Headhunter, didn't get Ground Control, didn't get Butcher's Bill. He got Kill One, Hold One. I think they didn't finish scoring because I think Seabiscuit would have a Hold More and plus. Yeah, he'd have a Hold More and bonus.
I think we decided that he wouldn't have gotten the bonus that turn, right, because of the consolidation. But he definitely, he would have gotten a hold more. And we'll see if they catch that.
It's like not that far off.
So 5-2 first battle round.
Actually, would he have? Because he only had 2 objectives, and Lord Solar would have had 2 as well. With that
yeah. He doesn't have anything on objective 1 in his backfield. Not that he can put anything there.
Yeah, Ben Starkey in the chat. The bikes, it's 6 versus Praetors as well as a Shield Captain. Shield Captain is 160 by himself, I think. Plus the Virtus Praetors are about 550. So you're looking at almost 700 points sitting on this force.
The captain's 100% worth it. The Praetors are really good. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, 160 points for a captain on a bike is absolutely brutal.
They are good. Yeah, having the Hurricane Bolter is nice to have. If you ever need it to blast a 10-man guard squad, you got this guy to run up in there and just get him out of there.
What is it? Hitting on 2s, re-rolling 1s, wounding on 3s. It's so good.
Take 8 saves, I guess. Yeah, okay.
450 points for 3 captains on a bike for a Supreme Detachment is so good on every Imperial List.
Real solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if they're being overshadowed by Space Marines a little bit, but I'm sure War of the Spider is going to reverse that right back, and we're going to start seeing those triple bike captains on the table a lot more.
I mean, is everyone excited for the White Dwarf Harlequin that's coming out? Harlequins need some love. I'm a Harlequin player. I'm very excited for them to get their own. Yes,
we see a ton of Skyweavers in these pod games so far.
Harlequins need some flavor. That's what they need.
They do. They are a little vanilla right now, for sure.
They're good. Don't get me wrong, but they need something. And plus, Eldar and kind of Dark Eldar kind of got So this is the final, this is the trifecta as a Harlequins because they mix with Eldar and Dark Eldar.
Yep.
So I'm hoping they get something real juicy.
Yeah, right now we're seeing a lot of Eldari lists that are being submitted are kind of cookie cutter. You have your Cabal of the Blackheart double Ravagers or triple Ravagers. You have your triple Skyweavers, and then you have Guardian Bombs or the big Shadow Weaver detachment or whatever from Eldari, and that's what most of the Eldari lists look like right now. And it is a cool list, and it looks fun to play, but it is it's kind of that's kind of what you got.
My one big bitch over the Psychic Awakening for Eldar was it didn't fix any of the problems Eldar had, and it didn't add any real stuff that they need. I mean, I think that would be because they needed new Warlord traits, they needed some new relics because they really didn't have anything that was really spectacular. I mean, ask any Eldar player what their Warlord trait is, and they're just gonna be like, I don't know, man. I think it's +1 wound. There's nothing good for Eldar Warlord traits, and their relics are kind of at best. So I just kind of hope Harlequins add some more flavor, but I don't know. Maybe that's just my kind of. If there's any Eldar players in chat, what do you guys think?
As a player who has not taken a Warlord trait in probably 20 games at 40K, I can sympathize.
What are you playing that's not
Tyranids, dude?
Trait?
We don't get Warlord traits.
Do they have? They don't have anything good either. Actually.
Yeah, theirs are terrible, but you just switch them for adaptive physiologies now, so you don't even take them. Just forget. Oh, I did play a game the other day with Jormungandr. Their Warlord trait's actually legit. They get a 3-inch bubble of ignore cover on all of your guys.
Ooh, that's actually not bad.
That's pretty good. We're talking about this game though.
What's the second one?
Think, Back to this.
Yeah, moving off of the Eldari that are not on this table. Definitely looks like these Wolfen are not going to be able to make a charge on these Cladius things. If they're even within 12, they might. I mean, maybe with the +2, they might be able to get there. But is it worth declaring? I mean, maybe. But you take a free.
I mean, how lucky do you think you are that you're going to consistently roll 12s for charges? I don't think anyone is that consistently lucky.
I don't know.
And charging the Praetors are a little different than charging guards.
He's got color-coded dice, so that's all.
They are hitting on 6s and re-rolling 1s, and those bolters are still a lot of bolters.
Well, I think he's wondering whether he's going to declare the Wolfen into this Caladius Graft Tank. I think they're within 12, but with the -2 and +2, those cancel out. But you still probably need an 11
Isn't
or 12
hallucination the one that gives the -1 hit?
I think if he gets it, it's gonna be it. But if he doesn't and he gets some Overwatch to the dome, it's probably not the end of the world. I mean, they're still Overwatching. They're not Tau. Like, go for it.
Sure.
If he's able to if he's able to start locking those tanks down or possibly killing one in the combat phase, that's going to be tough to come back from.
Yeah, I can't imagine a universe where 9 Wolfen do not kill a Caladius Graft Tank in melee.
Correct.
That would be shocking to me.
Consolidate into the one next to it.
Yeah, I mean, they do fly, so that doesn't really make a difference. But
well, if they kill it, yeah.
Oh, well, so they're hitting on 4s now. They're Guardsman.
Yeah, it seems like Lord Solar has a good defensive position here and enough firepower that lines up pretty well with the Wolfen stat line. It's high value, or it's high volume damage to guns, which is not what Wolfen want to see. Their 5+ DPR is gonna keep them alive for a little bit, but if you start failing those Wolfen go down quick.
Correct. He lost 3 from the yellow unit turn 1 from his shooting, so they can still die.
Ben Starkey in the chat referring to Lord Solar as the janitor player, which I appreciate. They are the custodial guard.
The janitor? I see what he did there. That's funny. My
like
Saturday morning brain could not.
Yeah. Looks like we have a temporal corridor here, I think, from this guy. That's very exciting. So he's that's certainly gonna be one charge. That's good. He's gonna be able to make up these guys.
He's got close.
Oh, Dylan's on. Ben Starkey, the usual guys are on. How's it going, guys? I think this turn is the make or break.
You just charge me first.
Yeah, so if those Wolfen are within 12 of the Grav Tank here, you definitely try to make that charge, I think, is the consensus. I mean, and you just hope that the Overwatch doesn't go crazy.
We're not saying he's going to make the charge, are we? I mean, he just made a 12-inch charge last turn.
He's got another one in the bank, I think. He's ready to go.
Yeah, but he has one when he has 2 Wolfen left, and it's a Hail Mary, and we're all laughing. I mean, he makes a 12-inch charge right here. I can flip the table. Jesus, this guy is the wolf god.
10 inches exactly.
He is the reincarnate of Russ.
Ben Starkey says the lances on the Virtus Praetors double as mops. That makes sense, I think.
It's another fair point.
You do need power mops to properly clean the Emperor's Palace.
Good.
Yeah, I definitely don't think that the Grav Tanks are going to stick around. Even if the Wolfen, don't get anywhere close to them, they're going to continue. They're going to continue to back up along this table edge and just circle around the table with that 14-inch movement. It's going to be so tough for the Wolfen to catch up to them. They'll probably get one more chance next turn, and then I think those Grav Tanks are in the clear.
Well, the question is if you back up again, you're now going into turn 3 where they're literally on your back deployment edge.
Right.
You don't want them to be that far back by turn 3. Granted, his secondaries, he's got ground control, but Jesus, you're looking at 48 inches that he's going to have to get through 3 turns.
It is going to be rough. I mean, if he wants to continue, but he cannot afford to go up along the long table edge, because if he gives... unless he somehow wipes out this Wolfen squad, because if he gives even 2 Wolfen the chance to get in on a Grav Tank, I mean, there's a very serious chance that they kill it.
Oh, 100%.
Shoot. See this one.
And even these big characters, Trajan Valoris is one of the most powerful combat characters in the game, but he can't try to go in and mop up a unit of Wolfen without expecting that he'll probably die on the swing back. Especially since those Wolfen can fight when they die.
You know who else is working his way across the board? Ragnar.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah.
I mean, always be on the lookout for that close combat god.
Yeah.
All right.
Do you remember that was like the big
that was
laugh
a very
before
extensive shooting
was it
phase.
the Wolf and the Beast box set came out before we knew the rules, and everyone's looking at what the Space Wolves got, and
Yeah,
everyone's looking at what
charges
the Orcs got, and they're like, "This isn't fair."
Hey,
Yeah.
This isn't- this is- this is like-
Gaskell, though. He can only be
Charge
wounded
3d6
4
inches
times.
is 1 CP.
And then they saw the rules for Ragnar, and people went,
Right,
"Holy
and then you
shit,
play
that guy
one
can
game
put out
against him, and
damage."
he doubles his
I have
points,
to
you know, in
decide
damage
whether or not
output. And
I
you're
use
like, oh
Tangle
my
before you decide whether or
god.
not you use
Yeah.
3d6.
I'd rather face Gaskell. I don't want to
I
face Ragnar coming at me.
100% would
Your
rather
charge
fight
would be
Gaskell. That guy's not
12.
very fast.
I'm +2.
Sure.
No,
+2, so it'd be a
And he's
10.
only got like
Yeah, I'm
7
gonna use
attacks.
Tanglefoot.
Ragnar has
I have
like 18.
still yet to
So
see
you're
the Gaskell
minus-
model in person. I hear it's the size of a dreadnought.
By 2
Oh,
Goddamn
minus 4.
coronavirus!
I'm psyched,
We're
man.
all suffering right now.
I
you seen
I
it?
want to play against
They
Gaskell.
will
I think
have
it's
a
I mean,
14
it's gonna be a
charge.
fun game. It doesn't matter what the matchup is. That guy's gonna wreck some stuff,
Yeah, so
right?
if I
Like
roll
there's
back-
there's
Have
no
you-
way
have
to
you
stop him.
Be able to get in.
Have you seen it face to face?
I
That's
have
the
not
question.
yet, man. I have not.
If it's a 14
I
inch
know
charge,
that's the question. How big is it?
Yeah.
Because I
I
think
can
they've
still
already
declare
started
if it's within
shipping
12.
them.
Yeah,
GW is
yeah,
back online
Shumacore,
now.
who's
yeah.
done commentary and for a couple
but-
games in the past, he's an Orc player,
Can't declare
and he pre-ordered his from the local game store, and
including the-
almost
I'm
immediately
including
the
the
local game
chaplain
store
in-
closed for
I
quarantine.
think it's -6.
And he was
Rip.
devastated.
Could declare
He's like,
that.
I'm not gonna get this for
Sure.
3 months. What are you
That one's
talking
within
about?
12, so
Oh.
to declare it.
Poor guy.
Everyone's making sacrifices during a
I know.
pandemic.
So, if I minus to charge him,
You're -4 to charge him, -6 if you declare the tank.
okay.
So it looks like we did get tangle-footed here, I think.
Well then.
And obviously you get your
Oh, of course, you have to. I mean, let's be
I'm
honest.
gonna
You,
go
you
and try that
have to
anyway.
go for that neg charge. That's kind of one of the big
Yeah.
things that
So
custodians
is
have.
both of them,
No.
to both of them or just the
No,
Lord?
no, no, just that guy.
Are you going to spend
Just the
CP
ability
for
to
3d6
was it
charge?
subtract D3 from your opponent's charge is
D6.
so good.
It's a big ol' sixer.
Oh,
I can only do it with Boltgun
Excuse me,
and
D6.
I don't think you
Yeah,
can
man.
make it in otherwise then.
And especially,
The
I
12
think
away,
the
you
meta is
get
moving more
+2
towards,
from
you
the
know,
chaplain and then
more
-4
towards
from the Tanglefoot.
melee-oriented
The box
armies,
cards
right?
won't get you in.
With a lot of
Yeah.
these
Yeah,
builds that we're seeing, you know, Sisters Repentia coming back on the
Yeah,
table. We're
Sisters.
seeing Orc Hordes coming back, and that
If you wanna
Tanglefoot
take
Grenade's
some
going to come right
Overwatch,
back
I'd
into
gladly shoot you.
into play.
Oh,
I think
easily.
And having this one little character
That's a
here,
six
just sitting
charge
behind your
on
lines,
the-
being like, "Go ahead, try that charge." I have the
It's gonna
Emperor's Holy
be-
Hand Grenade here,
He's
ready
gonna
for
try-
you.
You know,
Infantry
speaking of the meta, it's going to be very interesting to
Command's gonna
see
throw
once
a
everything
crack
starts to
grenade
open back up what the meta is going to be. Because I think you have
It
players
hits.
that have been playing TTS here for the last 2
Anti-fail
months,
wound.
staying up to date on rules,
Infantry
models,
squad.
armies, and changing their lists. Then
All
you
in
have the
rapid
people
fire,
that
so the
hate
sergeant can't
TTS.
shoot, so that is 18
Well,
shots.
this is going to be interesting because I think you're right. You know,
Yeah.
I think this is a close combat meta. And I think, but before the Corona outbreak, I think it was a shooty meta.
Oh, for sure.
So
I
you're
think,
gonna
yeah,
see
we're gonna
some-
see some rapid meta evolution here. I was talking to I was on a phone call with Nick Nanavati and John Damaris the other day, and Nick mentioned that he and Ziegler are playing around 6 games a week, and I'm like, man,
Jesus.
that's child's play compared to what
Wow,
some of
free
these
win.
guys
Yeah,
on
6.
TTS are doing.
You've got
6 games a week,
It's
get out of here.
nothing.
Yeah, yeah.
Six-
I'm
there's-
watching
you have-
people
you have
play
6
2-3
pods.
games a day. You know, like,
You have
this is the TTS is the hyperbaric, you know, time chamber of Warhammer 40K. These people are going to come out
made their
super
point
swole.
I have learned more playing TTS
So
in the
his
last
charge?
2 months than I have probably in the last year of playing actual 40K in my local
Oh, he
Omaha
makes it-
meta. You know, like just the amount of different armies from everywhere, way people play styles, seeing
that's
Space
special.
Wolves, for example. Like we have no Space Wolf players in our area. TTS has given so much information to everyone.
You know,
And then
especially
also people should be able to paint their armies.
once these large competitive
So,
events come back
he made his charge.
into vogue.
That pops
One of the
his
things that
saga.
gets people in these big events is seeing things that they've never seen before, and TTS gives you the ability to experience every matchup
everything.
in
Now
the
it's a
game.
6-inch armor
And
for
you know,
each-
you're gonna people who join a lot of these
Nice.
you know, these events, whether it's
I'm assuming
T5S2
the
or
Wolf Guard
another
battle
series,
is going in.
and
What's he
play a
going
ton of
into?
games, are you know going to have that matchup experience.
I don't know yet.
Actually, you know what, Trevi? I got to say, your hyperbolic chamber with being swole coming out of quarantine is probably the most accurate statement. If you don't create that into a meme and post it on this,
My commander.
that would be
Okay,
pretty funny.
Commander's going to Overwatch.
Yeah, people be getting some games in. 6 games a week, that's nothing. You
Yeah,
get 6
that's
games a day if you're sitting at home in
Living
sweatpants.
on the farm.
Yeah, man. Yeah. If you're ready to play 15 hours of 40k in a day, get her done.
Is Nick and all of them, are they playing on TPS, or are they just doing the old
No,
school
man, they're just doing
person?
it. They're in their little, their hammer house.
You're
Grinding
gonna
games
have
on the table.
You're gonna have some fat nerd win the next GT because all he's gonna have is just TTS experience. He's gonna show up in Crocs and sweatpants. He's just gonna be like, "I've played every game. I know everything about the hobby."
Yeah,
He's gonna slam people.
I've seen the Matrix.
I've seen every list GW can produce.
So, going through these charges here, looks like
that kind of sucks. Okay. Blood Claws.
Seabiscuit has failed with his Wolfguard
are they
Battle
gonna
Leader. He's
charge
gotten
the
his
same thing?
his Ninja Rune Priest in here. He did take a wound
We're
going in,
gonna
though.
lob another Laspistol
Yep.
at him. Oh.
And here comes the Blood Claws.
So they need a
Trying to hit these infantry squads in the middle.
This squad.
I doubt we see a stooping dive in
squad
response.
will Overwatch.
No. You saved your CP. Is it worth it? I mean, it's so much CP to do it.
He can probably get one of these Praetors in on the Rune Priest pretty easily.
Mm-hmm.
Wounding on 5s.
And then use the Consolidate to get some fight.
Then you've got your
Some
drop.
fighting done. Forcing a save through on the Blood Claws, but a 2-up in cover is probably not going to care about that.
Nope.
So 6 would be 8.
And looks like a big 8-inch charge from them with the +2 from the Wolf Priest, so
It won't be enough to get them into the infantry squad, but
not
into
a
the combat
problem
command.
to go fight these guys.
He's gonna go smash them guard
Yeah, it's enough
squads,
to get
continue
there.
to get at least a kill one. You know, that's just consistent. And you're just putting all these threats in your opponent's face. You know, I don't think you want to continue to fight the game in your the back 12 inches on a hammered anvil deployment.
Yeah.
And then Parlins will get you nicely.
Yeah, so it looks like he may be able to mop up both of these infantry squads with some solid dice here. That's some good kills, but it's kind of exactly what Lord Solar wants. He wants the Space Wolves continually to hit these chaff units because, you know, the problem that Seabiscuit's about to face is that he hasn't done any damage to the core of this Imperium army.
Correct. But that also being said, did the Space Wolf player lose enough models that the core of his army's gone? I mean, he still has all of his power. He still has Ragnar, still has the murder dreadnought.
Mm-hmm.
He still has 2 units of everything. I mean, you usually want to thin these models out before they show up in your deployment zone.
Yeah,
because this is.
I mean, they're tough to take out for sure. As we saw last turn, all that shooting, we only saw 2 or 3 Wolfen die, I think. Looks like 3 from one unit and
I'll make it in.
1 from another. So 4 Wolfen.
2 or 3 Wolfen a turn means turn 6 you might be able to kill a squad. I mean,
yeah, for sure.
Is that the end of your charges?
I mean, he's gonna have to bump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers. He's gonna have to do more damage.
Goodbye, rest of my command points. I'm gonna charge you with the jet bikes.
Oh, okay. Here comes the stooping dive.
A 6-inch charge into the increase because of the forest. I'm going to be charging
2 to charge.
The blood claws and also these blood claws.
If he whiffs this charge and burns through all the CP,
Press
press F in chat if that happens.
Well, it's not like he needs this charge, I think, in order for the game to be in his favor right now. But there's an 8. They get in.
So that means they can move 6.
There we go.
Yeah, that's going to be a big deal. Oh, can he clear that company commander even?
8
Ooh.
with the neg 2? I don't think so.
Like it there, bud. Looks like a little bit of clippage.
That's my shield captain, so he can't do that.
T.O.
Yeah.
Go smash some dreams, Trevi. Go smash some dreams.
And I'm kind of just going to leave that company commander to just die.
Can you guys check the movement on that first Virtus Praetor that just moved?
Oh, shit.
We're overlapping
He's actually
the company
doing it.
commander.
There. His base is less than 3 inches, so he can pile over into the blood claws.
I don't know if they.
This one is going to go to.
I would just ignore you at this point, too.
F you, Trevi.
Mind your own game.
This is my game.
How are
They're
you?
all my game.
How are you
How are you
judging casting and then TOing every game at the same time.
I'm good at multitasking.
He is the armor bus.
God, I can't wait to see you at your final power level.
So,
Jesus Christ.
Guessing that means
Imagine when I stop forgetting rolls. That'll
You
be
cannot
fine.
select them. Any enemy unit within
Someone's coming out of quarantine
cannot be
swole on
selected.
Warhammer knowledge.
yeah, I'm swole on catching other people's people, cheating in Warhammer. That's my favorite thing, honestly. That's my favorite part of Warhammer. Is
So yeah,
telling people that they're wrong.
The humble brag? Is that what it is, Trevor? The
I
humble
meant
brag?
base
To be honest.
essentially.
Yeah, you couldn't because of this company commander.
Okay, cool. So yeah, he's not based then. I haven't actually based anything. I'm just within an inch of him and ready to pile into loads of stuff.
Yep.
So, you're going to choose to fight first?
That's a good question.
Can't interrupt because I have no CP
Okay.
left.
Interesting. So we have Armor of Rest
You've
on
got
this
one
Rune
CP,
Priest.
haven't you?
So I think he's able to stop those
yeah.
that stooping die from fighting first.
Yeah, Armor Russ. Oh, that's right, because you swing. Does it nominate one
it just
to swing
counts.
last,
It counts
or
them
does
as
it swing
normal
first?
because the stooping dive gives them the ability to fight first. So you'd count them as a normal charger, I think. So you would swing first with a Space Wolf unit that charged, and then the Virtus Praetor would get to go.
Because it would have to go to alternating.
Yeah,
So
I
the question
think
is,
you have to swing with these
Saves,
Blood
sure.
Claws, right? Because that's the most damage output. And
but he has to swing into the guard with the blood claws, right?
right,
Can't swing
he
onto
didn't declare the Virtus
bikes.
Praetors.
Yeah, he didn't declare the bikes.
But you can get within an inch of an inch to fight on these infantry squads. It's not an issue.
Let's get the name.
Yeah.
Ben Starkey mop slaps and bound. Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna get these blood claws, dare I say, are about to get cleaned up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with the blood claws first.
But
And we are
guess
picking
who's
up
out of
blood claws.
CP right now?
Yeah,
But
I mean,
the
like we
custodian
said,
player is
you
out of
get one-
CP.
Yeah,
you
they
get,
pile in.
yeah, you get the
That's
one
it.
stooping dive, and that means Tanglefoot's off the table for the rest of the game.
I think he was just.
That's gonna
I
be
think
rough.
he was just waiting for this because he knows he's gonna. And this is one of the cool things about that stratagem is you do it on your opponent's turn, and then you get your turn.
And then you immediately get
So
to
I
go
think-
again, yeah. But
Correct, and then you
kind
need to
of,
go again.
You kind of do need to hope that you mop everybody up, that you
And you have to get
stooping
closer
dive
to that
into
one.
because you cannot fall back and charge with this unit.
Did you
This
punt?
one have to get
Did you just
closer to
punt?
my jet bike.
I did.
You gotta mop
but
everyone
I
up.
I
huh?
did.
That's nice.
I did do that.
I see what you did there.
I appreciate
But you
you
still have to go
noticing.
towards the closest enemy model.
For a
I'm sure
pilot.
someone in chat did. It's okay.
I just gotta get closer.
Yeah, so a bit of
You have to go like
a some weirdness with stooping dive is depending on the
so you could do
positioning, you can actually, if the models that you're engaging have not declared you can actually make it very difficult for a pile-in to be effective because you can make the Virtus Praetors the closest unit, so these guys have to basically go bang on the Virtus Praetors, but they can't attack them because they were declared as a charge target. We're
Yeah,
seeing a
correct.
little bit of
I
that
mean,
here,
you
but
know.
I don't think it's going to be much of an issue. I think this one Blood
No.
Claw out in the back here is probably not going to get to swing. Oh, maybe he will because he's an inch off here. This guy might be sad, though. Behind the Rune Priest.
Okay.
And
so
I
this
like
way-
that he still has his shield captain for next turn. I mean, I think if depending on what happens here, he's going to be able to go ham on these Space Wolves.
Yeah, and he wants that Shield Captain
that
as a separate unit for late game that can
Yeah,
run
so
out
he's
and
a
grab
lineage
those
of
ground control
Guardsman.
objectives. He
So
can
this
go
guy-
fight these,
This
these
guy can't swing.
gaggle of characters that are fighting back here too.
Mm-hmm. A gaggle of
Each one can
beasts.
swing two darts
A
and
gaggle of wolves.
So I'm
And
gonna
he's
go
got
Gaggle
Victor
wolves.
of the Blood games on that guy, so he gets that one reroll per round.
the two regular
Plus
blood
his
claws.
the special bike for a 3+ invulnerable save. So he's really kitted out. He's ready to go.
He's ready to go. Yeah, locked, cocked, ready to rock.
Yeah. Torin, how's it going? Thanks for joining us. Thanks everybody again in the chat for joining us in this wonderful Saturday to watch some 40K. And
How many other games we got today?
so this is the only one I have planned for streaming right now. There are actually a bunch of games that all went down right at the same time.
The Wolfguard
This is a
Battle
popular
Leaders
time
of
for
Lieutenant.
everybody to play. So
Saturday morning is prime.
So
Saturday
that's
morning.
only 5 ups.
Yep.
Yeah, it's everybody's ready to,
Couple-
to get down and dirty with some 40K on Saturday for sure.
Free die.
I
You know,
may be
you
on,
make yourself a
Power Fist
I may
and
be
that's
on
one.
later. I have a game scheduled with John Damaris from 40K today, and I might stream that one. So.
Oh, Oh, I saw that he was your caster yesterday.
He
John
was,
Damaris. How'd that go?
It's pretty good. Yeah, we had a good time. And
Super good dude, isn't he?
interesting. Yeah, he's fun to cast with for sure. Interesting game. Some really high level plays. Unfortunately, some interesting dice happened. But
Big brain plays.
man, yeah, the players outsmarted us for sure. We thought that game was going to go down much differently than it did, and both of those players really, both Glark and Grizzly Nate Dog. We're talking about the Pod 1 finals, by the way, which we streamed last night, or Thursday night, excuse me. Both of those players, super duper, kind of in tune with their faction. Both of them spent all week planning the matchup. And getting reps in and theory crafting it, and it was cool to see it go down on the table. It was awesome.
So who won, or is it you have to watch and find out?
Yeah, I don't think it's much of it's a secret right now. I mean, you can go to the event listings and look, but Glarg did end up taking that one down with the Raptors Centurions.
So he won the army, right?
He did. He
Chaos
won
Army.
The Chaos Army. Yeah, it was fun because now the Space Marine player gets to play the Chaos Army.
Power Fist hit.
Crepuscular
and
is asking me to
sadly,
stream that game, so I'll talk to John and see what he wants to do, but I think we'll give it a go.
Are they going to consolidate?
He's usually okay with. He's a public guy. He likes a bit of an exhibitionist.
I feel like he has a social media presence.
Yeah, just a bit of So it looks like this Blood Claws did end up doing basically what Seabiscuit wanted. I think he was hoping to get more attacks than that company commander, but we saw 17 guardsmen just get taken out right there.
Just splat.
Boom.
Yep.
Go down. Get him down.
But here comes the swing back, and this is a situation where I think you really kind of wanted to keep that transhuman. When he blew the transhuman last turn, I think it would be really good for this situation.
I'm not sure it's gonna save him, if I'm honest.
Well,
those are
wounding
some
on threes are
there.
Correct, but that's why the transhuman is always nice to have.
Well, they do reroll wounds, right? Because they charge. So I think they could punch the transhuman pretty well.
Yeah, that's probably a good point. Yeah. You always forget about how many rules they actually do have as Custodes.
Base with the vertebrator base.
Say it again.
Yeah, he can get into company commander. I'm assuming that's what you want to do.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Not sure that the Rune Priest gets to fight before these.
Just so you know, you actually activate those praetors as if. Let me double check this.
Okay, yeah, they're just going to double check armor rust. I believe that how it works is it removes the stooping dive ability for you to fight first, but they still count as charging. So it just means that they would not fight before the active player's charger. So you would still use the normal turn order.
Did you go to 40K the Wikipedia to pull the rules for it?
No, I had to look it up the other day actually because I played against Space Wolves.
By the way, the 40K Wikipedia has everything on it.
Wahapedia.ru, guys, get on it.
Yep, there it is.
Yeah, that website.
You haven't checked it out yet.
Between that and Battlescribe, I think those are the guys that keep 40K alive. Honestly, the game is unfortunately a little tough to play without these cool fan-made services.
Yeah, well, the fact that you can look and just find every unique rule for the faction within the Wikipedia page is just absolutely absurd. And they update the facts on it.
They do. They put all the facts in there and they update the wording of anything that's changed. Super convenient. There are a couple mistakes. I found one the other day on stream, actually. Or I'm not sure if it was on stream.
Jeez,
we did find a
Here's the next YouTube video.
Next YouTube video, yeah. They say you can only take Thousand Sons cultists in units of 30, but you can in fact take them in units of 40 per the codex.
Oh my God! Did you message them already? Let them know that.
Have you brought this up?
I'm going to start calling you Karen. Can I speak to your manager, please?
Yeah.
If I have two abilities to let me fight first, I'm assuming it nullifies both of them.
Yeah, Lyle Dixon, this was an interesting turn. A bunch of charges going down. We got this Rune Priest. He got his Temporal Corridor off to get his double move into a charge. And then the Blood Pack charged, but we saw a successful stooping dive from the Virtus Praetors, who are in fact going to fight first before the Rune Priest gets to go. They're going to probably punish that guy off.
Yeah, they're going to just smash him.
Going to pile into.
Here we go. They're activating. Okay, so best case scenario.
So these are all
best case scenario. A couple. couple wolves survive.
And to
Worst case
put-
scenario, everything wipes. Then he pushes into the backfield with the bikes.
Yeah, I mean, I
Four
think he's
wounds.
definitely hoping to kill
Toughness
both
four,
the Rune
3 up.
Priest and
It's
the
got- the
Blood
armor of this
Claws
gives him a 4
to grab a
invulnerable, doesn't
Butcher's
it?
Bill on his
Mhm.
opponent's turn. It's
Yeah,
gonna
that's
be.
huge.
It feels like a
I'm
little
gonna
bit of an
put 3 of them
overextension.
into him and 3 of them into the Blood Claws.
Looks like we're gonna
If he's
split
able to,
50-50 and see how it goes.
Yeah,
If he's
why
able
not?
to wipe those squads though and
Why
go
not?
for the Hail Mary, I mean, at that point
Three
he'll be able
into
to
Rune
gun
Priest.
all the space holes in the center of the board off.
They are hitting on 4 because of the
It's gonna be a lot of
Torin-
shots.
Asking
Then
about the
rerolling
map,
ones
the
because
terrain
they're-
maps and pods. We don't have a system yet to alter terrain. I think
Yeah.
for the remainder of season 1, we're gonna stick with one set of terrain.
just 3 hits.
Um,
And then
if we
moving on
continue
win
into
on
future
these
seasons, we'll have a system to alternate terrain for sure.
Okay, 3 wounds.
100%.
Come on.
We may end up
Yeah.
creating our own maps. I think might be how it works out. But we're
that a
definitely gonna make it a
possibility?
little bit. Yeah, sure.
So, field
I mean,
wall.
What? You have been a
53
busy
damage.
man. Making
But,
your own maps.
yeah.
So 2.
Just 2 wounds. Okay.
Only 2 wounds go through. Looks like on the Rune
Put a
Priest.
3 into the Blood Claws. Let's see if I can do these better.
Puts him down to 2.
Well, these are
Yeah, he's good to go. That's unfortunate for Lord Solar.
Hitting on 4s.
That kind of comes into the downside of
Better.
stooping dive.
Rerolling
Is, you
ones.
know, you can't fall back and charge with these
Okay,
guys.
that's better.
Nope.
Wounding
So
on
not killing
They
that
can-
Rune
they can
Priest
shoot.
means that they're going to be stuck in melee.
rerolling. So that's
So
6 on.
Maybe got a little greedy there.
It's at -3.
Oh, but he just
Okay.
smashed some wolves
Also
though right
with
here.
the
What does he get? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them.
He
Six
had
armor
6
saves?
wounds
uh,
going
not
through, I
the
think.
Wolfguard pack leader. Where's he at?
Yeah, that's
4 attacks apiece.
That split
Jeez.
is was a little aggressive, I think. But I don't know.
Maybe the first one.
Ben Starkey. If an
He
orc
just
player
made
gets matched
4
against a Death Watch player,
storm
can the boy
shields.
get a reroll?
He's dead, and then
That is up to the RNG
just-
gods there, sir.
Trevi, he just tanked 4 wounds on a storm shield, Blood Claw.
Oh.
Ugh.
Alright,
And then
Yep,
2
he's
more.
only killed. He took
Minus
3 successful, 1
That's minus
fail.
These Wolfguard Pack leaders
wounds.
do have storm shields. We didn't mention that before. That is a big freaking deal.
That's 4 less attacks.
I
4
guess.
less.
I mean, at the
That's
end of the
so
day,
much.
that might mean that that Lord Solar's not that worried about that stooping dive, because he's probably gonna have to fight these guys
Okay.
anyway. That does make
This
them.
way.
That was it. 3. He lost 3 guys. That
Oh,
was it.
man. Well, that is unfortunate.
Okay, so your
Ugh.
librarian can't fight.
And now they lose their charging bonus. Their strength 4 bikes.
Unless I can. Oh, did you?
I think they're 6 all the time. They just lose the reroll to wound.
I based him.
I think aren't they plus at the charge?
Yeah,
the
and,
lance?
they're base strength 5 anyway. I
But then
think.
these
Let's
two-
take a look. See.
I can still activate. Well, I can't.
Base strength 5. But yep,
this
let's
one
go
over
to the
here?
Warhammerpedia. See what we got. I think they're
regular boys
plus on the charge, or maybe you're right.
Yeah, this Bertus Praetors with the Interceptor Lance.
What?
It's a +1 strength, so
Yep.
they are strength 6, and then they reroll failed wound rolls on a turn in which they made a
3,
successful
6.
charge.
So they are okay. That's still not bad.
3, 5 up.
And they're what? -2,
And they're -3
3.
for D3 damage.
1 wound down to 3.
And
Oh, the company commander is getting hit.
the attack.
Oh, I forgot about that little fella.
Hits.
2 saves.
Torin, the L buildings are just about the right size. They might be a little tall, but typically
fail both.
the height of L's doesn't make a big difference. But a 12 by 12 is usually the height of L's that you'll see in almost any competitive
Okay,
event.
0 CP. You get 1 CP.
Correct. So, Trevi, what do you think? Could that have gone better or worse?
Yeah, it certainly could have gone better. I think both Lord Solar and I think, may have forgotten a little bit about the Storm Shield on that Wolfguard leader, the pack leader. And unfortunately for Lord Solar, I don't think that he can afford these Virtus Praetors to stay in melee. Because if they do, they're going to get killed by some Wolfen next turn. Or at least they're going to
Wolfen are definitely going to
be
beeline.
forced to make some sick and vulnerable saves.
Spending 4 CP and putting yourself at that kind of disadvantage is tough, because it's a Hail Mary. If it succeeds, awesome. If it doesn't, then you got 500 points of dick in the wind.
Yep. Going back to Ben Starkey's question while these
One,
guys
two
work out
possible-
at the end of their
two
turn
possible
here.
3.
Um,
So I can fight back with these 3 guardsmen.
There's actually an immense number of Deathwatch in these pods. So the
And
chances
5
of dodging
packs.
Deathwatch, Dylan Holmes, is pretty low. We did make the
On
announcement
Dwarf.
last week that we would be allowing the new Deathwatch rules, even if your pod begins before the White Dwarf comes out, because they are effectively public knowledge at this point. We have a couple changes. They do
Hey.
use the updated Doctrine rules.
That did not.
But
how did I kill,
if
like,
you have
3
a
blood
stratagem
pools
besides
in full
Adeptus
charge?
strategy
Ow.
that is written differently
yeah.
in the Deathwatch supplement, then you will still use whatever is printed in the Deathwatch.
You get.
Well, I've
And
got
a lot of
to
people, I think, are
Speaking
gonna
of
do
Death
that.
Watch,
test on that guard
You should-
card.
so good.
Ugh.
Oh my god,
7.
so good.
They
Yeah.
are not within 6 of the.
If you guys
I think
haven't
it's
played
6
against
inches is the
Death Watch
bubble.
yet, or know what all the little shenanigans they do, oh, that is a true privilege to play against. They are so much fun,
So,
so much
It's just a
flavor.
normal leadership. 'Cause they
It's
don't
so
get
good.
bonuses from
It's so
studies.
good because the mixed squad
So,
ability, which I know they always
Their
had,
leadership
but
7.
having a bike, a
Choose
Terminator,
one more
and
run.
just a regular Space Marine is absolutely brutal to try to
Blood
shoot
pools
against
fail,
when they
they
have that
lost.
many storm shields.
Yep,
So many
so
cool,
they-
fun abilities with the
so
bolters.
they're good.
Yeah, 100%. They,
Okay, so I guess you get kill 1, hold 1.
yeah, the new rules, the Doctrines especially, those
I'll
bolters are
need
going to
to
be
get the bonus
powerhouses. I think,
on 3
I mean,
now.
I'm kind of interested to try out a Deathwatch army now that we're playing TTS and I can play any army I
assuming you
want.
get,
Maybe
like,
give it a
behind
shot in a
enemy
couple
lines on
games.
recon.
I almost started
Yeah,
with
right?
Deathwatch actually when I started back in June. I almost picked him up as my first faction.
So
You
my
think about Space
turn-
Marines, they can play any army you want.
They might be, yeah. And Deathwatch, especially, they're the Special Forces Space Marines. There's the kick down your door and
Yeah.
clear corners kind of guys. Oh man, those the
I
aesthetics.
based
are
on what
super
I've
cool.
seen, based on what I've seen
These
at Death
three-
Watch, I definitely foresee them coming out of this quarantine as pretty strong into the meta.
Yeah,
Because they
and
just are the best of
es-
everything.
especially as a backbone for Astartes
What the
Soup,
invulnerable
which
says
is
for
a
my
super
turn.
cool
System's
list
got
archetype
5
to
up.
start with. And
This one-
now
does
that
this
you
one
have
have an
Death
invuln?
Watch and all of these, this mobile teleporting sub faction to support it, oh my
this one?
god, is it going to be powerful?
So he doesn't have a.
The mobile teleporting is absurd. Like
I'm gonna-
think about it. You're
This
jumping
Gladius.
blobs of bikes,
Right.
Terminators, and Space Marines with special bolters around the board,
There.
messing with your opponent. It's so good. I mean, it is I consider a high skill army to
So
play.
your character board
You don't want to make
progresses.
mistakes, but I mean, being able to practice it on TTS before the ITC season kicks back up again.
Going to
prime.
Okay,
Jet
so we're
Bike
back into Lord
Captain.
Solar's turn here.
Here we go.
What do you
What was the
think
score?
of this move? Yeah.
Well,
can check
should
the
we
score.
look at the score?
Oh, my game's-
You just have to shoot. You just have to waste it. Oh
Um,
yeah, because you can heroic link.
yeah, so it looks like
I'll just
Seabiscuit did
accept
manage
the
his
die,
bonus
murder
there.
bang.
So we have
The
kill hold
Loris
bonus,
is going to move up. Is
and we're at
Good. I
10
like it.
points because thanks to that double on behind enemy lines.
mean,
To
every
just
once.
2 for Lord Solar, but Lord Solar is a round down right now.
he's going to shuffle over.
I imagine we're going to see that
He's
change
basically
pretty
within
quickly.
6 of Valoris.
Well,
Let's
the
talk about
interesting
this
thing you're
Gladius
seeing.
draft tank.
These two.
What's this guy
What
doing?
they
Are going to shunt out.
are they good in close combat?
Valoris.
Question mark.
They are
Let's
not.
see how
They
tough
are
Wolf
they are
are.
tanks.
Do they
obliterate.
Do they charge
little
Wolfen?
known-
Question mark.
Little known fact: tanks do not, in fact, carry melee weapons.
There was an infantry squad over here that I forgot to
Unless
move
you're
out.
guard tanks, you
There's
have
no
the
free-
trade.
And that's your guard tanks, and then you just run them over. But if you
Yeah,
bring the floaty
guard
tanks,
guard tanks surprisingly pretty good in close combat.
Yeah.
My Manticle's gonna
This is
stay
interesting.
still,
I
but
don't
Strikers
know. I think it kind of
don't
goes
really
back to
care
what we
about
were
them
discussing
because
last
they
turn,
just
where I
give
think
me a
he's
kill.
aware that we're on
Hard
turn
to
3,
move, so
he's gotta start
and he
moving.
needs.
team
He's
comp.
got to start moving these tanks
He's
forward
something
because
about-
you don't want to be moving
Yeah.
tanks 60 inches across the board to hit an objective.
Yep.
I
And
think he
listening-
sees.
Go ahead.
No psychic, so I'm gonna go on.
Oh, I was
shooting.
just no, go for it. I was just kind of rambling.
I'm gonna shoot.
So listening to the player commentary
Oh
here,
dear.
he wanted to
Right, so I
get
can
up
only shoot at
close to
these
these
3 characters.
characters
If I try and shoot at
so
murder
that this
panels,
Gladius
something
grav
very
tank can try to
closer.
start picking them off.
I'm
Downside
gonna
is that
put
you open
my
yourself
main
up to
gun
heroic
using-
intervention there.
So this
I don't
one
know if he's within
doesn't
6
have
inches of
any
Ragnar.
Correct.
If he is,
You know,
This one doesn't have any.
he's
And
also
the
within
one
6
downside
inches
of
of this Wolfen squad. And we do have 2 CP on the Space Wolf side.
Oh.
I wonder if we see another player
Something
get
to-
got by the 6-inch heroic intervention that any Space Wolves model can do.
Trevi,
Does
correct
one
me if
have
I'm
a main
wrong.
gun?
It seems like this kind of play
Or is
is a
it
Hail
just
Mary.
free
This is
upsave?
it. He's gonna. I have to be able to kill these Space Wolves this turn, or
Yeah, but does he
'cause I-
need to though?
Main gun's
I don't
gonna
think
try
he
and black
needed
him.
to do
I
this.
would-
This feels like a
Smaller
turn
guns
too
would be-
early.
to the other room priest.
I would be conservative a little bit more on this turn. I don't think
So
I'd
the
go
main
in
gun
for
is
all
gonna
in,
use
but this
team
is he either
profile.
causes the damage he needs
Two
to,
shots
or
hitting on
Murder
twos.
Dreadnought is charging a tank next turn.
Murder Dreadnought
Like,
is 100% charging a tank or a
Yeah.
shield
2
captain.
wounds,
Not that he
strength
wants to
9.
fight a shield captain.
So
He'd rather
it's
fight a
dead.
tank, I think.
It's
But
3+D3
I
damage.
feel like Murder Dreadnought would rather fight anything, just as long as it's in close combat.
okay, so it looks like he's laser beamed one rune priest down. That's
then
good.
it's smaller gun into the other room priest.
Yeah, but he only has what, 3
Single
rune
one.
priests? Is that right?
There's only 3 rune priests. Yeah.
Rerolling the
But he did get a headhunter point.
6 hits.
Ben
wounding
Starkey,
on
I do think it
3s.
is the janitorial play. I'm just not
Rerolling the
sure
ones.
if it's 100% the correct play.
That is
But he is trying to
5
clean
at
up
minus
the.
2,
He's
but
trying
you
to
get
clean the
cover.
filth out of this ruin right now.
So 4 ups.
It smells like wet dog in there. He's got to clean it up.
Oh, wet dog.
Is it 5?
Or
Yeah,
Space
fine.
See if he
Wolves.
can pick up a second rune priest here.
Takes 3.
Leaves him on 1. Maybe we do see a charge and try to kill that guy.
The shield captain is going to shoot everything.
Sometimes
at
you have
the
to.
room
Yeah,
priest.
no, it looks like we're just going to try to pick him off with the shield captain's Hurricane Bolter.
Yep.
So he is hitting on 2s.
Like I said, this is that kind of tunnel
Rerolling
vision
the
thing. I
ones.
mean,
Yeah.
he's pouring all these shots into that one thing, and he has
Wounding
2
on
squads of
4s.
Wolfen.
2 squads of Wolfen. And one of
That
them,
is
That
unless he
Yeah,
wipes out
that's
this
8
Wolfen
to
squad by
90.
Trajan, is going to be in melee this turn. I think,
Correct.
I mean, maybe he's expecting Trajan to get in there, like he can shoot it down low enough so that Trajan can kill it, but 3+ invulnerable saves, man.
he's dead.
Those are pretty good against
Yeah.
Guardian axes.
Yep.
His first Caladius is going to shoot at.
He's got no CP
Well,
left.
there's one on one wound.
I mean,
This
this
first
is
guy
it.
is
This
gonna
is
shoot at the Wolfen.
I think this is going to
Yeah.
be. He's
We're
got to
gonna start
cause as
smaller
much
gun.
damage as he can.
Now, I don't hate this play if you send one
Hang
Caladius
on.
in.
I'm going to use.
But putting these other 2 so far
Yeah.
forward so that they could potentially
'cause
be
you've got the
touched by these
extra
Wolfen
stupid
next
from being
turn
out.
feels very
Hitting
aggressive.
on 2s.
It
Wounding
feels
on 4s,
unnecessarily
this means.
aggressive.
Yeah, I
Rerolling
agree.
the ones.
I think this is kind of a. You didn't have to go for the Hail Mary on turn. You know, I think you
I
could have
forgot
just
to use
done
reroll
one,
ability
played it
again.
conservative, gone for the shots.
Yeah.
Um,
That said, I mean, Lord Solar, I think, is a better
So
Custodes player than
4
I am, so
wounds
we'll see if it
on
works
the
out for
Wolfen,
him.
minus
I
2.
don't know if he's made
he's definitely
this kind of play before.
a much better player than I am.
Ben Starkey, he's pulling out the ammonia when all he asked
Go
for was
through and it's
Pine
just 1
Sol.
Simple
One
green.
wounded and it's just-
Simple
Yeah,
green.
he's absolutely going to bleach down this ruin. It looks like the
main gun.
Wolfen
Now
has
shoot,
started
just
with
hitting on
4
twos again.
consecutive invulnerable saves passed. So
Rerolling them
not
ones.
great
Yep.
for Lord Solar.
Nope. He
Yeah.
did the exact same thing with his blood claw sergeant.
Rerolling
He's
the
just
ones.
Yeah, just he's fine. He'll take it
Just
off.
3.
well, that's the thing. You know, when you play Custodes and you face against armies like this, where you do have really good weapons, but they're only a few shots or swings. If your opponent makes those 3-up saves, you're just like, cool, man,
Kinda
this
need
was
to kill
super exciting.
Well, at least one of them.
Statistically, you
yeah,
should have
my
died a
other
long
Caladius
time
Looks
ago.
like they've saved 3 from
I mean,
the
you can't
main
see the
cannon
other
of the
ones,
same
it has to shoot
Caladius.
at, that's all.
This is quickly going south for the Custodes player.
According to
Maybe he
Hitting on
foresaw this turn happening and just went screw
Rerolling
it.
the
You know?
Let's just rip this band-aid off real quick. They're going to take 9
Yeah.
damage for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, my
Rolling the
opinion of
one.
Wolfen is quickly changing. I kind
That's
of
5 wounds.
Really?
in the
Did you
past.
not like them?
Yeah, I mean they're just
He's a
kind of
Wolfen, yeah.
derpy. They're derpy loincloth man who just try to roll, long charges. But so far they just
Okay,
take
it's just 1 damage each.
entire armies worth of shooting and don't die.
Post a YouTube video about
So
this and
one-
watch the comment section.
Wounded
Space
one
Wolf
dies now.
players are very adamant.
Yeah.
I
I'm gonna do
prefer
its big
Wolfen
gun.
over Thunderwolves. I think Wolfen are they're more
Hitting on
resilient.
2s.
And that's the thing. They're just more resilient.
They're infantry. That's a
Okay.
big. That's a big
Yep.
freaking deal. That keyword is worth so
What is
much.
Rerolling the 1.
Correct.
This is the big
The
gun.
fact that
from
they can
this
hide
I think they
inside
have-
ruins is so enormous.
That is
Huge.
4
Yep.
wounds minus
They're
3.
fast. They're fast as shit. They're 7 inches with an advance. They're
Yeah,
they're
man.
quick.
Let's calm
I
down.
did the smaller gun.
That's pretty slow. But
No, it's not.
Yeah,
A Centurion is slow.
2
A
damage
Centurion
each.
is slow. 7
Centurions
inches
are almost as
or-
fast as Wolfen when you bring Laspistol in there. Okay, we are starting to take some out.
God.
No, two DPRs made by this Wolfen.
One.
Just kidding.
That's 1 wound.
Yep.
We've done
And
1 wound
there we
with
go.
2 accelerator cannon.
I'm
shots.
going to then.
That's
I have to
frustrating.
go eat dinner now.
So
Yeah,
frustrating.
I mean, maybe he's willing to blow his moment shackle here for for Trajan to fight twice into these guys and just try to kill
I have
him.
to go eat dinner now, so
Games get progressively harder when you're unable to cause wounds.
probably about
Fun
20
fact.
minutes.
I mean, we kind of saw it last round with the blood claws that were in your opponent's deployment zone that are still alive. Like, I think I don't want to forget this, but behind those custody bikes are still 2 blood claws.
We should mention both of these blood claw units are alive, and the second unit just killed a company commander as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ben Starkey. It feels like he definitely wanted to play KG one more turn. We'll see how it goes.
Guardsman squad.
Trajan Valorous does have a 3+
and my
vulnerable
characters.
save, so he might be able to hold
These
up
two
this Wolfen
characters.
unit. If he just rolls the same that they did, he might be able to hold them up for the turn that he needs.
Oh, okay.
But we'll see how it goes.
Okay.
Yeah, I have to see it.
I mean, you hope he does, but at this point, I mean, you were looking to cause a lot more damage than what you did.
But based on his shooting last turn, he killed 4 Wolfen with 3 Caladius. And this turn he killed 1 Wolfen with 2 Caladius. You can't really expect much more than that, I think.
Yeah. It's like it's a low shot, high damage army, but if your opponent makes some saves, not much you can do about it.
Yeah. So it's going to come down to Trajan's charge. It looks like a 6-inch charge, or maybe a 5. If he fails it, it's real bad. If he's successful and the Wolfen refuse to die, continue to refuse to die, it's gonna be real bad. But if he's able to kill enough of them and then hold them up for a turn, I think we could see a game here for sure.
You're gonna see Ragnar and a Murder Dreadnought next turn.
I would love to see this measurement of Ragnar into this Caladius. If we are within 6 inches, that could be very bad.
Heroic level.
It could be super bad. Because we're at least going to see this Wolf Priest probably intervene as well in the center here.
I mean, I do believe the Space Wolf Codex does actually mention, do not forget heroic intervention. Like, it literally says it as one of their special rules. Like, please, when you play this army, do not forget that they are so good.
It should say on the back cover, so you don't have to buy the book to read it. Everyone who plays into this army, please don't forget that these guys will heroically intervene from the other table. Absolutely get you.
It's like when GW released the Basilisk in, like, what was it, 6th edition, where it had a 240-inch range, and you're just like, okay,
it still does,
just so players truly understand like what it does. It shoots to the board next to you.
Yeah. Have you ever played a game large enough that the Basilisk's maximum range has come into play?
Yes, 2004 Games Day Atlanta. GW had a 70,000 point.
Colin, I have some bad news. Ragnar is 5.6 inches away from this Caladius craft tank. I wonder if Lord
Rip.
Solar forgot he was there.
Rip. Press F in chat.
Oh no! Is Murderfang also within 6 inches of the shield captain? No way.
Please stop! I can only get so erect. Please stop.
How does Seabiscuit keep doing this? He just lulls his opponent into a false sense of security. Like, don't worry, man. It's fine. You can come fight me. We'll fight in the middle. Nothing bad will happen.
When your opponent rolls so poorly, you start getting frustrated and you start making mistakes. I mean, like, as Lord Solar is just looking at this being like, cool, so my army's falling apart and everything's going wrong, and then the Spatial player is like, hey, guess what? There's more, and he just Billy Mazes you.
Yeah, it looks like Andy Patton, Andy Patton, also known as Seabiscuit, is in the chat. Thanks for joining us. Looks like Lord Solar has taken a brief intermission. So it's good. We're good at vamping, so we can talk about whatever at this point.
Us ramble? When does that ever happen?
Yeah. We definitely haven't been doing that all game.
No.
But and I guess we can bring Seabiscuit on here if he's still in the Discord.
Hey.
We can just go.
Tell us your thoughts. The wonders of modern technology.
Yeah. Yeah, Seabiscuit, are you in the voice chat still?
Yeah, I'm here.
Sweet. Yeah, do you want to give us a rundown on where your thoughts are at on this game so far?
Sure. I cannot hear your co-caster. He's not in Discord.
Oh yeah, Colin has left our. There he is.
No, I'm here.
Welcome
I'm here.
back.
Guys, I'm here.
Hey, what's up, man? So, I don't know if he has a headset on and can or cannot hear, but I'm not worried about these bikes that are already locked in combat.
Yep.
Because they don't get the bonus of strength or reroll wounds or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And they're striking last because they're still in the armor of rust.
Right.
I think he made a mistake with his captain, his Murder Fang, and looks like just.
Well, have we rolled
wolf
charges
race?
yet? We haven't, right?
No, he's Manticore and his
Oh,
characters and this sergeant's pistol.
So he could declare a charge with the bike captain around the back of the wolf lord, or
That
the
is
wolf guard
correct.
battle leader, and then deny that murder fang intervention. It does
That's
look
correct.
like he has made a very big mistake and left Ragnar Blackmane in.
Yeah, I
range
was liking that.
Yeah. What do you think about this Caladius play? I mean, he picked up the 2 rune priests, but it feels very aggressive. And if he fails this charge with Trajan, you're just going to intervene with the Wolfen into it, right?
I don't have CP anymore.
Oh, are you out? Oh, okay.
I
Oh,
spent
okay.
2 for transhuman to save these Wolfen, and
Gotcha.
lost 2
Well,
with the
at least they're
5.
alive, so that's good.
Yeah. I've got 6 in that squad and like 6 in the other squad still. So.
But I mean, Ragnar by himself is gonna.
He should
beat
be
up
able to
on
pick
this-
that tank up.
on this
If he doesn't
tank.
pick the tank up, then it's gonna be close.
Yeah, at least him plus the wolf priest, right, can have a pretty good
Correct.
chance of knocking it off.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be able to get the company commander in the back.
For sure.
That's gonna give me a CP,
Oh,
and
good call.
because I'm choosing when I'm doing it, because heroic intervention is not a charge,
Right.
I'll be able to get Savage Fury on one of my characters here.
Probably Ragnar, I imagine.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
And
then
next
he's gonna-
turn is
he's gonna
Assault
kick the
Doctrine.
crap out of that tank for sure.
Oh yeah. And I'm hoping my Wolfguard battle leader doesn't die to the shield captain, as the reroll ones may
You
be
just gotta keep
necessary.
hoping those storm shields stay strong, right?
Yeah, the one blood claw.
I know, just eating half of a Virtus Praetor unit's attacks. Like, whatever, man.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was expecting to kill more than 3.
Yeah,
but he did save the commander.
it's funny.
so-
You look at the mini Marines, right? And you're like, yeah, I'm gonna pick these guys up with my -3. But then that one guy with the storm shield just totally throws off the math. You know, right?
Yeah. It's a 2-point upgrade.
Yeah, like, always take it, ladies and gentlemen in the chat. If you can take a storm shield and you're not, you're doing it wrong.
That is correct. Nah, I was not expecting the Graph tank to come up so close.
Yeah. Yeah, and these two on the objective in front of the Wolfen feel very close as well. It seems like he wanted one more turn of sitting back and not getting charged, but
I
he's gonna
think
get charged now.
Now, next turn I'm not going to be getting recon, I don't think. Because I'm going to have to pull
'Cause
my
everybody's
Wolfen
pushing
out
forward.
of that deployment zone. Yeah.
Yeah.
It just depends on, I may have to move this Wolf Priest out
Mm-hmm.
back into deployment 1, because I don't think I need much from him right now.
Yep.
But it's going to be my first game where Murderfang actually gets into close combat. My very first one.
Yeah, he's a beast in combat. Having those lightning claws effectively to reroll wounds is a big old deal.
And it's not just that, it's lightning claws that deal 3 damage.
Right? Yeah, they're not any lightning claws. They're lightning claws on a dreadnought for sure. Yeah, but it is. He is going to line back this whole flank, right? Because even if the shield captain bounces out of range of this intervention, pretty good chance Murderfang gets into either the Scrap tank or these Virtus Praetors and starts chopping them up.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
So, and to be honest, I've got to kill the bikes because that's all 4 Gangbusters points.
Yep. Yeah, you're kind of, but that stooping dive, I think, maybe felt a little aggressive, and it puts him in a position to get charged at this point. He might have needed to
100%.
just pull back and then shoot at the blood claws instead of staying in melee.
Not even just that. I think the swooping dive was fine. He has fly, so he could have just come out and shot something.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But now he's staying next to these Wolfen. The Wolfen could potentially touch him. Any of these characters could potentially touch him. If he just jumps back 3 inches back into the forest and just blasts the blood closet with his hurricane bolters, I mean, that seems like a fine play to me.
They're not in cover right now.
Right.
So die to the hurricane bolters
Yeah.
pretty easy. But he's not picking up his kills. So if he kills nothing in the charge phase, which I'm hoping.
Getting your Storm Shield dice ready.
Yep. I mean, if he kills anything, it's probably going to be these blood claws.
Mm-hmm.
In with the bikes. But even then, it's going to be close.
Yeah.
But if he does not do that, then I believe I get kill more.
Yeah. And now there's no more Storm Shields left in that unit, right? So he's hoping he can knock the last 2 wounds off the Rune Priest and kill the Blood Claws for his Butchers.
Well, he's already got Butchers.
You're right. He killed all the characters. Yeah.
Well,
oh, no, he wants Headhunters.
It depends. It depends if he Headhunters or not.
Yeah, I imagine you'd Headhunter those guys. Or at least two,
probably.
or at least, at least 1 or 2. But it definitely feels like you put the screws to him, and I think he felt like he was behind enough that, in my opinion, I think the Custodes have gone on the offensive 1 turn too early. But we'll see how it goes.
Okay, I'm back. I'm sorry.
It's possible. I mean, I could just fail a bunch of saves and then he gets rewarded for it. So
yeah, maybe these Wolfen's luck turns around and Trajan Flores wipes him out with a Moment Shackle or something, and that could swing things pretty hard for sure.
Yeah, I do like the -2 to hit that I've got on his bikes right now.
Yeah, between Hallucination and Tempest Wrath.
Yeah. Normally the combo I do with Tenebra's Curse with Jaw, but it doesn't work on those or things with
right.
So entirely.
Yeah. But Ninja Wolf Priest, man, or Rune Priest, he's getting it done.
He is.
He's getting in there, stuck in combat. He's giving people minuses to hit. he's
gonna kill some bikes.
What a boss that guy is. Every game. He's so cool.
Yeah, he killed like 500 points of stuff last game.
Yeah. We had an ongoing count during the stream of how many things that guy killed. He killed an entire Loyal 32.
Yeah, plus the Astropath.
Yeah, and he killed the Astropath, which was good because we were so mad that the Astropath could actually deny him and was doing it successfully.
Yeah, he denied temporal quota twice.
Yeah. So when that guy got into the Astropath in that game and killed him, we had a little celebration. Friggin' 15-point psychers, get out of here. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. This is definitely going to be the swing turn. I'm excited to see how it goes for sure.
So I'm just wondering what his Manticore is going to shoot at. Last turn he shot at a drop pod in the back and took 3 wounds off of it.
Oh, it was a drop pod.
See, I told you he was going to shoot the drop pods. He can't shoot at the guys in the -1 bubble. He doesn't hit anything.
But shooting at a drop pod is so brutal.
Yeah, I mean, I think you got to go into the Wolfen at this point, right? Like you're on.
You
have to get
to.
him dead right now.
They don't want to hit right now. So.
Right.
Yeah, but they do have transhuman.
That's true. So maybe he goes into the back squad.
If it were me, I'd probably go into the back squad.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not like, they're both going to be in charge range next turn because this tank is here. So any dead Wolfen is a good Wolfen at this point.
Yeah. So I almost Ragnar to kill this damn grav tank, but I do. Because
that's what we're waiting on. What is Ragnar going to kill?
He's going to kill something. And I played a test game. I had a buddy play against me with Lord Solar's list. And Ragnar had 34 hits on the charge against his bikes.
Oh my God.
And like 6 of them auto wounded, and then
just roll 6s, man.
Wounded with 24 or more.
Yeah. Oh my!
Just roll 6s. Yeah. The games are a lot easier if you just roll 6s.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I
definitely.
mean, his biggest. It seems like his biggest downside is he caps at that strength 6. So going into toughness 7, he's just fishing for 5s. But at the same time, he has so many of them that you only need to get 7 through to kill this thing. and
Yeah,
he's
so
he's
I'm
gonna hit it
really-
15 or 17 times.
Yeah, hoping that my our battle leader stays alive, because that reroll ones is going to be pretty necessary, I think. Once.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, reroll the tactical position for reroll the wound.
Yeah. I did not know if you noticed what I took on the Wolfguard battle leader. But right now he's got the Iron Fang of Ammongrund. Amrangul. It's a power axe.
Okay.
But if I wound on a 6, it deals D3 mortals instead of D3 damage.
Ooh, that's solid.
And
So-
kind of back to the original argument, just roll sixes, man.
Yeah,
The
just roll
game's a lot
sixes.
easier. Roll sixes.
Yeah,
You're good.
and that gets right through his Victor of the Blood games and that plus the 3++, right? He's got a rerollable 3+ invulnerable save, and you're like, I don't care about that. It's just
Pretty
Are
much.
you running any sagas right now?
Yeah, so I've got Saga the Savage on my Wolfguard battle leader, and Saga the Hunter on my Rune Priest and Foes Armor.
yeah.
And-
Can
that's the
you kind of
advantage
give me like a synopsis of what those do if they get success?
Sure. Saga the Savage is if I deal 5 wounds to somebody, or 5 damage to somebody, then someone do that. But it's +1 attack armor, and it stacks with the Wolfen +1 attack.
That sounds real hard to get too, right?
A lot of times I'll have like Worm Splitter on him or something. Just flat 4 damage against vehicles. So, I mean, it's not too bad to get it normally. He's got everything. Hitting on, wounding on 2s or 3s or 1s. So normally I'll
since
clean
the
up
psychic-
Jack or something.
So with the new Psychic Awakening for wolves, are you overly happy? What do you think so far? I mean, obviously you're running them, so you like them.
Definitely.
But I mean,
This, I've been playing a list similar to this before Psychic Awakening, but after Psychic Awakening, getting the Bruce Lee priest and the transhuman strats, and I don't know, it really made this list actually possible.
Yeah.
'Cause I
It
don't
definitely
just get
brought
shot off
Space
the table
Wolves.
with everyone.
yeah, it definitely made Space Wolves definitely a top tier army in comparison to what they were prior to Psychic Awakening.
Yeah, so I've really enjoyed it. Ragnar is a beast and a half. But the big one is that Touch of the Wild for extra hits on 4-up.
But I was going to ask you. So the Armor of Russ, we were kind of talking about it when it was shutting down those the bikes. So it lets them swing, takes away their charge, right? So they swing at just normal, like alternating.
Right, so the wording on it says that they cannot be selected for the fight phase until all other units have been selected for the fight. However, if they have an ability that lets them fight first, which they do when they make their charge with that stratagem, then it takes that ability away, and then they just fight as normal. So because they charged that round,
Was he? That's so good. Was he fully aware of the Armor of Russ, or did that kind of catch him by surprise a little bit?
I told Rand he knew, and I think he realized the interaction that it had with his always strike first, though.
That's so good. So frustrating to play against.
And so, like right now, they won't be able to be activated until I've swung really everything.
Yeah, and every one of those guys you pick off is a big swath of attack. So even if these guys can knock one bike out of the sky, that's going to be a big deal.
Still got a power piece in here somewhere.
And I have to admit, I was watching you make your saves.
He's over fighting the Guardsman on the other side, though, right?
Yeah, that might hurt.
You might not be able to reach a Virtus Praetor.
I was watching you make your Storm Shield saves on the when the bikes countercharged you, and you made, was it 4 out of 5 on the Storm Shield? We were just like, oh god, that is so brutal. He really needed to wipe that unit and then free him up for his turn.
Well, the thing is, one thing he didn't realize, and I don't know if this was a mistake or planned by him, but those bikes have fly. So charging in on my turn was still a pretty good play because he could just move them out and shoot what was left afterward and not be hindered at all. He wouldn't be able to charge, but he'd be able to still shoot all of his hurricane bolters and everything.
That's kind of the point he's at, though, where he has to have that unit shoot and then charge something else.
Yeah.
Like, you kind of want to maximize your damage with it. And the ability to charge is brutal. Like, because you're like, oh, cool. It's a lot of attacks I'm not going to get on my turn. And it's putting you in a position where you're going to be able to punch back.
I have to imagine that he wants to leverage those power weapons to knock these guys out instead of relying on the hurricane bolters. And, if you just make good saves and you don't die. But that's definitely the safer play because they're kind of in danger right now, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's going to end up killing this squad, but
oh, for sure. But the issue is that if you get, you get some heroic interventions on these characters, if you knock the Caladius out, and can get those Wolfen up closer, like if these guys get charged by Ragnar and Wolfen, like there's no way that they survive the turn. They gonna die.
So yeah, I'm actually looking up the rules for heroic intervention right now.
Should be in the Space Wolves Codex. We were talking about that.
Yeah. Now I'm thinking I may be able to do something cheeky here, but I gotta double check.
You got time.
Yeah, what are you trying to do? Give us your
my
secrets
Rune
here.
Priest and Phobos armor
Mhm.
might be able to heroically intervene into the grab tank.
So yeah, I think so. I think he does have to end closer to the Virtus Praetors, I think, though.
Yeah, it was.
Is he not based by the guy he's fighting?
He is not. He couldn't
okay.
get based.
He couldn't quite get there. Yeah.
No.
So, could we discuss that 12-inch charge you made turn 1 with your blood claw?
Easy game, man.
You needed a 12-inch charge to actually hit him, and you got it right off the bat.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, that worked. I think I rolled a 6 and a 1, and then re-rolled the 1 into a 6.
Yeah, you do have to end the heroic intervention closer to the Virtus Praetor, so he wouldn't. I don't think that there's a position where he could get closer to the Caladius and be, whatever, 1 mil away from a Virtus Praetor or whatever.
I have returned.
Hey, what's up,
He's
man?
back.
Welcome back. We've been talking crap about you.
Only good things.
Yeah. No, this has been a sick game. I'm excited to see how it ends up.
My commander will issue the orders to my infantry squad to fix bayonets.
Okay.
I mean, how many of things do? Oh, I can't quite lie out because there's still the librarian. 5 attacks.
Okay. You want to head back over to
2 hits.
Yep.
And
well, the
those
Space
wounds.
Wolf players seem pretty happy there.
Ooh, you killed
Yeah,
him.
I think he's super happy that on this aggressive play from Lord
This
Solar
one's so I can
here.
actually shoot them.
I didn't hear any salty sighs, which is synonymous with the
Then
game not going well for you.
pistol.
So I'm pretty sure he's in a good situation right now.
We just saw we
Hey.
saw a fixed bayonets from this company
1, 2,
commander
3,
into
4,
these
5.
this
So
infantry
what are they
squad.
like in combat?
I think technically a little late for that, but
the
I
Wolfen?
guess the players are letting it go.
Or if I charge
yeah.
them?
And it killed a
They
blood cloth.
kill whatever they charge.
Yep.
Because I'm thinking about charging them.
You know, the people are very
That's
quick to scoff at guard. I'm like, guard,
You gotta
listen,
let
They
them
get
attack.
3
roll the
hit
dice.
base.
Roll the
Yeah.
dice, man.
Yeah, I
You'd be
played-
surprised.
Man,
Or
at
B.
least they're
Then
not.
they'll be-
they might. Are they Catachan? I imagine they're Catachan.
Yeah, and then
on
they
this list,
get,
right? Feels like
I
it.
assume they are. Yeah.
And
so
that
be
strength
hitting
4 is a
threes.
big frickin' deal. And when they're attacking
Yeah.
you
Wounding
22
on- because they're
times per
strength
unit,
10, that would be wounding on 2s. And I
Yeah,
don't
you
trust
just
my
wanna-
strength in
you
wrong
just
save.
want
So
it's
Yep.
so many
I'm going to
attacks.
shoot Valoris. Actually.
So we are back.
guard close combat, Catagen.
I'm going to shoot
Yeah,
my Manticore.
yeah.
The heavy bolter's going
We
to
are
go
back
into
in the game.
blood
Everybody in the
claws.
chat, thanks everybody for sticking with
And
us
the
during our
missile
little
is gonna go
downtime there
to
for
Wolfen.
Lord Solar to
It's going to go into those.
get some grub in them.
I'm going to start with the heavy bolter because
Ooh.
And we're back in the game.
nervous about the missile.
I got a
so
coffee
heavy bolter
refill.
force.
Trevor, you good? You got enough
One-
drinks?
I'm good. I'm all drunked up.
was one there.
Oh.
So wouldn't want to
You getting White Claw wasted today?
some good dice for this missile.
I'll need all my wits about me when I play.
This
John
is the
later.
Wolfen with the missile. Ooh, 10 shots.
So what is John playing?
So he has an interesting.
Do you want to
list.
re-roll the 6?
Of course he does.
He's playing an Asardi
It's
soup
very
list.
tempting. It's a very tempting
With
offer.
at least if he's playing something similar to what he did. I played him last week.
So 3
He's
hits.
playing an
Just
Iron Hands
three.
Brigade in Impulsors.
Wounding
Just a
on
bunch of
4
intercessors
to
in
become
Impulsors.
Transhuman.
So it looks like this
Take
Manticore,
2
just
wounds.
a quick interrupt here. The Manticore did fire into the closest Wolfen that were transhuman, so he was rolling on 4s. Only got 2 through.
Made him
In
both.
both invulnerable spaces made.
Yep.
Dolores is gonna shoot them.
Yep. There we go.
Well, there we go.
So that Manticore in
Hits
3
twice.
turns has
He's
caused
winning
a
on
couple
4.
wounds to a drop pod.
Yep, and that's what we
And
got.
nothing.
Yeah,
AP what?
And there it is.
yeah,
With
big.
minus
It's real
1.
tough. That Imperial Guard shooting
Yeah, that's
can be
fine.
good. It's very dicey, but
If
also
I
go
don't
bad.
charge them, then they charge me, and I've got 10 attacks.
Transhuman. Pretty good.
It turns out it's pretty good. It's a pretty good
It's
ability.
I'll just use his moment shackle to fight twice, which is really tempting. You're wounding on 2s. You'll have a 3 up, so.
Yeah. So Lord Solar, considering the charge
that's all
here
my
with-
shooting. So I'm going to
trade
start
you.
with simple charges. I'm going to charge.
You kind of have to,
shield
right? I mean,
captain,
this is, you've seen how everything else has gone for you. You see you're on the ropes. You
Wolf
have to
Priest.
go in and just hope for the best. You know, you
Yeah.
can't do another turn where you
I
kill
will need
one
a
small thing.
4-inch.
You gotta
Right.
try to kill as much as you
I
I
can.
wonder. So
Yeah,
it looks like
Frag
the
shooting.
shield captain declaring a charge on the Wolf Priest. I
Misses.
wonder if he can actually make it so
Shield
that
captain is
Ragnar
going
can't
to go
make it
for
to
the
the
charge.
Caladius with some good
That would be
positioning.
prime.
He
You want to
will get-
deny Ragnar as
he
much
will
as you
get
can.
Come on,
punched
charge
right
him.
in the
Yeah, there we
face
go,
by
9.
Ragnar. But
Let's charge Ragnar.
he's
Oh
got
well.
a
Well, I think
pretty-
next turn
Satisfy
he's
myself
going to
by
get punched in the
killing
face
off
by Murder
And he did-
Dreadnought and
He
Ragnar.
did
So
declare Ragnar as a charge
Um,
target, so if he
do I
does
have
end
any-
up intervening, no, it looks like, oh man, I hope he,
Don't charge
I
and
hope
then
he
just
moved
come in.
outside of 6
My
inches of
tanks to death.
Murder Fang.
I'll charge
We were
with
just
the
measuring
Lord,
that
see if I
in the
kill, like,
in the
3 of
interim,
them, I can probably get away with
and
it.
he was certainly within 6 inches at the start of that charge, and it doesn't look like he moved
If
farther
Lord's
away.
gonna
So
charge
this
the
could
Wolfen,
be going
Oh.
no
very
CG left, so no interruption.
I wonder
I
if
have
he's about
to-
get
Yeah,
got
then you
here.
can't Overwatch because you're.
you are a walking Warhammer encyclopedia. Murder Fang.
Take
Is it
charge.
good in close combat? Question mark.
Yes. It turns out, fun fact: a character
Uh,
dreadnought
then
with two
going to
with 2
try
lightning
charge.
claws is in fact
So
good
it-
at fighting in
We'll
melee.
have a 9-inch charge.
Hits on 2.
Yep.
Strength 12,
Yeah.
neg 3, flat 3, re-rolls wounds,
Mhm.
No.
has a heavy flamer. What is Murder Lust? Which, by the way,
Um,
is my porn star
That's
name.
everything.
now
I'm
on.
going to start
I
with
think
the
that
Lord
gives him
and
additional
use moment
attacks when he
shackle to fight.
charges.
Hold on.
So he's got 6 base
I've got
plus
Murder
Murder
Fang.
Lust.
Yep, I've got.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, he's a little blender, that
I
guy.
believe I got Murder Fang into that.
Yeah. So it looks like we mispositioned on that
Oh, can you
shield
heroic
captain there.
intervene within 6?
Oh
Yep.
no, Lord Solar
Oh no.
asking why his
Okay.
opponent can intervene 6 inches. That is a Space Wolf chapter
because-
tactic there, bud.
By Wolves.
Yep.
Yeah, so Murder Fang.
dear.
6 inches.
Is a
Oh,
tough
dear.
lesson to learn if you haven't played against
Yeah.
Space Wolves yet.
Six of
New
you
meta.
Everybody
Let me tell
gets
you
one.
what.
Everybody gets one where
Gets-
they forget the 6-inch heroic intervention, and then they will remember after that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Get your practice games on TTS
See-
before
yeah.
before ITC opens
Read
back
through
up.
your opponent's chapter tactics for sure. Yeah, it's not even like a super doctrine or anything weird. It's straight up in their chapter tactics rolls.
Yep.
It's gonna go
It also makes them hit on
into-
2s, which is really good.
Actually,
Plus
the
1 to
full
hit.
card
Yep,
battle league
pretty
is
good.
first.
And
Pretty
here
good with
comes Ragnar into the
Thunderhammers.
Caladius.
So you go into the contact.
This could be gross.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah.
I wonder if we could also finagle the Wolf
Maybe
Priest.
this
I
is-
imagine he might have been declared as being based by this shield captain, but might be able to see the Wolf Priest there. Yep, there comes
And that's-
the Wolfguard Mata Leader.
So
my
if
gosh.
I can say
Should be
this
within
is what
6
not to
still.
do when you face Space Wolves, hopefully everyone's taking notes.
Yeah, and we've seen this happen now
So
in
he
2
can
games with
swing it on
Seabiscuit. His
either
opponents have been caught out a little bit by the
The
6-inch heroic
Ragnar
intervention.
is gonna heroic intervene.
Space Wolves, man.
Space Wolves, yeah. Just the insane
die in several
sort of
miserable
critical
ways.
mass of
Yeah.
characters that show up in these Space Wolf lists now. Like, it's almost hard not to be heroically intervened at least once in a game.
If your opponent's smart, you will be heroically intervened.
Right, something's gonna
And
hit
you're
you.
It's
It's a
so
huge
good
base.
because it also gives the Spacewell player such momentum moving their models. Like, oh, here's another free 6-inch, move.
Yep.
Oh, and by the way, they're also going to
guess I'll
swing
start
with a
with
bunch of weapons.
Right. The
yours
Ragnar's
and
about to
kind of-
attack like 17 times.
10 attacks into your Wolfen.
Does his fight twice immediate or at the end of the fight phase?
Yeah. This. I think it. I don't know.
The chat's currently talking about Genestealer Cult. We did see Genestealer Cult win the Quarantine Crutchers tournament.
Oh, at the end of the fight.
That you and I both played in,
How-
Cohen.
All right, he's gonna get.
They didn't do very well, though.
No, they won, right?
What?
How
No.
many
Wasn't that event
Huh?
won by Genestealer Cult?
I've
I don't.
BCP.
I lose interest after my after my first game. I lose.
My
So
BCP
doing
doesn't work right now, but I believe that. I wonder if I can find it on.
Then he gets
online.
one more
I believe
attack
that
with his
Genestealer
knight,
Cult
so
did
he's
win.
hitting on 2s.
All right, here comes
winning
Trajan
on
Valoris
2s.
into the Wolfen. Let's see how these dice.
That's
these
5
dice go.
wounds.
Right.
5 wounds.
Fairly good.
You've still got storm shields. So even if you fail all of these,
Failed one.
damage is going to
Oof.
be
1.
2.
Oh my gosh.
Just
Well,
2 damage.
he's got that moment shackle in
It's
the
just-
bag. Let's see if we kill him. If we
You
kill a
both failed
Wolfen.
weapons.
No,
Oh.
2 5s.
Okay, and his knife attack.
That's so heartbreaking, man.
It's just like
At some point,
adding
you're
salt
like,
over
well,
the wounds.
this is how it's going, I guess.
wounds.
You know, this is the game I'm playing right now. I guess the Wolfen won't die.
And I made my save.
Games like this, you offer to buy your opponent a beer,
I'm gonna go
and
for
you just
Shield
go get a
Captain
beer.
next.
Like, you just have to.
Yeah.
We can only hit the Wolf Priest. I messed up this so badly.
Yeah, Lord
I mean,
Solar.
but
I think
to call-
he's
Hang on,
he's
2,
exclaiming
3
a little bit
rolling.
here that he's made a couple of mistakes. The Virtus Praetor,
No.
Shield Captain,
He's re-rolling.
going into the Wolf Priest, trying to take him out before he gets a swing.
So
Looks like
4
4 wounds go
wounds.
through, and he's got his Rosaria save. See if he makes those. Nope.
Oh!
Okay.
Nope.
All right, be
So
there,
that's
bud.
3d3
Eat alive.
damage.
Yeah, don't roll at once here, Lord Solar. Easy peasy.
he's dead.
Yeah, 6 wounds.
Ganks the crap out of him. Well, that is some small
Then I'm
mercies
based
here.
by Murder Fangs, I can't do anything. I've got no other charges, so I'm going to choose my jetpack.
I don't know if it's battle deciding, though.
Should I
I,
put 2 of them into
They cannot be-
Priest?
They cannot be.
all I want to see is Murder Dreadnought. That's. I'm sorry. I'm just
Okay,
waiting
I'll
on
just
that
sleep in on
big,
that.
beautiful monster just to smash.
Okay, I'll fight from infantry then.
Yeah. Let's see if he can pull down that Shield Captain.
Attack sitting on 4s.
That'll be a
I'm
fight.
fairly
Good fight.
confident. I'm fairly confident he will. But they do have 7
Only
wounds, which is,
5.
he has to get 3 through.
They have a ton of wounds.
So
Just 2
So
wounds.
2. Nice. On to Bloodclaw.
he needs 3 wounds to get through on Murder Dread.
Made a note.
So yeah, you're fighting all of your stuff now.
Yeah, Colin, I'm gonna have to tell you to eat your words here. Menelik
So-
Erickson,
what's up? What
Forces
up?
of the Hive
With
Mind,
these-
3-0 in Quarantine Crusher, with 109
3
battle
and
points,
0 and
took it out. Yeah.
What did he
and,
face?
Not to toot my own horn, second place, Pure Tyranids
Ooh.
by
place did
none
I
other
get?
than Trevi. So we had Tyranids
did,
1 and 2 in probably one of the most competitive individual RTTs that we've seen in a while, because people
Where
were trying to win.
where was
that
I
one.
in the
Where were you?
where was I in the mix?
Last place. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, that's hey.
6
There we go.
guys. Be 4
So,
attacks apiece, so 24
chat-
attacks.
I think Gene Stealer Cult is
Hmm?
doing okay. The new
Keep
ITC
on
is
freeze.
really good for them, for Tyranids in general. I think Tyranids, I don't think they're top 5, but I think they're certainly top half, and maybe even among, maybe top 10
hitting on
factions.
3s,
in the game.
rerolling 1s.
Gene Stealer Cult are one of the hardest armies to play.
Gives you the
I
dual
mean,
ones,
they
Ragnar.
are non-forgiving. You can't make mistakes. You have to have a good matchup. You can't have your opponent know what the word screening is.
2.
I mean, there's so many variables to Gene Stealer Cult winning.
Right. But
Rerolling
they take
ones.
so much board space that in the current ITC, as we see right now, The Space Wolves are just pushing their opponent back into the corner, and even if they lose on attrition,
19.
they max all their secondaries, they grab a bunch of bonus points, and they get this
I'm
huge
gonna
score.
Use his moment
bump.
shackle to gain.
Early on,
If
correct.
After the first
But
one
if your
goes through,
opponent
I'm
knows
gonna
how to play
spend- use
against
his
them,
moment shackle to
it's
regain D3
brutal.
wounds.
It's tough.
I'm
If
just
you
gonna
know the
roll
tricks and
D3
trade of
wounds
what
now.
Gene Stealer Cult can do, you can easily prepare and know what
It'll
to
be
expect.
essentially 8 wounds, which doesn't make a single point of difference. So I'll just roll all of those dice.
Okay.
How many free up invulnerables can I make? Not enough.
Oh no!
I'm gonna
See,
bet
I'm on
yours
death range.
EP to get 1.
I love when you say that. You just go, oh no.
Oh no!
What'd I miss?
Trajan Valoris was just
Consolidate.
killed by the Wolfen. Yeah, so with his moment shackle, he does have to double fight at the end of the fight phase, but a little bit of a little cheeky play here by Lord Solar didn't end up mattering, but you can use moment shackle at any time,
Next up,
and
will
he can
be
use it to regain D3 wounds.
Murder Fang into the shield captain.
So after his first save, he can regain those wounds.
So he's gonna get
That's
2
actually
attacks
pretty
on
awesome.
charge.
Yeah, you can do it during an attack, but
Hitting
I
on.
don't believe that the
You get +1, so still
actually
2s.
that might not work, but it didn't matter.
Correct.
I'm not sure about that rule interacts.
You sound so confident when you give out information, and then you go, wait a second.
Yeah.
Nope, no, I'm wrong. wait, no, stand by.
Yeah, it is interesting because every attack's individual, they're rolled individual, but I don't know if it's meaning that you
twos.
can't do it during a unit's attack step
Rerolling 1.
or not.
Okay, so 7 at -3.
7 free ups, and I can reroll one of these.
Looks like Seabiscuit has chosen to engage the other Caladius with these Wolfen.
I'm gonna reroll that
I
too.
hope that'll let him pile into the other
Right.
Caladius
Into
next
number
turn, so he
2.
doesn't have to charge. But
To
Yeah.
it
1.
feels like he's kind of assuming he's going to kill that, which he might not, in my opinion.
I'm gonna go
Well, so
the Wolfguard.
looking back on secondaries, did he killed 2 things this turn, right?
Who?
Yeah, he's still hitting on 2.
Lord Solar.
Oh yeah, he's killed
Yeah.
many things this turn. He killed
He's
3
killed 2.
individual characters so far.
1 for shock.
So Headhunter's probably max. He's gonna get
Yeah.
Butcher's Bill.
Yeah, I imagine. I wonder if he's going to eat
And actually,
the Blood Claws and the Brune Priest this turn as
One more
well.
from
If
the
they
Wolfen,
flub
so
on
6
the
attacks.
Virtus Praetors, he could just pick
Correct.
those guys up also.
hitting on 2.
I mean, he did do a lot of damage, you know.
Rerolls.
But the question is how do you deal with
he
the
didn't do
counterpunch the
damage.
Wolves
He
are going
didn't
to...
do damage to the parts of the list that matter, though. I don't think killing
No,
those
straight
killing
up.
those librarians was really gonna win him.
that important. Yeah.
Yeah, so winning on 5s.
Murder Dreadnought, I'm calling it right now.
He will
VIP
kill
the
me.
entire game.
So you just need like 1/6 to go through.
So yeah, 3 6s.
Yeah, unfortunately, my
So
dice
he's-
not loading in very quickly. There we go.
Ed,
Oh man,
Um,
yeah, Murder Fang just
Ragnar?
straight up killed that
I'm
That,
gonna do
Dawn Eagle Jetbike.
spending 1 CP.
Oh my god,
That's huge.
dude.
And he had a 3-up
This-
invul
this
save.
game
he must
has-
have failed so many.
Yeah,
Say it again.
easy.
this game has gone south.
For 1.
I actually think he was killed by. I don't think he was killed by Murder Fang. I think he was killed by the Wolfguard battle leader with his
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 10
D3 mortal wound axe there,
+1.
like Seabiscuit was talking about earlier. I wonder.
So
if,
Murder Fang, do you
don't they
Fang
have a
you
6+
throw into
CPR
the,
against mortal wounds? Maybe he
Hitting
just
on
decided that
2s,
wasn't gonna
rerolling
matter.
1s. And
the
4s,
Murder Fang, does he go right into the Praetors?
4 ups.
Nice.
Predators?
Oh yeah, the
If
Virtus
it's
Praetors?
exploding,
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
it's his weapon or.
He just goes right in there and says hello.
No, the exploding is from Touch of the Wild, the one strategy I just used.
He's going to have so many individual
So
units
many
charging
attacks.
next turn.
Yep.
Jeez.
And an interesting
he's a-
combo
he's a
here.
boss man.
The
So
Wolfguard
that'd
battle
be
leader
4,
knocked
5,
out
6
the
extra
shield
hits.
captain, so he was able to spend
So
0 CP to get
17
1
hits.
CP for knowledge of the foe.
Yep.
And then immediately spend that when Ragnar attacked
Strength
to get his
is-
4 up exploding for Touch of the
Strength
Wild.
6. Or
And Ragnar swinging on. Looks like the
Yeah, the
tank, you think?
Caladius.
Wounding
He's
on
gonna try
fives.
to dome that Caladius with him. I feel like in my
Does he
gut,
do it? Does he
doesn't
do it,
quite
though?
kill it,
Early ones.
but we could see how the dice go. Or we will
If he
see
kills
at some
it,
point
that's-
because Tabletop Simulator is refusing to load the dice for me.
So 7
Really?
wounds.
Oh, yeah.
At -2.
How many points is Ragnar? Is he like 160 or something?
120 points.
7
So worth it.
Yes. Oh, damn,
And
those are
those are
some
2
bad.
apiece.
I guess they weren't that bad. Invulnerable
So
saves.
down
Looks like
4.
10 damage on that guy. Leaves him alive.
Oh, only 10.
Only 10 from a 120-point character. But that I
Onto
think
a
that
tank
is the
without a
best.
power fist.
That is the best possible result for
Armor
Lord Solar here
Priest.
because it engages all of these models in melee and they cannot fall back in charge.
Correct.
So they're gonna say we're basically seeing a bunch of Space Marine equivalents fail to kill each other in melee and get stuck into this endless brawl between these two objectives.
The issue is if Murder Fang is able to wipe out the Custodian bikes this turn, I think it's
Well,
not gonna
yeah,
do
in
much.
Seabiscuit's follow-up, yeah, for sure.
5.
Yeah, we have to
If
remember
he's able to get Murder Fang.
this is a lot of damage, but it is all on Lord
I'm
Solar's
gonna choose my
turn.
Guardsman to fight next.
So the Space Wolves are about to have a turn.
You already fought
But that said, because
I was fixed bayonets.
because the Wolfen
you're
In charge, so I wouldn't have.
already
Yeah,
have
you got to swing with them before I got to
are
start
within an
attacking.
inch of the Caladius, they can
Okay.
only
Oh,
pile
yeah.
into these other two Caladius, and I don't think they're
Yes.
all going to get to
I
swing.
don't think it's your turn because of all the
He's
heroic
hurting some.
interventions.
He's losing some.
What was that?
He's losing some of his attacks in that.
I think it's your turn because of all the heroic interventions.
So what I'm gonna do? Did you base this guy?
I based that guy.
Okay. He's gonna swing into the guard squad.
Then the other 3 are all going to go into my Toadies, I'm assuming.
Yeah, that's all I can go into. I think.
He's got 3 attacks now.
Hitting on 4s, so 1 hit. 1 dead dude.
1 step up.
No, it's a power fist.
It's a power fist. Okay, so yeah, just 1 dead dude.
Yeah, it looks like the Power
Um,
Fist in the
yep.
Bloodclaw unit, unfortunately
one.
forced to fight into the
3
infantry
guys.
squad. Really not where you want to go. He wants to hit Virtus Praetors with those guys.
We're gonna be 2 piece.
Fair enough.
I
Yeah,
think-
I mean, you don't want to kill
Seabiscuit-
Guardsmen with Power Fists.
Yeah, Seabiscuit was hoping he could pick up a Virtus Praetor in this fight phase, but I have a hard time imagining that happens. Unless
So,
unless
let's
Ninja
do
Rune Priest here goes
5s.
absolutely ham.
2 ups.
Did the Praetors already swing? The Praetors already swing though, right?
They have not swung because they're Armor of Rust right now. They swing last.
Now I'll fight my jet
Oh,
bikes.
that's
I'll put
right.
2 of them
Well, if
into
he-
Rune
yeah,
Priest and 4 of
if
them
he's
into
able to kill
Blood
one.
Claws.
Yeah, if he was able to kill one, I think that's a big deal.
Okay,
And
the
it's, I
two
mean,
into Rune
especially they're
Priest.
like 80-point models.
He's
So
hitting on
you just want to
4s.
kill them in general.
Yeah.
Captain's dead, so I don't reroll anything.
But yeah, I think they're going to
But
pick
that-
both of these
That's
units up
4
here and grab
hits.
that Butcher's Bill.
Yeah,
And this is
minus
what
2
we were
right
talking
now.
about last.
No,
This is
reroll.
what we were talking about last round. I mean, you don't want to have that unit not do anything on your turn,
Right.
like not move and not shoot. Like, yeah, you're going to kill that squad, but
Save.
you're now on the second battle round.
And then the 4 into Blood Claws.
What is he saving on over here? Oh, the Armor of Rust gives you an invulnerable save. I don't know what I'm thinking.
Hitting on
I'm so used to
4s.
librarian equivalents.
I don't like being a
just
Guardsman.
immediately dying once they get to melee.
I'm gonna be a
This
Custodian
guy's got a
again.
4+ invuln right now because of his relic.
Hitting on
Yeah.
3s.
So he's actually it's
So
pretty
3.
tanky. It's not that surprising. He's surviving.
See, how many wins do you have? 4? 3?
He's got 2 left.
Oh, he just made them all. He just made them all too.
Oh, that is
Jeez.
well. That's just mean. You can-
I was in-
So part of the thing
Consolidate
that,
over
like
there.
Seabiscuit was mentioning during our little interview with him, part of the reason that he's actually tanking this so hard is that he's given these Virtus Praetors -2 to hit, and Trajan
I'll
Boris
put his
obviously has run
attacks
away
into
and
the
gotten
Wolfen.
mauled by Doggy Boys.
He's still.
How is he giving him a -2 to hit?
So he has a hallucination
Free
from the Phobos discipline, and then he has a Tempest Wrath from the Space Wolf
1
discipline.
hitting on a 6.
Oh my god, that's funny.
They're
Oh,
They're kind of
That means my
leadership based,
turn.
so they're a little
You
swingy because they have a high leadership on
1,
these guys.
2,
But it looks like he got both through this turn. They were -1 to
3
hit
in
last
the
turn,
guard
but now they're
squad, 4
-2. So
there.
he's,
I killed
he's only
3
hitting on
characters
4s,
there.
and then with no rerolls to wound.
So I got Killmore.
and
because that's a 5. You said it's a 500, 600 point unit, and it's
you're
just not
holding-
able to
It
kill
hasn't
Blood
killed
Claws.
anything. It hasn't killed a single unit this game.
Oh, brutal.
3
it's-
points
And it
ahead
took
on
4
the-
CP of his last
Yeah,
turn.
it's even cost 3 CP on the stooping dive.
Even though
Yeah,
it's
I
close
mean,
ahead on- So yeah, your turn 3.
I think they definitely should have just pulled out
I'm going to
and started
combat.
blasting
Yep.
Blood Claws, at least to pick up kills.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
At least
not
shoot
going-
the Blood
It's
Claws.
kind of fallen apart for Lord Solar. That said, he does still have 2 Caladius left. He does have a secondary that only scores at the end of the game. and he's got
Yeah,
the
but he's
speed.
got to hold objectives.
He does
Yeah,
have
but he's
to
got to
hold
hold objectives.
But I mean, as we see, the Space Wolves have so much forward momentum, and we saw this in Seabiscuit's game against Kathor too. Especially since Kathor had a Tempestus drop force too, and he was able to clear out everything in Seabiscuit's deployment zone almost immediately on the bottom of one.
Yep.
Basically, Seabiscuit just lives in your deployment zone, so if you base trade with him, he actually has a
Advanced
tough
charge.
time getting back.
Just running across
Once
the
all
board.
the blood clods are dropped in, they don't. Yeah, there's no mobility left. They're
Two
just move
reasons
6
why I
guys.
really
So if these
should-
Caladi just kite
put everything into him.
and just start moving directly into Seabiscuit's deployment zone, all the Wolfen have to turn around and start running back after them. And meanwhile, he's
Trevi,
picking up these drop pods. He's picking up, characters.
Trevi, is it Cladii the plural?
Yes.
Did you just plural it?
Yeah, pluralized. It's
Fair enough.
it's some Latin grammar for you right there.
Fair enough.
Yeah, the double I is
that's
the pluralization
that
of the IUS. As far as I know,
The
I mean,
geese
somebody smarter
gander
than me
argument?
can probably correct me, but
You're just gonna start receiving direct messages on Facebook.
yeah,
People correcting your
you
grammar.
idiot.
You.
But
You
I mean, you
potato.
can't tell me that Caladi doesn't sound really cool, though, right?
It does.
That's a
I just don't know
cool
if it's the
word.
proper plural. I just don't know if it's the proper plural.
All right, well, just take my word for it. It's okay.
Fair enough.
Almost all of my Latin knowledge I've received through Rome Total War. So,
Well,
so
I am
it's
now a
classical education.
I am now a Patreon, so I do expect to have some basic English taught to me
Okay.
as part of the subscribers.
You got it. I'll record some Rome Total War voice lines and have them playing over all my videos.
I respect everything you're saying. Unpopular opinion: Rome Total War 2, not that good.
I don't think that's unpopular. I think that is
Uh,
pretty well known.
That being said, Total War Warhammer just
All
had
of the,
an expansion pack
that's fair.
announced.
That's true. But all of the videos of the
Grom and the Punch.
of like the these triremes and stuff that are just like sailing on land from Total War 2 is just hilarious. They're like Flying Dutchmen.
That was on release day, though.
Yeah.
But that was on release.
It's
day.
funny.
I think they fixed it since then.
Action.
Yeah.
The facial animations were terrifying children. Yeah, it was a lot of things going on.
It's just units, so I'm going to spend my remaining CP to try and deny it.
Ouch.
Unfortunately, TTS not showing me the player's dice rolls right now. I'm not sure why.
I'm going to smite.
Where are you looking? Let me help you out here.
Yeah, they pop in about 30
Uh,
seconds
off.
after they actually roll. The dice
Oh
do.
yeah, that's
Low when
happening
they
to
go
me
into
too.
the Dice
One
roll
mortal
bizarre.
wound.
Yeah, we get a little bit of ping from the
I
players
ignore it on a
unfortunately right
6.
now, but
Oh,
hopefully we'll be able
Seabiscuit
to
is at
see it.
999.
Yeah,
Ooh.
looks like we have a spike there. Hopefully we'll be
So-
able to commentate through.
It's going to go down to 3.
So we do have
Comcast.
the everybody basically just
Right,
sticking in combat. Murder Fang, look at him go.
Shooting.
Yep,
coming
he's
to kill
going
some
right
British
for what I
Praetors.
said.
That was a real quick turn. That was a real quick moving phrase from Seabiscuit.
Yeah.
He moved him Wolfen and everyone else stayed in melee. I think this is as a Space Wolf, as player, I think this is exactly where you want the game to be. You're just like, yeah, that's fine.
So I'm
We're
gonna
just locked in
full shot.
combat
I
for
mean,
the rest of the game.
Into here.
The crazy thing about Murderfang swinging onto those Praetors is they only have a 5-up invul save. Like
Oh,
they
they're
have a
a four-
5-up
they're a
normal save from just.
So are they
It
minus
said
one hit?
there if you hover over them, it says 5-up.
So
Yeah,
they
mine's
have a
hit.
5+ printed invulnerable save, but
hits.
all Custodes models inside a detachment get +1 to all.
Get a
invulnerable
+1.
saves,
That's right.
Uh,
So they got a
so-
4-up.
Yeah, you're everyone in that faction basically has an Iron
1,
Halo.
3 up.
Do we have an exact count of how many attacks
Hey, I did
Murderfang
one.
actually gets?
I think it's 8.
Okay. Down to
8.
13.
So hitting on 2s, wounding on 2s, re-rolling.
Let me pull this
4-up
sheet
invul
up real quick
saves.
to verify that. Yeah, he gets
So we're
+2
looking at killing.
attacks for charging and then 1 extra for shock assault, so he
one
swings
hit.
with 8. He's also a character, so you
8.
can
And
use
then-
Touch of the Wild on him for exploding if you want, but I think we're out of CP for Seabiscuit.
No, it did. Oh yeah, because he just got
Yeah,
one
he
back
got
and
one
then
and
used it
immediately spent it,
to bust Ragnar up.
Charges. I'm gonna go.
No, I mean them having 4 wounds and him only being able to do 3 with the murder clause,
This Wolfen squad.
so he has to get 2 to kill 1. Yeah, it's not really a great matchip
I
for
need
Murderfang.
8.
Yeah, Yeah, the 4 wounds kind of kills him, and then the 4+ invulnerable save on top of that. But as long as they're locked in melee, they're not doing too much damage back because they can't reroll wounds. And
Correct.
every one of those models he kills is a big hit out of that unit.
Yeah, you said they're 80 points apiece or something.
Yeah. So far, only 1 wound on those guys, despite the fact that they've been in combat for the last 3 fight phases. They're in
Three
stuff,
fight
they're
phases,
in
yeah.
with stuff that doesn't really hurt them.
I mean, them being neg 2 to hit's pretty brutal, though.
That's true. Yeah, they're not doing much damage back, and it looks like we did get another hallucination off on them, so they're -1 this turn.
Ugh.
From the Phobos Librarian. Oh, that guy is doing so much work this game. I cannot believe how effective
So
this
much.
model has been.
He is tanking, he's damaging, he's doing everything.
Wow, what a monster of a model that guy is! It's for 100 points, like just put him in your list, man.
Yep.
100 points and a couple CP, just get her done.
The Blood Claw squad, the small one.
Oh, he's swinging on him now. Here we go.
And especially in a situation like this where you're locked in with them, so you can force them to fight last every single fight phase.
4 attacks, 4 hits.
Yeah, he's
one exploding
in Assault Doctrine
6.
now, so yeah, we got the Super Doctrine going.
Yeah, from this point forward, all 6s to hit explode.
I do like how the list just focuses so hard on melee that you're just gonna advance the Tactical Doctrine as soon as you can. You don't care about anything besides Assault Doctrine. It's kind of a beautiful.
He just did 4 wounds.
Yeah, that's with the power
to the bikes. Yep, and he failed 1.
So
2.
Oof.
So 2d3.
That's fine though.
So 4.
So we're just gonna kill the guy on the end who's wounded.
Okay.
Whittle him down, 80 points, and a gangbuster, correct?
No, it's 6 you need to do 6, yeah. So I mean, he's
6.
He's gonna, if he wipes the unit, he gets it.
Yeah. Now we start working towards gangbuster.
So 4 hits. I'm sorry, 8 hits.
Okay.
Within 6 of him. Nope. But I reroll anyway because I'm murderfang. I forgot. So 8 wounds at -3.
4 ups.
It should be 8.
Yeah, it looks like Murderfang converted 100% against those.
Yeah.
Against those guys. 8 attacks, 8 wounds. That's what
8 attacks, 8
and rerolling
wounds.
your wounds will do.
And he just failed 4.
Oh.
That's a 2 dead.
I guess that's technically average.
I mean, it's exactly average. Yeah, you just hope that you don't get to the select where you have to take 8 invulnerable saves on these expensive models.
But that unit's damage output just drastic.
Yeah, he's hoping he can pick up that Rune Priest, and then that's going to be it for them for the most of the rest. They're going to be falling back and shooting and hopefully grabbing something late game.
All my charges
For ground control.
Well, ground control's getting harder and harder to get.
First, the Praetors are going to be.
Yeah, we have to see an immense surge turn out of Lord Solar here, and we have to see some failed saves on these Wolfen.
Correct.
And if,
we got to see the Manticore do something.
We're
speaking of another 100 points that hasn't done anything.
Yeah, we're down to 2 rockets left on the Manticore, and it's done 3 wounds to a drop pod.
To a drop pod. Yeah.
I don't know.
Into my banner. Yeah.
They don't kill their own points.
I think that's kind of my experience with Manticores so far. Is they're so swingy. I just haven't seen them.
You're also into my tank, obviously.
Definitely, like you're saying, the Wyvern is probably where you want to be. But I think Lord Solar is banking on these Virtus Praetors to kill all the infantry for him. I don't think he's really looking for extra strength 4 shooting.
Yeah, I mean, I just love the Wyverns. I mean, just 4d6. Yep. Re-rolling 1 because Acadian, re-rolling wounds, just so good.
You've got Ryan. Yeah, I agree that the play should have been to fall back with these Virtus Praetors. I don't know if I guess he probably should shoot the Wolfen just to try to kill him, but he wouldn't. There was no way he was going to get in rapid fire range without basically sacrificing the whole unit.
But he was also neg to hit too.
Yeah, he had a bunch of penalties to hit too. I think the play was to fall back and kill all the Blood Claws. And then just force your opponent to charge you again through this forest and eat a big Overwatch and, just make it happen.
I mean, it's the Death Star argument. You put 600 points into one unit, and your opponent goes, "Hey, here's neg 2 to hit." And you just kind of go, "Well, that was fun."
Yeah, Yeah. Yeah, that is a pretty good control effect from the
2
Space
extra
Wolves
hits.
list that we don't usually talk about. This Rune Priest, I think,
And
usually, like Seabiscuit was
twos.
saying, kind of leaning on
No,
Tenebrous
you're
Curse
7, so 3s.
to be his control, but right now he's just looking to mitigate damage from these guys.
So
He's not going to
seven.
slow
Very
them down
nice.
enough for it to matter.
I mean, I feel Space Wolves have the tools to handle almost anything.
So
I mean,
would you
they
want
are a
4
very
wounds
good, well-rounded
down to
list.
1.
Damn. I tried.
Yeah, it looks like so because he had to string those Wolfen
The
out, he
other
only got
3
4
guys
into melee, and he left that Caladius on 1.
into the tank.
So that's a
bottom-
little bit of fresh air for Lord Solar. Not that I think it's really going to swing things.
It's bottom
Um,
bracket. Its
yeah.
movement is probably drastically decreased.
It's down to 8. It's pretty fast still. It's down to 8, which
4
is
extra hits.
faster
Yep.
than a lot of vehicles in the game on bottom
It's
bracket.
almost the exact same speed of the Wolfen without advancing.
Yeah.
On 3s.
Remember
I
when
mean,
you said Wolfen are slow?
That's going down.
Mm-hmm.
That's going down for sure. But I mean, it is lucky that he gets another turn of shooting
Can I
out
make
of
all
it.
these 5?
Without Trajan on the table, though,
Correct.
and now that it's on bottom bracket hitting on 4s, it's
Yeah.
probably
Does
not
it
going to do too
explode?
much.
No.
But
Does
if-
it?
Nope, there goes
I
one.
mean, we just need to see
I
Seabiscuit
didn't.
roll a bunch of 1s and 2s this
4.
coming turn, right? And if we can see
Oh.
I had to hope.
these Virtus Praetors fall back, kill all
pilot
the
with them.
blood claws,
I'm going to choose my Praetor to
and
Oh,
hide behind the forest.
I moved
and the
them 3
Caladius
inches first.
to kill the if we see the Caladius the 2 Caladius kill the Wolfen, then we might
I
have
think
to-
you're going to see a major swing of points for the Space Wolf player at the end of this turn. And you got one grav tank at 1 wound. You have another one
I'm
that's
actually
only
choose
taking
my
1, but I
Guard
mean,
squad to go next.
how is he going to deal with Murderfang? How is he going to deal with all these Space Wolf characters that are in the middle of the board?
I
You
don't
can't target them.
I don't foresee Murderfang going down in this game. Just because he's in such a dominating position, and there's always going to be something closer than the Caladii. But I do think that they pop over to the long table edge this turn. They start popping drop pods late game. They try to kill these
Attack sitting
Wolfen
on
immediately.
4s.
I think the 1-on-1 wound probably gets taken out by something, and then you have 1 left to run around the back and just keep taking
So
shots at people. We have to see some insanely bad dice from Seabiscuit for Lord Solar to get back in this game, but I mean that is the fickle nature of Storm Shields is that they can turn off just as easily
Correct.
as they make a bunch of 3-up and
Yeah.
Actually, my Guardsman's doing more than Custodes now.
They have too.
Yeah, Lord Solar mentioning that his
killed-
3-man
I
guard
think they've
unit
killed 3 of my Custodes killed like 2.
have killed more
So this
blood
squad,
claws than this
they got
entire
1
Virtus
normal
Praetor
guy
squad.
who's gonna get 2 attack.
Oh, that's so bad. That's so
In the last round of fighting, they've killed 3 blood claws, and the Virtus
Looks
Praetors
like
have
3
killed
hits.
like 2.
too, yeah. I mean, the thing about it is the blood claws are still there.
Wounds.
They're still there.
Yeah, 2 blood claw units just for Refuse to Die.
Yep.
Saved?
I did feel
A
like this
12-inch
was,
turn.
No.
Lord Solar had a
Oh,
pretty
did they
good
save? Yeah.
had a pretty good
Yeah,
position in this game. He
And then
deployed
my power
defensively,
fist
and
and
he
your
he had a good game plan. And I think it's it's falling apart a
It's
little
just
bit.
all
for him.
falling apart. Yeah.
It's gonna be 2 hits. 2.
Guardsmen are gone.
I think something we have to remember right now, which could come up in this game, is that if I remember correctly, all Custodes have OPSEC. So they don't have to be troops choices.
Based with the commander.
So
So this Vixillus Praetor is holding its objective against the Wolfen. I believe that the
do,
Virtus
but,
Praetors can also do that.
It's your turn now.
I'm going to fact check
Yes.
myself in that real quick.
did you want to just do him now because it doesn't make a difference to what happens?
Yeah, he's swinging into the bikes.
I'm going to play devil's advocate and say it's turn 3. And there's still a lot of Space Wolves still alive.
Yeah, every
4 hits?
Custodes model has OPSEC,
Object
Depending on size.
upsec. That's awesome.
which is a very good ability, and especially once we come down to the late game where
4 up.
Lord Solar is going to be trying to fight for ground control.
Saves it.
But okay,
I'm
so
gonna fight for
how
the
is he going to
commander.
get past all the center Space Wolf characters
Gets
and
4
blood
hits.
claws,
He's
or
gotta
in
run
the
away.
in the Wolfen in the center of the board?
He's got to
But
run
I mean,
away.
he's going to be able to get tagged by wherever he goes.
Yeah.
Ending on 5s.
Yeah, I think these Virtus Praetors
Thing.
by
go with my
the blue table
banner
edge
into
need
Wolfen.
to.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure where they go. I guess maybe
Think on
they fall
2s.
back to the where the Manticore is and just continue to blast into these wolf and try to kill them. They're probably fast.
But you're
enough that
moving
I
up.
don't think they get
Wounding
charged.
on
The following
3s.
turn, the follow-up turn.
That's 3 wounds.
Is that
I think we
under
got a
war
C
clause or
score.
what?
I mean, you're already
So
looking
the
at a
Wolfen.
12-7. The Spaceful player got all 5, killed more, hold
Failed
more
2.
last turn.
I mean,
Ugh.
Well, yeah, I mean, you have to remember that's 12-7 with 4
damage
points being
each.
totally off the table for the Custodes until the last turn in that ground control.
Yeah.
That's a lot of times what you'll see in ground control
there
is
was
the,
one
the game
wounded, so
doesn't
he
look
just dies.
that particularly
do my
close,
grab
but you
tanks
have to remember
together,
that
I've
there's
got 4
potentially 4
attacks
points up for
total from
grabs
them.
on round 6.
But you are going to get another
6s.
recon. You are. Oh, actually, I think he kind of whoops himself out of recon there.
Yeah, yeah, and when we were
Wounding
talking to him,
on
Seabiscuit did mention
freeze.
that he doesn't think he's going to get recon this
1
turn, and it
wound.
might be tough to get it in the following turn because his blood claws up in his top corner there got taken
I'm
out,
gonna
so he doesn't have
do my
anything
bikes
to
now.
grab these 2 back corners.
2
He just has a
into-
drop pot up there, and he doesn't want to turn Wolfen around to get it.
Put 1 into the Rune Priest.
Yeah. You
and
usually don't want Wolfen to go in the
2
wrong
into
direction.
The blood claws that didn't
Yeah.
charge.
You wanted them towards the enemy. You have to
So
turn
the
them
one
to
into
face
Rune
where they
Priest.
need to go, and then they're just like
Now
a
hitting
they're
on
like a top.
freeze,
You just send them
because you've got
spinning
psychic
off.
powers again.
Unfortunately,
So
dice
2
is
hits?
appearing for me again.
Okay.
This is looks like 2 wounds on the Rune Priest.
Need to wait for the sharp. Okay.
Maybe
Wounding
someone
on
taken out?
freeze.
Oh, just one.
Maybe,
Excuse me.
Just
maybe.
1 wound.
Oop,
All right, Rune Priest. What do you got?
Ooh,
Got a
he
failed
takes it.
invulnerable save. Oh, is he dead? He's not.
1.
He rolled a 1.
He rolled a 1 for damage.
screaming.
Oh no!
And the 2 into the-
Lord Solar, no!
I'd be
Not
so
like
so
this.
pissed off in this game.
This Rune Priest is so. What an insane monster of a model this guy is.
So yep, there's 3 wounds.
So
6
the
ups.
guy without a power fist dies. The guy with a power fist dies.
So dice.
We do finally see this
Resting
front
roll.
blood plaque squad or
Yeah,
blood
that's
clot squad
everything.
finally killed.
Finally get off the board.
Finally killed by these Virtus Praetors. They've done it. They've killed 1 unit so far. So good.
There we go.
We're doing it now, boys.
How many points is that? Is that blood clot unit?
Like
Yeah,
100,
118.
115,
Yeah.
120 points.
Yeah.
You can always tell the game's going good when your opponent is able to kill a 118 point
2
unit
for
by
gang
turn
busters.
3 with a 600 point unit.
600 point, yeah, Death Star. Yeah, that is the downside
Yeah.
of Death Stars is that you have to use them with a deft
You don't
hand.
get recon because
Because
you've
if
got
you flub
nothing
it,
to
that's literally the game right there. If a quarter of your army has accomplished basically nothing in the game, it's hard
So, my
to
turn.
win against a 2,000 point army with a 1,500 point
how
army.
best to like salvage something out of this? Kill the wolf and that would
So we're
help.
back
I
to
don't
Lord
want all my
Solar's
mana
turn.
back.
I
Kill
think
those
we
ones.
see these Virtus Praetors fall back to the corner. We try to
Fall
block
back
off
with
Murder
this tank.
Fang's charge
Go
with
7
the
inches.
forest.
Mhm.
Yep, and we see the Caladi fall out of
I'm gonna
combat.
fall back.
I wonder if this
Tank.
Vexillus Praetor stays on this
No,
objective
14.
in case he needs to finish off the wolf in there.
I feel like you know, kind of like what we said last
I'm
turn. You
leave
have to do a
the-
Hail Mary again. I mean, every turn you're playing,
Well,
you just need so much stuff to go your way.
yeah, at this
No way
point,
of
I mean, I don't
shooting
think
that.
I definitely
That's a fallback.
think we can both accept that Lord Solar did overextend a bit last turn.
Yeah.
a lot.
Oh, well,
now.
I'm
It
actually
was a
gonna
lot.
fall back.
So he
Well,
that,
you know.
that now requires him to.
I'm gonna shunt them all over to there.
Oh no, this is not where you go.
Kind of like what we were saying is, I guarantee you,
My
when he
home
plays
objective
Spaceballs
at
again,
last.
he's not going to make the same mistake.
I think we might be seeing it though. If this,
Oh,
if
no!
this is where the Virtus Praetors
Learn from your
move,
mistakes!
he's
Movement I
within
want
6
to-
inches of Murder Fang there, and he can't
So,
shoot him because of these.
No,
bullets.
psychic power in this comp. Well, I'm just gonna
Please learn from your mistakes! Please!
Yeah, I wonder. Maybe I wonder if he's a little tilted here.
I'm gonna
And we're seeing
go
some
over
mistakes happening.
to shooting and start off.
His
by
blood sugar
putting
shouldn't be low. He got food.
Caladius
He did, he
into
did.
the 6th
Hmm.
squad of Wolfen.
Yeah, I don't. I think the Caladius up by the long table edge should be up closer to the edge, so it's out of threat range of Ragnar. He's decided to stay in melee with the Vexillus Praetor. So I imagine that guy dies, unless he can make a bunch of invulnerable saves.
Yep.
And
yep,
he's
yep.
remained
Fair
in heroic intervention range of Murder Fang.
Oh, Murderfang should not be getting two charges a battle round.
I think the wheels are all the way off of the bus at this point.
Please don't give Murderfang 2 charges a battle round. Please, the pro tip.
Pro tip of the day.
Pro tip of the day: a dreadnought specializing in close combat. It's pretty good.
Yeah, especially with that 6-inch intervention.
So 3.
You have to remember that guy is a character, despite being an enormous vehicle.
3 storm shields.
Yep.
Made all 3.
And Seabiscuit continues making invulnerable saves on his Wolfen. So maybe it doesn't make it.
6 shots from the smaller gun.
I think he's probably just getting frustrated and wants to get this
point,
over with.
Yeah. We're just gonna see if we can kill some Wolfen and fight back, but I think that it's getting down.
Getting down to the nitty gritty.
I made 2. No, take 1.
Wounds. Did you roll the saves? Cool.
I did. Yeah.
Okay. Adius, number 2, is going to shoot at them. The 6 shots from its smaller gun.
And you're hitting at what?
Well, maybe he just really wants to kill the drop pod.
Still 4.
Well, he fired into the Wolfen. He did 1 wound.
Okay, nothing.
So, are you respecting Wolfen more now, or are you still team Thunderwolf Cav?
Chat is complaining that they can't hear me so much, so I'm going to turn my mic up here.
Oh, you don't want them to just be able to hear me. That's terrible.
That would be bad.
Terrible. So that's how you lose people.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to agree with that, Trevi. That's just mean.
Well, it's what I believe. Yeah, hopefully that's a little better. Turn my mic up a little bit.
Just
But
2.
Made 1 failure.
Damage.
That's 2 damage, correct?
Yeah.
Wow.
And
is dead.
we've seen 1 Wolfen die from these 2 Caladius. Yeah.
Okay.
That's not enough.
I shoot all 3 of my jet bikes at.
So I go back to my original statement. What do you think of Wolfen now?
No comment.
5 up, 5 up. Pretty good.
Yeah, 3 up, 5 up.
Pretty good.
I don't know. Every time I play against them, I kill them immediately. What am I doing differently?
Hitting on 2s.
Gene Stealers?
Yeah, I'm attacking him with Gene Stealers and Storm Bolters, I think, is the difference.
What a combo.
2 damage Storm Bolters. We'll run through those guys pretty quickly.
Winning on 4s.
And Gene Stealers will do so as well.
7.
7? So starting with the regular guy.
Looks like the Virtus Praetors holding a bit of a grudge here. They're going to try to take out those last 2 Blood Claws.
3.
Yeah, this is obviously a spite play.
Yeah, I don't think you need to take these one at a time there, Seabiscuit. You can you can definitely just roll them. Those guys don't have different saves. There you go. They're dead. Well, finally, all the Blood Claws on the table are dead. It took a little bit of time, but we did it.
Got 1 kill. How many did you kill? You killed 1, 2. I only killed 2.
That's correct.
I'd feel a lot better if that dead Wolfen was out of this front
going to
squad.
order himself to reroll 1's hit.
But I guess he doesn't want to give up the Vexillus Praetor's attacks, but...
No.
And he
that guy doesn't have a melee weapon, right? He just has a Misericordia.
My Basilisk is going to fire...
I guess it doesn't matter so much against Wolfen.
Hold it in the back.
You want the multi-damage.
I'm holding 2.
I think you definitely called it with the Gladius tank across the board, though.
You're only holding 1.
Got Obsec on the...
Got a Mesrocondia.
Oh, okay. My bad.
Oof.
I forgot Custodes have Obsec.
Okay, I'm going to drop a Manticore missile on the drop pod to try and get hold of it.
We're just gonna... Alright, well... it's a play for an extra point here. Lord Solar does grab hold more if the Vexillus Praetor survives and he's able to kill this drop pod with the...
Close combat. Yeah.
With the Manticore, the one on the back objective, right? Why are you shooting?
Yeah, you'd have to because they broke out of the bikes broke out of combat, right? They can't charge.
They cannot charge. Well, they obsec
Swing
over
on
on that objective.
Correct. Yeah.
But he's got to kill the one
Nice.
in Seabiscuit's back line.
wounding on freeze. Yeah.
He's got 3 wounds on it. Let's see how he does.
Get my 2, so 5 ups.
Yeah.
Ooh,
That'll
they're
be
going through.
6
Yeah.
wounds. 9 wounds.
9
so yeah,
damage.
it can't explode, so.
That would have one-shot him.
Yep. Hey, the
My
Manticore,
combat
3
commander
shots. Finally
is
killed something.
against
Yeah.
all his instincts
Well, we
can
just need to see this
charge
this
your
Vixilus
rune priest.
Praetor make a million
Okay,
bajillion
Overwatch.
3+ invulnerables.
Correct.
That's where we're
I
at.
believe
right
in
now.
him.
Missed.
I believe. Have faith.
So you made it.
Do I make it in? So 4 attacks.
This
do I have
company
any
commander
charges?
trying to kill the
Can't
rune
charge.
priest.
Okay. Murderfang is gonna
And
heroic
no-
here.
That would be the best way for him to die.
Good.
Yeah, here comes Murderfang into the Vexillus Praetors again.
So,
Oh.
4 attacks on the common
Okay.
commander. Hang on
Uh,
freeze.
Yep.
Okay, let's wait until they load in.
And actually,
Nice
he
and
was supposed
disappeared.
to
looks like the player's also experiencing that too.
Okay.
What is?
That's alright. You can go
Just
ahead
do
and
it
do
and
it. I still get my
It's your
swings if
library.
you kill me. So
And if you kill me, then I don't get my swings. Okay, so
That's
2
true.
hits, wounding on 5.
1 wound through on the Phobos Librarian because can he survive? No,
There-
he's
I
okay.
get a wound.
He has 1 wound left.
yeah,
He's
I
got
see.
1 left and he's hold strong.
He's still good. He's
I'm
still
going to
good.
my Praetors because I choose one first.
Yeah, at least the
So,
Praetors do
yeah.
get to swing at Murderfang
If I
first.
kill him, this would be quite funny.
Non-zero chance that they
12
actually could
attacks,
take
but
him
only
out with
hitting
those
on
D3
threes.
weapons. See, we need some good dice here.
Yep.
I'm rooting for you, Load Solar. Let's see some.
I mean,
characters dead.
he doesn't. He doesn't get the
That's not
reroll
one, two.
wounds, so
No,
and
he
he just
doesn't.
missed with half.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
Yo, that was a terrible
oh,
roll. Yeah.
1.
-3.
Ah,
Jeez.
-3.
1 wound through.
Yeah, what can you do at this
How much
point?
do I take?
And now Murderfang licks his lips and takes another
He's
2
hit
off
for
the
2,
board.
yeah, and then he starts pulling more versus Praetors off the board. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Now
I guess
it's my choice.
I think
choose-
we're slipping away pretty quickly for Lord Solar. If he had an insanely good turn this turn, I think he's still in the game. But I think at this point, I think that we can probably call it for Seabiscuit here.
I mean, it's sad because every turn that we've seen so far has been like, okay, he needs this to happen, this to happen.
15
He
attacks.
finally got the drop pod with the Manticore,
Right.
and that was it.
Yeah,
Like
it's,
that's
yeah, it's like
that
we
should
need-
not
if
be
these-
how your turn
If
is.
these three things happen, yeah, he's like, I finally killed the
And
Blood
then
Claws on
Phobos.
round 3, and you're like, what? With your Custodes, like elite jet bikers, Like, really? Yeah, it's
And I
it's
don't
been
think
like Lord
I'm
Solar,
nine,
needs
six,
X to
so,
happen, and
hidden
I am gonna call it a little bit. He's made it
So it's gonna be
a bunch
7
of
plus
mistakes,
1 bonus.
unfortunately, which have not helped him.
Mhm.
And then in
wounding
addition
on
to
Wounds,
that,
'cause you're strength
the dice
5.
have really not been his friend. At least Seabiscuit's dice have been his friend.
3 ups.
Yeah.
I don't know if Lord Solar's had any
So, 9
particularly
damage.
terrible dice. They haven't been amazing,
Okay,
but he hasn't had the huge spike he needs yet. And there goes the Vixillus Praetor, so he's
So,
gonna lose
yeah,
his hold
your
more.
wound-
Yeah. Well, hopefully, chat can grasp, understand, and from now on,
Your choice.
figure out that
Uh,
Space Wolves
even
will have a
strong
6-inch
fire.
heroic intervention on your
Yeah.
return.
Yeah, we've seen
it's
two
just
games.
so
in
don't
which,
fall for it.
Those 6-inch heroic interventions have
So I'm
effectively
doing reverse.
decided the game.
And they will. Yep, that's
Yeah.
what they do.
So chat, don't get got by the
5
Space
hits.
Wolves.
Don't get.
They are ravenous beasties.
Mm-hmm.
So I think by the end of Seabiscuit's follow-up turn here, on top of 4, going into top of 4.
Is the rune priest in
I
Probably
imagine
GG's at that.
we have it down to just this Caladius Graph tank
2
for
5 ups.
Lord Solar. He'll grab a hold. He'll probably pick up another drop pod for
So, 1.
some kills, and we're mostly playing for points at this
Yep.
point.
Okay,
Yeah.
just 1 damage.
Now, I mean that is to mention that the points do matter for
1.
the T5S2 series. Your final placement in all your
Down to
pods and your
3.
top 3 pods does
Murderfang.
determine your placement in the series, and the top players will get the invite to the seasonal invitational at the in July. So
Is there going to be prize support for that, Travis?
there is going to be prize support for that.
Oh, can we leak what it's going to be, or is that
we don't have it
G13
all squared
classified?
away. We have leaked a little bit on some live
So
streams.
similar.
What the first prize that we have to announce is
7 4-ups.
it's
What is it?
one of the coolest prizes I think that you could possibly win in a tabletop simulator tournament. One of the community
you responding
sculptors,
when I send you a message.
no, nothing like that. That's too much to ask. One of the community sculptors for the TTS 40K
I kill
mods
one and
will
one takes
sculpt
3.
you. The top 3 players in the seasonal invitational will sculpt them a custom 40K model for the TTS, to play in TTS. So if you have a cool character that you want added, if you want to add yourself as a character,
He'll disappear when he
if you say I have a cool
disappears.
Space Marine character that I made using all these bits, put him in the game, then he will be
Alright,
in there.
so now
I
think those all
love
pieces.
that.
Isn't that the coolest thing ever?
Did you
That actually is the coolest thing ever. Okay, I guess
cool.
I'll actually try now.
yeah, okay, it's on.
Yep.
Also
So
kill-
yeah,
Fine.
we'll have more prize support
Prize?
that we'll let you know
Yeah,
about
pause.
as we get closer to the date there. But that is a couple months
I
away,
killed
and
3
so you do have some time to
guilds,
jump in
squad of
pods
blood
and
lords in
get
your
those
turn,
scores
I killed
going.
squad of blood lords
to
in my
potentially
turn,
get
And
those
my
invites.
model have
Drop pod.
ripped abs
I
like I do in
killed-
real life.
100%.
Hank,
Glistening abs,
Guardsman
maybe a surfboard on my shoulder. Just
Glistening. Yeah, get that nice reflective sheen going on, and
totally modeled on
Killed
real life,
3.
by the way.
Yeah.
More of like a
Killed 3, so
Hemsworth,
I
like
get
Thor.
yeah. Oh man, yeah, dude. Can I have a
I got the
Magnus
2
that just looks
squads
like
of
Chris
blood
Hemsworth?
lords. The drop pod.
I'm in.
Yeah,
so
fair
we
enough.
both killed 3.
Oh, yeah, because you got the tank as well. Oops.
So a little score update here. We are.
So-
Yeah, and
Oh,
you
yeah,
get
good
hold
call.
more 'cause you-
Ooh, yep.
We've got
there
3
it is.
headhunters for Lord Solar.
Okay, and I
And
got my 3rd gangbusters. You got butchers.
Yeah, that's
Scores
a
are
pretty substantial
coming.
difference there.
There you go.
that's it.
Okay,
Yeah,
So now turn
Okay,
4.
your turn.
yeah. They tied on kills that
Ooh,
turn.
you're gonna get quite a high score.
And the shit thing is, now it's the Space Wolf's turn.
Right. Yeah, that was
Like,
that was all just in Lord Solar's own turn. Yeah.
yeah, remember all those heroic interventions? Now it's your Space Wolf player
Yeah,
turn. You're
yeah.
just like,
I
oh,
even
great.
wonder if
Look
you
on the
if you
Warriors
forego
22
this
hits.
Caladius on 1 wound. I wonder if Seabiscuit forgot this Caladius was so wounded by the short table edge, and he leaves the Space Wolves on that the Wolfen on that objective after the kill of Vixillus. They run towards the other Caladius.
Yeah.
They pick that up. You get the
Ugh,
smite on the other one,
jeez.
and you know there's a Manticore left on the table at the end of the round. I think is what we would see at this point. Seabiscuit kind of taking the pressure off a little bit, unless these Ragnar or these other Wolfen could get into melee.
Yeah. I mean, you're 10 points down. You got a few models left.
Yep.
It's your opponent's turn. They're literally, Charlie is in the wood line. You are getting overrun. Like, what do you do? Like, I mean, I guess you kind of just try to take the objective in the backfield and look at your opponent and be like, I'm going to continue to hold one and get one.
I'm gonna
of
hold
his
one, kill a
secondaries.
drop pod, hold one, kill, hopefully kill some Wolfen, and that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, he might just be able to jump between the two objectives and see Biscuit's backline and just kill drop pods to get his kills every turn.
Yeah.
Pick those guys
I mean,
off. But it's not
he
like
could get
that's gonna
himself
win him the
another-
game. He's losing a hold more bonus and in his secondaries for sure.
well, he's going to lose. He's going to lose everything in his backfield.
Oh, it looks like
basically.
it looks
And I
like
think-
Seabiscuit did
Oh.
did realize that this Caladius was dead, and those Wolfen just turned
Okay.
around from their pile in and just moved towards the other one. That's a tough charge though.
looks like
'cause they're -2.
Ragnar's right there.
Let's see. I'm just trying to see if I can get this recon too.
Yeah, trying to finagle a recon for Seabiscuit. I imagine if
Probably
these
not.
the Wolfen in the center leave a guy lipped over the
Yeah, I think
edge,
I'm gonna end
then
up
it
with
seems
maybe
pretty
a
straightforward.
if I table you this turn. But
So
Yeah,
that
that's
we'll
fair.
see Seabiscuit moving into the semifinals. So we'll get to almost stream his entire tournament run in in Pod 2 here, because
People.
the goal is to stream
Yeah.
the semifinals and finals of every pod.
And hopefully by the next round, his opponent will know what a heroic intervention is.
Yep.
Plan accordingly.
Yeah. Yeah. I think probably less players.
Because you said he
out by that as we go.
Because you said that he did the same thing last round, right? Against his last opponent?
It was a little different. His opponent was cognizant of the 6-inch heroic intervention from the characters, the chapter trait, but he didn't know about the new stratagem they have to heroically intervene 6 inches with any model.
Charges?
Their
Oh,
strategy.
snap.
Not charges.
And he actually played it very well. The Wolfen made it to the center of the
That's
table effectively, killed a bunch of Imperial Guardsmen, and he just ringed them with concentric circles of Imperial Guard to stop them from getting to the tanks. So, made it very difficult for the Wolfen to actually move, but instead they just heroically intervened at the end of his charge phase and killed all the Imperial Guard during his opponent's turn.
That's incredible.
And then made it to his Lehman Russ. Unfortunately, one more round of shooting, and he could potentially have reduced them to such a level that he could kill them a round earlier and potentially have gotten that game back. But as it turned out,
you're seeing some really great skill level in these T5 events. I mean, it's pretty awesome to be able to see people from all over the world and see there's just great players everywhere.
Yeah.
I've got
one thing I should mention too, Seabiscuit actually a renaissance man when it comes to 40k.
Really?
This is the only pod in which he submitted pure Space Wolves. In pod 4, I believe it is, he submitted pure Nurgle.
2 hits.
And in pod 7, the lists aren't live yet, but he submitted pure Astra Militarum.
Kind of all over the place, huh?
He's playing everything, man. He's
a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Yeah, he's fully embracing Tabletop Simulator as a medium in which you can play whatever you want, and you can just play test all sorts of weird and wacky builds and just see how they go into the meta. Definitely a lot of experimentation going on in the T5S2 events. It's a good way to get a whole boatload of games in.
I fully expect TTS to still be here when everything even opens up. I still am going to be playing on it.
For sure. I think I will as well. I think that this is for sure where most of my practice games are going to go. I definitely enjoy tournaments too much to ever say that I won't go to a tournament, but
correct.
But the Tabletop Simulator is so good for grinding games.
Yep. And like leagues, and just phenomenal. Very happy with it. It's definitely made this quarantine more bearable than I guess if you don't have it. I know that's kind of a vague statement, but I mean, geez, just try to think about if we were unable to get any Warhammer games in.
Reroll 1s to wound. It wounds.
You see a wound here from this Wolfguard battle leader onto the Clarius with his pistol, or maybe a grenade.
You miss every shot you don't take.
If the dice moved, no, it looks like he saved it. That would have been embarrassing. He's killed by a random grenade. It's fine.
What was that?
That was a 4, so I passed it, I think.
Okay. Yeah, you did. All right. I think I'm done shooting. Charges.
Tora in the chat asking, will we be streaming the T5S2 Youngbloods? I may stream the top tables. It depends on how the schedule works out. We're definitely prioritizing the T5S2 pods proper, but I would like to showcase some of the top tables of the Youngbloods event.
Yeah. How many players do you have in the Youngbloods?
34.
Wow.
17 tables worth of players.
One extra hitting on.
Did you sign me up for the Youngbloods?
1 hit.
I forgot.
Are you laughing? Why are you laughing? That's not funny. I want to play in the Youngbloods.
I want to play
like fun games. No, like fun games.
Sure.
And then the smaller guy.
I'm gonna.
If we want to turn the Youngbloods off from 40k forever.
And 6s.
What do you mean none of your army starts on the table?
Like,
what do you mean
nothing.
Every one of these units shoots 72 times and gets +1 to wound?
and they're so young and don't know any better. And yes, of course that's what this model does.
Yeah. How come you get to deep strike your 900 point units of Centurions?
Not allowed to do that?
Yeah, here come the Wolfen. So they did make their charge. Looks like we rolled big. We rolled an 8-inch charge on those guys. Gonna knock out this Caladius Grav tank, I imagine.
Ragnar.
The other one
I would
survived,
imagine
but he
so,
might
too.
get
Going
killed
into
by
there.
the Wolfguard battle leader. We'll have to see.
Okay.
Wow.
11 nipples.
Seabiscuit's
I mean,
charge
we're
rolls
just
this
kind
game have been intense.
Has he failed a charge yet this game? Actually,
Uh,
I don't think he
yes,
has.
he did. He failed one with his Wolfguard
He
battle
did?
leader to charge into the
Wolfguard
Imperial
battle leader?
Guardsman. Yeah, when he was in the ruin.
Into the one.
Ah,
To charge into the Guardsmen that were here.
but nothing overly important.
Right. Yeah, it
be
wasn't that
honest.
big of a deal. He made it with all of the important models in that phase.
You know, Overwatch.
And that Wolfguard
that's
battle
just
leader
the
did get
Wolfguard
to
going
kill.
into my
Did get to kill
Caladius.
a shield captain right after that. So
I'll Overwatch. It's the worst that can happen.
Yeah, and now he's going to get what, 2 turns of assault doctrine.
No hits.
Great. And
yeah, he was in
small
assault doctrine as of last round because we're top of 4 now. In top
We'll
3.
be
He went into
wounding
assault.
on. We'll be hitting on 6s.
2 hits.
So we did fail with one Wolfen unit here. These guys consolidated
That's
back
on
when they were on the
3s.
objective towards the other
2
Caladius and
rings.
then quickly changed their minds. But I don't think you need 2 units of Wolfen to kill one
You mean
Caladius Grav
Boltgun?
tank. I think they can work it out.
So range. Ooh, 4 inches. I miss it because of your grav.
Yeah, so it looks like that Wolfguard battle
Okay.
leader did fail on the Caladius, so we will probably see another round of shooting from that.
So
It's kind of a small mercy
Yep.
from Mozilla.
It has one It has 1 hit point left
Yeah,
Okay.
it's gonna escape.
for two rounds.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll Extinction Overwatch at you. That is
Oh, I
fine.
think that was we were rolling for the Wolfguard. We would haven't rolled for
Yeah,
the
I'll just do
Wolfen yet.
small gun first because I've got 6 dice here. I hit 1.
So we might see those Wolfen get into one of these Caladius.
Save.
With the reliability of Seabiscuit Storm
More for
Shields,
the
though,
big gun.
you might as well take every charge.
Hang
Just
on,
charge everything.
sixes.
It doesn't matter. You're not going to take any damage.
There's no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to
Wounding on
Overwatch me with the
3s?
Manticore? I'll give you a rocket back for free. It's not going to do anything.
2 rings.
Yeah, go for it. Burn one of your rockets. It doesn't matter.
Made 1, failed 1.
Oh, the dice got eaten.
Okay, 2 damage.
So this is one of the post drama maps, right? This is one of the.
Yeah, the
ones.
one they're using, I think, is a later version of the ITC Ruins map. It's not the one that we have linked in the
The pods.
in the rules packet, but it's functionally the same. The dice roller is a little bit different, and these ruins in the center have their hitbox update. But
Okay.
I'm not sure. It's kind of unclear
Here you're gonna
which version this is because it's hard to pin down, in
So,
the catalog.
We'll start with these Wolfen.
The one in the backup in the catalog right now is a little bit different.
So for these.
So we're using the one
is,
off Steam in
maybe 12.
Ponzer's workshop
16 attacks.
for T5S2 for now. Ultimately, the version doesn't make a big difference, though. It just changes the accessories and where these
Trees
creators
are
are
on
that are
ones.
usually on the table.
And 3 extra hits.
Yeah, these Wolfen, now with their Super
Rolling
Doctrine
down
active, exploding
3s.
on 6s, just absolutely blasting this
So you have
Caladius
11
Grav tank.
I've-
saves.
Have been muted for God knows how long. God damn it! I hate Steam. I just
This is
utterly
into the
hate Steam
Caladius, so
sometimes.
five
Yeah,
off.
he had that
It's
issue.
very dead.
With
I was like,
John.
oh, he's just
Yeah,
ignoring me again. It's so rude.
Yeah,
It's so-
it is bizarre. Sometimes me too. We might have to work out a
Oh,
different.
it was
system for
happening.
commentary. Yeah, there goes.
Yeah.
There
You
goes. the
can't
Grav
consolidate
tank.
that way, you
That's
have to
unfortunate.
consolidate this way.
There it is.
Okay, well, we got one Grav tank left on 1 wound.
So
We
I'm
got
not
these
gonna
Versus
consolidate.
Praetors
Manticore?
fighting Murderfang. We have a Manticore left.
Uh,
Oh, and this.
Ragnar,
Yes.
solid.
I think the story of the game right now is the story of this brave company commander fighting
He's still there.
the
The
good fight
one
against
wounded-
this Rune Priest.
The one wounded
Murderfang.
rune priest.
Yeah, the Rune Priest with 1 wound remaining. Don't worry, buddy.
Yep.
And then you've put
Still
armor
there.
class on this one, I'm assuming.
5 attacks from Murfang, hitting on.
So here comes Murderfang. Now that he's not charging, he's a little bit less scary. Only 5 attacks. His reroll wounds probably help him out there, though.
So 4 saves.
Yeah. 4 wounds hitting. We
Save
could see
on
all
right.
these Virtus Praetors get picked up here.
He could,
So
but he
what?
should make
If I
2.
fail
You know, he'll only lose 1.
3 of these,
but-
I die. Hey, one of them said one
Dice.
dies.
Oh, yep. I wanna
Yeah,
lose-
Lyle Dixon,
lose
we are
pretty
in
much.
a Discord voice chat with the 2 players, and
So that's the end of.
Calling
Oh,
ourselves.
my bike fights back.
we have to use a separate chat for just the commentators, though, because
dice.
we listen to the player commentary, so
you
we know
get
what's going
the
on, but
-1
we don't
to
want
hit
them to
off this
hear our
time?
commentary, so we don't give them away. So
Doesn't matter.
we have 2 separate
Would
voice
hit
chats
anyway.
active right now, basically.
On 5s.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, like Discord also has its own issues when it comes to streaming too. Like
Yeah.
it's kind of just
Yeah.
we're trying to
Nothing's perfect right
detect.
now. It's okay.
Damage is.
It's all free services, you know. We can't really complain that much. You know, like, oh,
Yeah.
how dare they not be perfect when we don't give them any money?
This 3 damage.
Unless more of you hopped on the Patreon, helped everyone out.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna look at this weekend. I think I'm gonna update, do some updates to the stream. We'll probably get some more advanced streaming technology going, and so.
Are we doing Twitch? Question
Yeah,
mark?
I think we'll
Hitting
have a
twice.
Twitch stream open for future games. So if you prefer Twitch, you can go there, but we'll also be live on YouTube
Wounding twice.
as normal. And yeah, we'll just you'll probably see some improvements slowly. We'll get better at
I'm
streaming.
gonna pay 0 to get 1 CP.
I've come to the conclusion that if I just continually to bitch at you over to finally get you to try new
Same
things,
as
you'll
yours,
eventually
only
do it.
Yeah,
Which
you
is
and,
nice.
you and Sung together, you know, you both just complain at me enough until I do stuff that is okay, ultimately beneficial, and I.
What
I
else
just
are
do
friends
them
for? I'm
straight up, but, yeah.
confused.
Do you?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm holding.
I was running. Yeah,
With
I was
friends
running
like
the,
us, who needs
The
enemies?
first couple pods ran out of their own
Oh, you
individual
are
Discord
upset.
channels, and
Sorry,
Sung's like,
yeah.
just make one big one. And I was like, oh, I don't know. I like how you keep them all separate. He's like, you freaking
Just-
idiot. Like, yeah. Just make a big one, and now we have 220 people in it.
Need
So
to kill
welcome
that last
everybody.
one for gangbusters.
The big one is the way to go. Let's be honest.
I don't
Oh
like that
yeah,
room
I mean it's
priest.
fun in there for sure. There's a ton of people. Everybody's talking about strategies, and everyone's getting
I
games
really
in.
want to split far. I really want to
Yeah.
split far.
There's people
That's
looking
gonna
for
stay
games
still,
all the
so I
time,
can
which is
blast.
awesome because you're
Constantly.
generally playing
That's
against
gonna
more
stay in combat, so I can
competitive
try and
players
kill off
in
murder fang.
comparison to playing, you know, like
Because
freebies
otherwise
as we
it's
call
gonna
them.
heroically
Right.
intervene.
It is
Maybe
the
it's just
spot
gonna
for
shoot
competitive
smaller
40k
gun
right
into
now
Rune
during a
Priest and
pandemic.
Bigger gun into the Wolf Guard.
Okay.
Looks like we might just try to pick these 2 characters up. It's just
Small gun.
Galadius.
Ting on
See if we can
fours.
kill the Rune Priest with 1 wood left.
No pressure.
Yeah, come on, buddy.
Wounding on 3s.
So little
So
gun
2.
looks like 2 wounds. I can't see the dice, but that's what they said.
What?
Failed them both.
Oh, he's dead.
nice. There we
Ninja
go.
Rune Priest survives until turn 4. What a boss that guy is.
He got his points back.
Yeah.
Ting on 4s.
4 hits.
Ready? Just wait for them to load in.
Yep.
Hits. And the box. There we go.
Need 2 wounds through this
Hits.
Wolfguard Battle Leader Storm
Wounding
Shield here.
on 3s.
Gonna be a little tough.
So
3
We do
wounds.
one 3 times though. Let's see some bad dice from C-Spix for a change.
Wounds minus 3. So
Nope, he made them all. Yeah, okay.
Nope.
I'm Manticore.
What do you think this game's gonna fall apart at the end?
You
Nah.
can
Yeah, I mean even that doesn't save him. That just
There's no way I
gives-
can kill 3, so I'm just going to shoot the Manticore at its drop pod.
It's moral victory.
We're
If
just trying to
anything.
kill drop pods now. Drop pod will
Last
get cover
missile.
from the Manticore, I think.
And then it's just completely out of ammo. So 2d6 shots. Rerolling the 2.
So
Or
8
8
shots.
shots. Hitting on force.
4 hits.
Wounding on 3s.
So 3.
3 wounds.
We see 3 failed saves here. We could see this dead drop pod. That'd be nice.
I
6 damage.
1, so I take 6.
Down to 2. All right. A
Yep.
bit of an unassuming turn from Lord Solar there, but he's
Not going to charge. My
models
bike's
locked in
going to attack Murder Fang.
Murderfang is down to 3.
Okay.
We could see him
on-
dead from this versus
I'm
Praetor.
heroically intervening.
I would love to see him not die because
No,
he's been such a
He's
stud.
got to die.
I am.
Oh no! Another
Nope, he's just gonna
heroic
hang out.
intervention from the
3
Wolf
hits
Guard
into
battle
Murder Fang.
leader. Oh gosh!
2
Lord Sailor was
And
just hoping to roll good dice and kill
wounds,
everyone.
nice. I get him.
Yep.
Yeah, how much damage?
I mean, the funny thing about the heroic intervention is, like, I saw it when I did a quick read through their
6
book, and I was like,
damage.
oh, whatever. That's not
Murder
that's
Fang
not that
is dead.
that's not that impressive. But then
Yeah.
you watch it on the game, and you're like, oh, that thing is the 6-inch heroic intervention is savage.
Yeah, yeah, you
So I
consider
will
that if you
consolidate
have
into
these
drop
characters
pod.
spread around the center of the table, you have these enormous like 13-inch bubbles that you can't go into. And it ends up being a
Then,
ton of
yeah.
real estate, right?
Fight
Yep.
into my Caladius.
Yeah, I mean, it's 12 inches. It's 6 inches in each direction. It's 12 inches.
Yeah, plus their base size,
5
right? Which
attacks.
is usually
Plus
1 plus
base
inch damage.
size. Yep.
So
Mhm.
that's an enormous bubble.
It's a foot. You're
It's
looking at a foot.
straight
A
up a
foot.
full foot,
a
yeah, that you can't go
foot
into.
kill zone. Yep.
Yeah. So this Caladius is gonna die
Warning on
probably because of the
5s.
intervention.
So it's 6 in it. 6 just
Yeah,
Yeah.
dead.
you get 3d3
there you
wounds.
go. He's-
Does it blow up?
Does he blow?
explode.
He does.
So you kill more, you hold more.
He's looking. He's
Still
gonna.
wanna
He's
help
gonna
him.
make a charge. He's got to go towards the closest.
Point.
There he goes. All right. Yeah. So, no.
Actually, I can get a headhunter point or a
charge
butcher's
buff
bill
on that
point
guy.
because I killed 2, and they were both
But
characters.
he may be able to take out that last Virtus Praetor.
I am going to take.
Ragnar's still
the
alive.
butcher's bill point.
In the middle of the board, doing nothing.
We're taking the
Turn
dead
5.
character as a Butcher's Bill, or the 2 dead characters as a Butcher's Bill, just to stack that up. He could have either maxed Headhunter or taken the Butcher's Bill there, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
So if this Virtus Praetor dies, then that basically removes ground control for Lord Solar. Otherwise, if it's able to run away for a couple turns, he could see it, grab an objective last turn.
Yeah, but I mean, I think they could probably speed playing because I think the Manticore only has 1 shot left, right?
Yeah. It's shot once every turn.
Yeah. So this is
Oh, and actually,
one
I think
more.
might be out of rockets. Yeah, I wonder if the
Oh yeah,
I
it's
almost-
out. Yep. So,
I almost
yeah.
thought about the as soon as they had the
11
Stormcaller turn
charge.
on turn 1, if it maybe just should have held off and not
10
shot a rocket at all,
Yeah.
and then it would have one more to go.
We
into
kind of.
Wolfen.
Can I heavy bolt around?
Yeah. Correct.
Ragnar,
The Wolfen might just actually charge it
18.
if Seabiscuit keeps making every single charge.
2.
Yeah, they could really just probably speed play this round.
Yeah, I think a mistake here from Lord
Shoot.
Solar. He engaged the drop pod with his Virtus Praetor, which doesn't really do him any good. Because
Is he
it removes
trying to
his,
kill it?
Yeah, it removes his Overwatch on the Wolfguard Battle Leader, though. And it means he's not going to be able
Correct.
to charge next turn.
Okay.
Unless he somehow kills it in melee, which is unlikely.
Psychic phase.
Oh, he's got the he's got a venom, a wyvern, worm splitter, plus 1 strength, minus 2 AP, flat 2 damage.
Yeah, I think that's in his.
Or-
That's listed in his army list, but obviously you don't have to.
I like watch
You don't have to call out your relics.
Mhm.
So he's switched that to the Iron Fang of Magrimgul.
How
is
do you?
his mortal
Oh,
wound.
you're looking at the list.
Yeah, which is his.
Like,
mortal-
how
no,
are you
it's-
looking at this all this stuff?
Well,
He's
Goodbye, Manticore.
he's listed them in the description and the
I'll be
title of the
able this
description.
turn.
He's
Probably.
listed all of their warlord traits.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah,
yeah.
it looks like the Wolfen
Iron
just
Fang.
made their long charge. on the Manticore. Why
Of
not,
course
man?
they did. He just rolled an 11.
Yeah.
Yep, 11 inch charge.
Yeah, I think
he's
average
a
dice roll for
5
Seabase' charge is probably a 9 in this game. Somewhere around there.
God.
It has been off the chain. He's been charging at -2 for most of this game because he's a declared Caladi, and he just makes them anyway.
It's amazing how you're able to just make your charges. You continue
All
to
these
roll an 11 or 12.
because
Yeah.
I have got nothing to interrupt.
Top level play. I like
We'll
it.
do this one first.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
easy
spend
game.
1 CP.
Cool.
for
So yeah, we may
Tussle
see
Wild.
Lord Solar actually just tabled right here.
Do I get your CP?
Yeah.
That said, I mean, if you look at
You
the
don't have
table,
a
No, I can't do that
table
anymore.
essentially the only
Dead.
things besides these
Yeah.
characters, the only things
So
that,
this
that
guy,
matter
we've
left on the
got 3
table are the
base,
Wolfen.
1 for charging,
So if we
1
saw,
for Saga the Savage,
you know,
so 5.
more cagier play from Lord Solar, and he played a little bit more cautiously and had 1 to 2 more rounds of shooting into the Wolfen before a charge in,
Hitting on 2s.
we could have seen it. We could.
I mean, this-
this matchup is very
6s
close,
are 2 extra.
and
I
I do
100%
think
agree.
Lord Solar's aggressive play put him on the back seat,
and then 4
and
plus 1.
Seabiscuit was able to take it out. But I think otherwise, Lord Solar has a very good chance to win this game.
So just need to.
This has not been. This has been a very. These two armies can easily win against each other. I think they're. You know, you have one very good shooty, one very good close combat. They both have. I mean, they're both good in close
How
combat.
many normal
I think you're right. It was 100%. Lord Solar just kind of not being fully aware of the 6-inch heroic intervention because that cost him dearly.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
You know, it gave his opponent multiple 6-inch movements closer into his backfield. Yeah. I mean, if a few things would have gone more Lord Solar's way, this game would have been very different. You know, and it's good to see because I think this is no matter what a very good learning game.
Yeah.
So 5 times 4 is 20.
Oh, the Manticore.
Yeah.
Nothing like getting Wolfen. I mean, you're looking at 4th.
We have.
I'm sorry.
We haven't yet seen Seabiscuit's list go second. He's gone first in both his games so far, and I wonder how big of a deal that is. I wonder if it falls apart a little bit in second.
We're at what, the top of 5. Top of 5. It took 5 turns for
after
those Wolfen to get from basically his deployment line to where the Manticore is.
Yeah, I mean they did move back and forth quite a bit because they jumped up to kill the Caladius and then back to kill the other Caladius and then ran through here.
6.
So they've been.
But then they had some heroic.
Yeah, and they had they didn't heroic intervene, but they did have some combat movement. Yeah,
Fire
looks like
explode.
super dead.
Does not blow up.
R.I.P. Manticore.
Yep.
Rip.
So I'm not gonna get recon this
More
round.
like Manticore. Am I right?
Did he fail the wolf?
Wolf
guard charge? Oh no, he killed it. Oh, it's over.
Yeah, so that's the table right there. So he'll grab an extra 5 points for the last 2 turns.
All of this.
And we have a final tally of 36-13. Ooh, that's brutal.
Ooh, well, he would get his last recon.
He would.
Yeah, because he would spend his final turn moving his wolf over there and Ragnar into that one.
Yeah.
Can.
Worried
he
at
should
several
be able to.
points on there. I think.
Yeah, because Ragnar goes there and
wolf
wolf
around
goes
was
inside.
making like.
Yep, he got it.
Like
Oof,
5 storm
37.
shield when you
Ooh,
charge
man,
with the bikes into the book claws.
It was just.
Or 36 if they don't want to claim it.
That's down there. If I'd charged and killed,
Yeah,
and next turn I would have been able to completely wipe out all your characters.
Yeah, that would have been a big deal.
Well, here's some thoughts from the players
That
real quick.
and
Been
you
able
messed
to go
up- You forgot about the 6-inch intervention.
Yeah.
With your captain.
Would have if I wiped out stuff on the charge, or even in your turn, then my next turn I could have gone up, killed a bunch of Wolfen with their hurricane bolters, and then charged and then probably killed all of your characters.
Yeah, I was expected to charge. You charged on. I was expecting on your turn to just move them because you have fly, and then just shoot my Wolfen with the hurricane bolters.
What I was hoping was that what I was hoping was that in be able to dig myself out, but I just couldn't. I just kept on bouncing off invulnerable saves.
Yeah, the invuln save, the 5-up, and it's hard to kill.
Yeah.
And this relic weapon I took today, not relic weapon, but the power axe I took was a big deal.
Yeah.
And yeah, the armor of rust did huge work today too.
Hey, thanks, guys. That was a sick game to watch. Definitely showcases some of the Space Wolves being crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 6-inch interventions just going off constantly was just pretty brutal. Seabiscuit, did you max your recon right at the last turn there?
I did not max it. I went from 2 to 3. I couldn't get it in turn 5, about around 5. But
okay,
I got it
but
in
you do play out the final turn, right?
But he was on 2 and then he got.
Oh, you were only on 2. Okay, yeah, gotcha. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool, guys.
Or can you click the player 2 button there? I'm just gonna take a screenshot of this.
Eventually, it
Hey,
will
what's up?
change to my name.
Cool.
It's changed.
Thanks for
I
the
will
game,
see-
guys. Thanks for letting us stream, and good luck in your next rounds.
No problem.
Phil
Thank
is-
you for streaming it. I feel like I'm a celebrity. That's 2 for 2.
Yeah. People like seeing the Space Wolves, I think so. They like all these wolfen running across the table for sure.
I wonder if they're gonna guard or a Nurgle list too.
Yeah, we were talking about how you're a bit of a Renaissance man in the series right now because you submit a different faction every time.
I own all 3 armies, and I do play tournaments with all 3 of them. So
Cool. Well, we'll see you in the semifinals.
Yep, I'll see you there.
All right, everybody in the chat, thanks for tuning in. I think I might have lost Colin.
Oh no, I'm here.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Still here.
It said
Can't get rid of
the
me.
session failed with you, but I think you just left the lobby.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy game. Obviously showcasing how powerful that Space Wolves chapter tactic is. And
100% agree.
yeah, I want to thank everybody in the chat for hanging out with us on the Saturday morning,
He left.
watching some 40K.
I'm gonna flip the table.
Yeah. Go drink some White Claws, guys. It's time
We
to
got a table flip going on. The traditional table flip.
table flip.
Amazing.
Okay. I'll catch you guys later.
Yeah, thanks for joining, Colin. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Trevi, I'll see you online.
Yeah, for sure. And everybody still in the chat room, thanks so much. I'm going to hang out for about a minute or two in case anybody has any more questions or comments. And then I'm going to pop off. I might be online in a couple of hours with John Damaris from 40K today. I'll see if he's up for that and when he wants to play. And as soon as he is, then we'll get it going. But stay tuned for the channel. Remember to subscribe and hit that notification bell if you guys want to see when we're live. We also have a stream schedule up, so all scheduled games in the Discord get posted, and you'll be able to check those out as soon as they get planned. We do have one scheduled for Monday, nothing for tomorrow yet, although I am looking for one for tomorrow. So hit me up if you have a T5S2 game scheduled. And on Monday, we're going to play the Chang returning with his Adeptus Mechanicus playing against Nick Rose. He's a top 10 ITC player playing Salamander, so that'll be very exciting. Anyway, that's going to be it for me today, everybody. Thanks again for watching, and keep it classy, folks. Torin, I'll be playing Tyranids. Yeah, 100%. I've been playing some Tyranid jank lately, but I think I'm gonna move to. I do have a change to my normal list. I'm gonna try out, and we'll see how it feels, and see how it goes. I don't know if I like it, but we'll find out.